Whitehorse's form, I mean, like you said, you've only seen them once, and I've seen them once too, Alana, and they fell in against the Glen Waverley Hawks. And that was basically the start of their win-loss inconsistent run in the last month or so. I know, look, Dan, it's really hard. Only the really good sides can maintain momentum and keep winning strings of games past 5 or 6 games. So you'd have to think that, look, even at this level, at Division 4 level, for a side to win 6 or 7 on the trot and try and maintain that pressure and mental application, it is hard nowadays, isn't it?
Well, you just look at some of the sides in Division 4 that top 4 that was so set for so long: Donvale, Forest Hill, Coldstream, and of course the Whitehorse Pioneers. Well, Coldstream's fallen out now.
Yeah.
And Alana, I know you've got your hand up there, and I know you've been pretty stoic on this all year, particularly on the huddle, that you feel they may not end up playing finals. And look, at this stage of the year, they're only they're not that far out of the 4. But your prediction of Coldstream missing the finals altogether has every right to come true.
Well, you're right. It could come to fruition because they've got 3 finals type games coming up, and then look, and it's going to be hard yakka for them. A couple of weeks ago we were sort of bemoaning the fact that Forest Hill's form had dropped off a little bit as well, but in recent times they've come back into form. So when you're looking at trying to do an analysis of any game of football, injuries do play a part, and that's information that we're not privy to. So when you're basing your thoughts on how a game should pan out, sometimes you don't know all the facts about who's playing and who's not playing. I think one of the things that I've sort of when I was looking at the analysis of this game today is the fact that the 2 power forwards from both Donvale and Whitehorse going to have a big say in how things go. We've got Purcell and Murphy for Donvale, but we've got Padbury and Dalgleish for Whitehorse Pioneers. And I looking at both those forwards, and there seems to me that there seems to be a lot more reliance on Padbury to kick the goals, whereas I think with Donvale, would you agree that with both Purcell and Murphy being able to share the goals around, it gives them a bit more potency, Alana?
Yeah, definitely. And not just that. I really noted that the Donvale midfield can also push forward with great effect and hit the scoreboard as well. So I think that's probably another factor that just gives them a little bit of an edge. And interestingly, I know Padbury was off to an absolute flyer at the start of the year, but do you think once everyone's played them one time, they figured out the game plan, they figured out he is the go-to, it's a very kind of standard operation, that the other teams put in a bit of work and they can push back and stop him being that target? Very similar to the way Forest Hill play with Matt Carnelli, and you do see time and time again they push 2, they push 3, they flood everyone back, and then everyone goes, oh, Carnelli didn't kick any goals today. Well, funny that when you're playing on 5 against you, it's pretty hard to kick a goal. And it could be the same for Padbury, and I can't say definitively because I don't watch them every week, but I'm making some assumptions, and coaches are pretty astute and would get onto that.
Well, they are, and that's the thing. I mean, look, Alana's right, because there is probably a more reliability on Padbury this season, but that's where Dalgleish, who's playing centre half forward, really needs to pick up the slack a little bit, Damo.
That's it.
Just on that, sorry, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but I can't see him on the team sheet unless my not wearing my glasses isn't helping me. But he's not on there. He's not named, so that's a big factor in this game then today, Brash.
Yeah, it is. If he's not playing, then it is a loss. You look at the side, and there's quite a few players from Whitehorse that aren't playing from the last time I saw them. Obviously, Dalgleish is one, but Chris McDougall, number 6, he's not playing either, and he's a very, very important player in that.
Junior representative back in the day.
Yeah, he is. So, I mean, look, I think Noah Khan's a very important player at centre half back. He's going to have to play a big job on either Purcell or Murphy this afternoon. And Jordan Travascus, who we normally associate, Dan, as a forward, He's been playing back on, in the back pocket. Or
Is that's probably more out of necessity than anything else?
Yeah.
You mentioned, Alana, that Padry's sort of slowed down a bit. Maybe he's a very young guy, Padry. So it's a long season. So maybe what's happened is he's had to I guess have a chop out from a few other guys. Travascus, it's sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul, playing him up the other end of the ground, isn't it? If only, I suppose most coaches go through the dilemma that if only you had two of a certain player, you could play him at either end of the ground.
There are so many times as a coach you just go, oh, why don't I have two of you? I can put one of you in the midfield and one of you in the back line. And obviously I'm talking about netball, so I'm talking about defence and mid-court, but same really at the end of the day. The other thing I was going to say, and now it's completely lost my train of thought. It's not going to be very good for anyone listening, is it? Sorry, guys.
Thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the netball threw me. I was going to say though, the Donvale midfield. Have any of you watched the Donvale midfield this season, and have you watched how they operate and how strong they are at the contest? Because they do remind me of a team that they may have played last year that are now playing Division 3 football in
I haven't.
that centre bounce.
Unfortunately, Alana, I probably haven't. I haven't actually seen Donvale at all this year. And the only side I actually have seen is Whitehorse Pioneers. But from all reports, I mean, Matt Liardi.
Oh, he is absolutely brilliant. He's probably the best player in Division 4 football that I've seen this year, without a doubt.
Yeah, and another player who's probably not playing, Alana, who also is very good in the midfield, is Carl Toast, I think it is, number one. He's been out injured for most of the year. They get him back on the eve of the finals if he's available. He's also
they're very different the way they play their football, but equally as dynamic and important in the midfield for sure. The other one that I've just noted that's not here as well is their coach.
Yes.
He is a general in that midfield, and just the way he just sets them up and he blocks for them. He's a really tough customer. And I kind of like that as a playing coach, because when you're asking other players to put your body on the line and for you to get physical and for you to do the things that you need to do to win games of football, he is there. Yep. He is there doing it. He is there leading by example. He is hitting them harder. He is doing everything that you would want your players to do. So there is no opportunity for them to take a backward step, because he does it.
Hopefully we'll have both coaches on very shortly. And interesting you should say about Matt Fife. I was talking to a couple of boys behind the tuck shop down there. I'll call it the tuck shop. And
you weren't in the kitchen, were you, Brash?
No, I wasn't.
I'm just kidding.
No. And I was talking to him. I said, how come Fifey's not playing? And they turned around and said, he's tweaked the knee again. And I said, Jeepers. The funny thing is, and when we spoke to him on EFL Sunday a couple of weeks ago, he's just working himself back into form, and then he's tweaked a knee. They did say that he could have possibly played today.
It's not worth it at this point in time in season.
No, and I'm sure he may embellish on that when he gets here. Also, too, when you look at Donvale's lineup too, Alana, there's quite a few guys that have got. That have been around a bit here. Matt Sutherland, Grocott, Hayden Cotsford, Jesse Liebelt. These are all very serious, seasoned and campaign footballers, and also footballers that have had finals experience, and that's going to really set them up in good stead if it gets tight this afternoon. Yeah,
100%. And I think from both of these lists, we've obviously covered a few of the outs so far, and there's some pretty significant outs in both sides.
Yep.
So I feel like it's going to really test the depth, and that was actually where I was going to go through before, is that in Division 4 football particularly, the depth does get tested because the bodies probably aren't as in pristine condition as what some of the Division 1 and 2 footballers are. And, there are probably a few more injuries, and you do need to use your reserve players a little bit more often. And it probably is, losing 2 or 3 key players in Division 4 football is probably more problematic than if you lost them in Division 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So that will be really interesting from our perspective today, to see how they step up, to see the depth, and to see, if some of these guys can't get up come finals times, or they have a big injury, who's going to be there to cover that spot? Can they go deep into September and win the flag if they do have a couple out?
And just to back up what you're saying there, Alana, Donvale have used 40 players this year so far, and only 6 players have played the maximum 14 rounds. And the same for the Pioneers. 33 players they've used, and only 9 of them have played the maximum 14 games. And as the season progresses, I've noticed this trend right throughout the 4 divisions. Those numbers keep dropping week by week because it's nearly gets to a stage where for any local footballer to actually play 18 games of football, I think is an
effort.
It's an achievement in itself. You know, I think.
I'd say any sports person playing through winter to get through the entire winter season is a very good effort, because as it gets colder, it does get really hard to recover. And
training twice a week as well.
Yeah, training twice a week, and to back that up in the rain and the cold, and then you have to go to work and all that kind of stuff. And not to mention then the recovery practices. It is so hard. It is so hard to jump into an ice bath or into a cold pool or into a beach after the game, and I can say that because
personal experience.
Yeah, because at 10:30 last night I was in a cold bath and it is so cold, and you just sit there going, why do I do this? It's probably time to retire, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of guys who are going through that exact same feeling at the moment. So, yes. You're right, Brash, though. The more players you can have consistently on the park, I think the better, particularly in probably the back 8 or so rounds of the season, because you really want to get that game plan fleshed out, nutted out. You need to know, where are people going to be? How high can I kick that ball? How far out in front do I have to put it? How, can they take it? If I put it in front, are they going to run into the space? Are they going to read where it's going? So, as a back unit, if I run off to try and take that intercept mark, is someone going to go back and roll off and cover my player, or am I going to be up the creek and look like an absolute tool because my forward's exposed in the goal square on their own? So you need that continuity of games to see those things happening. So it'll be interesting to see.
Talking about some more players this afternoon, we'll go back to the Pioneers, but Mav Gleed, the captain, sensational year he's had. Been in their best 10 times in the first 14 games, as long as James Duclos, I should say. And look, Duclos in the as the ruckman this afternoon is going to he's going to have to work extremely hard, especially against when they're kicking against the breeze. Would you think?
Well, it'd be interesting to see if they can maintain that consistent performance. Just out of curiosity, though, James Duclos no relation to Bridget Duclos. Be interesting.
I don't know. She may be. I mean, and then to back up what you were saying before, Alana, Matt Liardi, he's been in their best 7 out of the 14 games this year. Also, a couple of other players, Zach Haig and James Rouser. So these are
important players
as well. Whilst for Pioneers, you got Thomas Connell and Chris Ryan. They've performed well this year, as well as we said, Mav Gleed and James Duclos. And look. I think sometimes we sort of underestimate the courageousness of what a captain can bring to his side. And that particular game that I went and watched Whitehorse played, if it wasn't for a couple of heroic efforts from Mav Gleed, they weren't winning that game against Clem Waverley Hawks. Our boundary rider, Matt Falla, that day was umpiring that particular game, and he was of the same mind that there was a crucial break in the game when Glen Waverley Hawks were surging, and after that there was a couple of heroic moments from Mav that basically won the game for Whitehorse, steadied them when they really needed someone to stand up in those clutch moments. So he's going to be once again, he's going to be heavily relied upon this afternoon, to lead the side, like he normally does. Another guy that probably hasn't, that is also a very dangerous player for Whitehorse, and we probably haven't spoken about him, Dan, is Marcus Tippett.
Oh, for sure, yeah. The name says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's had a consistently good year, hasn't he? And one of the things I notice about the Whitehorse Pioneers, Brash, is the amount of players they do have on their list that seem to fly under the radar. Tippett's one of them. Chris McDougall is another one. If I've got the name correct, I covered him probably 4 or 5 years ago at the time the Trojan Young Gun column in the Eastern Footballer.
Yep.
And so it's good that he's been able to stay around the club. Padbury's a junior of the club as well, because as we've mentioned so far this season, that Whitehorse Pioneers are in an area as a club where it's very difficult to retain players.
Yep.
You've got your private school area, but in between that, you've also got Blackburn. You've got Surrey Park down the road, Doncaster East as well. So and to an extent, maybe even Donvale as well. So it's a very difficult area, I suppose, to retain your players, and it's great to see that the likes of McDougall, Padbury, et al. Have all stayed around, because it is a tough competition. And Division 4 football, quite often what happens is a lot of players with a fair bit of talent often go up to higher divisions. So it's interesting to see why these guys have stuck around. But Derek Shaw must have built a fantastic culture around the club, and he's a fantastic football person, Derek. His son Kane is an absolute legend in the Northern Football League, so he's a great pedigree there. So it's going to be really interesting to chat to Derek in just a moment.
Well, the interesting part about it too was Mav said he said that Derek's very much an old-time coach and a bit of a disciplinarian. And
played under Tommy Hafey.
Yeah, so I mean, look, in today's football, Lana, sometimes the old-fashioned coach, as we know it, sometimes they don't work, do they?
No, you're right. And I think it depends on every individual playing list as to whether a coach is going to work with someone or not. You can have the best coach out there, and if they just don't gel with the players, then it's not going to work. So, I mean, obviously, it seems to be working here for them, that old school kind of football coach style, and if that's what's working for them, then go for it. So I was... Brush, you did mention just before, sorry to digress back, but
that's all right.
You were talking about Whitehorse Ruckman. Duclos?
Yep.
He is, for me, probably the best ruckman in Division 4 this year.
So you'd be disappointed if he didn't make the team of the year, Alana?
Look, I find massive faults and flaws in the way that particular team is picked because of the way you're not picking a team. Like, the coaches don't pick their best team of players, they just pick a bunch of players. Yep. So therefore, you're going to have 20 midfielders being spread across the whole team.
Yep.
Probably a couple of key forwards and a ruckman. Whereas if you're picking a team to go and play football, you're going to pick a back pocket and a full-back and a half-back flanker and a forward pocket.
Like they do when they're picking a true interleague side.
Yeah. So, certainly it would be probably a little bit hard for a coach to go and pick every single player on a field, but I have actually been working my way through that to try and, for me, find the best team of Division 4, so player by player, position by position, and Brush, I would have him as the number one ruckman in that particular side.
And talking about coaches, the first coach has joined us this afternoon, and it's the captain coach of the Donvale Football Club, Matt Fife. Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon, guys. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. Once again, you're on the injured list, I hear.
I am. I haven't had much luck with that over the last couple of years, but
mate, I've got a saying for that, but I can't say it on air.
No, I've had that a few times. I think I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Look. It's been we've discussed this many times on EFL Sunday, and the fact that you split 6-3 playing on the away fixtures all year whilst the works were going on in the club, and now you're coming home and you're in the middle of this 9-game home streak. You must be really happy with the way things have progressed so far this season.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, obviously the away games was tough, but I thought as each game went through, we become tighter and tighter as a team, and our home form has probably just been reflective of us getting our game style down pat on the same deck every week that we train on, and you're seeing the results are a byproduct of that, really.
I look at Donvale's performance, and compared to your opponents today. And, look, you've got two big forwards, and, even if Whitehorse today stopped one of them's going to get off the leash. So you must be really happy that you've got a really a two-pronged attack that's not one-dimensional.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, like last year we had a bit of a forward line issue, I suppose. We weren't as efficient going forward, and it was probably a matter of how we were going forward. The ball use of bringing it out of the back line and where to kick the ball, quite simply. So we've especially with a home game run of playing at the same size ground every week, we've managed to develop a pretty efficient way of bringing the ball out of the back line through the midfield and up forward in a way that the big boys can get on the end of a couple. And yeah, we've shown, I suppose, at times in the last 8 games that if you don't move it well, the big boys still can be a bit dried up for scoring opportunities. So that's something we're always working on. But that's been a huge reason why we've managed to hit the scoreboard so well the last couple of months, for sure.
And Matty, the gale force winds will obviously be a significant factor today. Does that alter your game plan in any way? I mean, we've seen it affect the under-19s and reserves and the way they go about it. It must be something you have to adapt to.
Yeah, it's something that's quite common here at Donvale. The breeze is always from this end and blowing towards the valley.
Northerly wind, yep.
Yeah, so we train to that, and we play on it. We've played in the last a couple of months in a row now, and it's been similar most weeks. Today's a little bit more extreme than last week, but it really is about adapting your style of play each quarter, not trying to go into every quarter with the same style of play, because it just doesn't work. I think that's what Coldstream, from where I was sitting, tried to do last week, just play a similar style each quarter, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, there will be a change up in style quarter to quarter and where personnel are around the ground, and that's something that I think all footballers at this level should know. Second nature. As you get through your 100 games, you'll learn that if the breeze is about, you got to play a little bit differently. So yeah.
And I know you don't like the fact that you're injured, but in a way, that one silver lining could be maybe that it makes it easier in the sense that you can focus on the one role, and that is coaching. Is that one silver lining you can take out of it?
Yeah, I've taken that silver lining out of it for sure. It gives me a different vantage point to watch the game. It also gives me an opportunity to speak to the players more one-on-one as the game's going through, to address a few things rather than worrying about my own game and then giving them advice as we go through. It's a little bit easy to do that, and it also gives our balance in the side is obviously talls outside, inside. We haven't got as many insiders than outsiders, and when I've been out of the side, my worry's really been that balance in the middle. But we've had some players in the last probably 4 to 6 weeks stand up, and Mick Angeli and Peter Ancona have come into some great form, and I see them as good inside footballers that can cover myself and Carl Tosi's absence at this point in time pretty well. So the emergence of those players to cover the balance there has been crucial to us winning as well.
Matt, you talk about talls. One tall I want to talk about is Zach Haig.
Yep.
He was very good as a junior, strong upper body. I'd imagine you use him through the ruck, but you can also rest him forward. What sort of a year has he had, and how have you used him this season?
Yeah, he's had a great year. He's our main ruckman, so we try and use him in the ruck as much as we can, but we've come to... He's a sort of guy that will run himself into the ground without saying anything. He's an animal in that respect. So we've had to change things up a little bit there, throw him forward, and just to watch him watch his body and not let him burn out, I suppose, as the year goes on. But his form's been similar to last year. He likes to win every contest. He's really, really handy around the ground, and I think he's probably taken his game up a notch this year with his confidence in moving with the ball through traffic and stuff like that. You'll quite see him get the ball to ground, and he'll actually go at it like a rover and try and step a couple of blokes. So that's a different facet to his game.
Since coming to the club, obviously, you mentioned confidence. What can you see a difference from when he first got to the club to now? He's probably one of the better big men in Division 4, I reckon.
Made a huge difference. Like he was when he turned up, I think he was turned away from the club the previous year for whatever reasons. And when he turned up, I was just like, this bloke, he's going to be a gun. And he was very quiet and reserved, and probably the first half of last year was like that. But then when he started to dominate a couple of games, he's come right out of his shell now. Now he's the guy that demands the ball in there, and he's the one that's firing the boys up before the game. He's a really proactive type of player. So he's come out of his shell, and I think his footy's probably followed that, I think. Yeah.
Matt, just a quick question. Just leading into this game today, are you seeing it as a finals type of game? Are you going to just try and be consistent with the way you've been playing, or is there going to be any slight change-ups because you don't want to give away too much before, you're probably going to meet them again come finals time?
Quite possibly, yeah. No, it's a finals type game. We sort of targeted last week's game, the Forest Hill game, Coldstream, and this game as likely finals type games. And the pressure in the last couple of games has been finals like early. It's just us basically sticking to our guns with our structure, but also trying to, as you said, maintain that pressure throughout the 4 quarters. And that's our sort of philosophy. If we go hard early with the pressure and just try and build it as the game goes on, we've seen that some sides sort of do the opposite and drop away. So that's the plan in a nutshell today, is to maintain pressure for 4 quarters. And I think based on what I've seen last year with the finals, that wins your finals games. Yeah, so.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I was going to say, just touching back on that 4-quarter pressure, did you focus heavily back on that back in pre-season? Because I have witnessed you guys being able to maintain and sustain that kind of pressure and then run over the top of sides towards the end of the game. Was that a major focus of yours?
Yeah, it was, to be quite honest. Yeah, the pressure is something that we train for very early from the pre-season, and without getting too many secrets away, it's just that really congested type of pressure situation when you're at training. So like a little handball footy game, for example, we're really big on that sort of stuff and making it all basically trigger actions in there, and that flows on to sort of some good one-touch play out of the midfield and gives guys confidence that they can go through there and play their role. So yeah, that was definitely a target for us.
Well, Matt, good luck this afternoon. You're the most red-hot side in Division 4 at the moment, going for 8 wins in a row. Good luck to the Donvale Football Club this afternoon, and hopefully you can notch another win at home. Hopefully.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks to Matt Fyfe there from the Donvale Football Club. It's three-quarter time here in the reserves game, and Whitehorse Pioneers will be kicking with the breeze in the last quarter. It's Donvale 5-6-36 leading Whitehorse Pioneers 4-4-28. That's 5-6-36 leading Whitehorse Pioneers 4-4-28. We're going to take a break. The first half an hour of pre-matches down. Hopefully after the break, Derek Shaw from the Whitehorse Pioneers will be joining us, but after the break we'll start getting into all the games, the 22 games that make up the EFL every Saturday afternoon, right here on Radio Eastern 98.1.
Probably amongst my friends, I'm known for my sense of humour.
So people know me for my laid-back attitude.
I work too much and I play too much sport, and I'm a fantastic mum.
My striking good looks.
I can sing.
Do a lot of running and swimming and surfing.
My karaoke.
Getting overly passionate about sport.
I try to be there for everyone. I think that's what I would be known for in my group.
Be remembered for the great moments in your life. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
Nothing better than a companion to keep you up to date with all the latest when you're at the footy. Better still, one that fits in your back pocket. The Eastern Footballer is a must-read. All the latest information, team lists, feature articles and much, much more. Pick up your copy this weekend as you love it local across the Eastern Football League. EFL.org.au is the place to be online for all the latest on the Eastern Football League. Keep up to date by checking out the latest news and feature articles. Have your say in the EFL poll. Check out all the latest EFL videos, and best of all, you can listen back to any EFL radio program at any time. Head to EFL.org.au. The Eastern Football League. Local footy at its best.
Oh, I've got a couple of best friends. Just great people with big hearts.
I met him in kindergarten.
We both keep each other grounded.
He's in the Defence Force.
4 best friends, actually. They're like my sisters.
She's really caring and funny.
He runs a mark every weekend, so I haven't seen him that much because I'm married.
We've always just clicked.
My best friend lives in the country.
She's the best.
When celebrating a loved one's life, don't leave it to just anyone to organise. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
The warm-up continues right here on EFL Saturday.
Welcome back to Donvale Reserve. It's the big clash this afternoon in Division 4. Donvale, the number 1 side, taking on the number 2 side in Whitehorse Pioneers. And Derek Shaw, the coach of Whitehorse Pioneers, has kindly joined us. Good afternoon, Derek, and welcome to EFL Game Day.
Thanks, boys, and welcome to Div 4.
Yeah, first time we've actually had you on air this year, Derek, and your side at the moment is just going through a little bit of an inconsistent patch. How are the boys reacting, and how have you been? What have you been trying to do to arrest that slump?
Yeah, we haven't played good footy over the last month. 1-2, lost 2. I think just being positive around the footy club, we've probably got 7 of our best side out today, which gives other boys a go. That, sort of because we've been winning. The boys in Rezzies that have played well haven't had their chance, but they've got their chance this weekend. So, look, the confidence is there. It's just a matter of making sure that we do all the right things on a Saturday and during the week. To get back to the form we had early in the year.
One of the things I noticed against the Glen Waverley game, it was a game where I thought that was probably where it all started for you, because that particular game, that particular day, you had the game well in hand for most of the afternoon, but it just came down to that. There was a period in that last quarter where Glen Waverley came at you, and there was a critical break in the contest. You had to actually recover a little bit from that moment on, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, it's not just Glen Whaley. It's happened quite a few times this year where we've got to really good positions and then just let it slip. I think they just relaxed a little bit, but responded in the end. Like we've got over the line most times, so which is pleasing in the end. But yeah, you like to go through a game, play 4 quarters. Obviously, Donvale's doing that, but we sort of don't have that killer mode at the moment where we can just put sides away without giving them a chance.
With that being said, like you said, do you think the consistency in your side actually sometimes can be alluded to the fact that as soon as you lose key players, you lose the structure that that you've built on from the from that winning feeling?
Well, it's not really. With our side, I think we haven't had a lot of injuries this year. We've got them now.
Are they long term?
No, they all should be back in the next 3 weeks or so. But I think we've been lucky in that. But I think, as I've said in most radio interviews on a Sunday, it's a matter of confidence with these blokes. Yeah, they just, whether they take it upon themselves or they wait for someone else to do it, and sometimes they wait for someone else to do it and just don't believe in themselves that much, where they, just think, well, we're not going to lose this, let's all, pick it up a notch and go from there. They sort of just sit back and hopefully something happens.
And Derek, I'm interested to know where your coaching philosophies come from. I mean, you played at the highest level at VFL, as it was known then, now, of course, AFL with Collingwood, and you were coached by people like Tommy Hafey. How did that influence your coaching philosophy and the way you approach being a mentor to players?
Yeah, it's a bit different nowadays.
True.
Back then, the older coaches just could yell and scream and
you have to be more sensitive now, don't you?
Yeah, the old fire and brimstone's no longer applicable, is it, Derek?
No, they're a little bit more sensitive nowadays, and look, all the values I think in footy haven't changed. It's about being a footy club, looking after your mates, doing everything together throughout a footy season, whether it's a training or a training camp, but just being together as much as possible. For me, just managing the boys, they're all got different personalities, and straight away you got to learn what they are and play to that. Some guys you can yell at them a bit, other guys you can't. Other guys you can't, And yes, I did have some the old fire and brimstone coaches in the past, and one of them, a beauty I went and played a year in Perth, was Mel Brown.
Mel Brown.
Yeah, and after 6 games he quit because he got in so much strife with the press and that. But we had a meeting and the players wanted him back, and we didn't lose another game after that. So, and so people like that, they do play. You do take something off every coach you had, and footy hasn't changed. It's kicking it through the goal, the sticks to win, and defending hard, and making sure that everybody there plays a role in your side and they feel wanted, and and hopefully you win games of footy.
Do you ever pull out any paganisms? Don't pee down my back and tell me it's raining out on the track.
I don't think these blokes had ever heard of pagan. I don't know. But they watch enough footy. They're all mad keen. They all follow the AFL, so they know what's going on there. They've all got their favourite players and who they mould themselves on or who they want to be. So hopefully that rubs off and they can bring it out to the ground.
You talk about the values in footy that haven't changed, and we were just talking a few moments ago about the fact that we think the Whitehorse Pioneers have sort of built a culture over the years, particularly under yourself. And the Whitehorse Pioneers are in a geographical position where sometimes it's been very hard to maintain players, especially juniors, given it's a very private school area and you've got Blackburn down the road and surrounded by a lot of other clubs as well. Since you've come into the Whitehorse Pioneers, has that been a focus to sort of create a culture that players really want to hang around? I mean, Andrew Padbury's a junior, he's played fantastic. I think McDougall as well has hung around and he's a great player.
I think most of these guys are all locals, and the Padbury connection was he was mates with someone else, and so he just come down for a run, and he brought another mate, and it just goes on from that. Our junior club are in the Yarra League, so there's a little bit of work to do there with getting them across into having a good relationship with the senior club. But there's some good players there, and they're all homegrown as well. So look, the future's really good for the club. I think the 17s have got 2 sides. The 19s, the 19s are the 19s. Like, half of them train, half of them don't. Next year we should have about 15 or 16 of the 17s come up. So hopefully we can get a really good side for the 19s and obviously the flow on from there, from the 19s to the seniors. So, as I said, they're all pretty much homegrown and not going outside the square to try and get a side together or buy players to form a side. They're doing their own homework and getting their mates down there.
Derek, just wanted to touch back probably a couple of minutes ago when you were talking about the confidence of the playing group. Today's game is going to be pretty crucial that they get that confidence early because, as you know and as I've seen, Donvale are relentless with their four-quarter pressure and they have that ability to really, I suppose, drive that game home hard. So if your guys are lacking that confidence early, how are they going to go about getting themselves back into the game if they drift out of a game? Or is it just a matter of hitting them hard early, getting that lead in ascendancy and keeping their tails up to I suppose, drive them home?
Yeah, exactly what you said.
Sorry, I answered the question.
You did.
You've done well, Alana.
Yeah, look, exactly that. Like, I think they jumped us at our ground. It was 4-1 at quarter time, and then a goal down at half time. We just hung around with them until the last quarter, and we kicked away from them. So we need to do that today. We need to, obviously, Murphy and Purcell both kicked over 50 goals already, so we can try and stop their guns from kicking the goals, and then that focuses more pressure on their, the lesser players to kick their goals for them. So we'll be concentrating really hard on that, and obviously we just need to kick a few more goals ourselves. With Padbury, sort of been out of it the last couple of weeks. They've really pushed back hard on him and tipped it. We rely a lot on Marcus to kick us some goals as well. So hopefully them boys can fire up and kick some for us.
Well, Derek, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I'm sure you've got a busy afternoon ahead of you with many moves to make to try and counteract the Donvale dominance. But all the best to you and the Whitehorse Pioneers this afternoon, and hopefully you can come out with the 4 points at the end of the day.
Thanks for having me here today, and hopefully Fife is doing all the moving.
Yeah, exactly. Derek Shaw there from the Whitehorse Pioneers, and it's great to have some of the coaches that we don't, the ones that we speak to on EFL Sunday, we speak to them on the phone, but it's always good to see them in person and have a bit of a chat with them, and they seem to open up a little bit more when you see them face to face, and I like that interaction, especially when you've never met them before. So it's good fun for not only us here in the media team but the listeners.
Is Alana, just before you move on, Bruce, is Alana auditioning for a coaching job, perhaps? Jeez, great.
Sorry.
Well, there's plenty of ads going out at this time of the year.
Yeah, the Essendon job's up for grabs, I hear.
I'll just ask the question next time. Just one liners.
It was good.
Don't worry, I've done that myself.
Did you notice both of those coaches, though? I thought it was quite interesting. They're both very different operators, as you can probably tell. But both very, I suppose, what's the word? They're both quite calm.
Yeah.
But also had a certain intensity about them at the same time. I know it's hard to sound intense and calm at the same time, but I felt that they both had that. Yep. And that's probably why both sides.
You're right. They were very measured, weren't they?
There's the word, measured.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing. Sometimes, even when you're doing a radio interview, you don't want to give too much away because you just never know who's listening, do you?
Yeah, they were pretty... forthcoming with their information, I thought. So it gives you a bit of an idea as to the mentality and the game plan of both of these sides, and they're fairly contrasting if you're reading between the lines.
All right, another quick score here. It's we're probably 10 minutes into the last quarter here in the reserves game, and it's Donvale still in front, 6-6-42. They're kicking against the breeze here, and Whitehorse Pioneers 5-5-35. So it's the game's still right up for grabs, and Donvale kicking against the breeze are fighting real hard and defending resolutely. All right, let's get on to the 22 games, and we're back to the full complement or the full quota of games this afternoon, and I'm going to change the order this week. Seeing we've been in a Division 4 mode, we may as well stay on Division 4 and work all the way through to Division 1 this afternoon. And the first game that we're going to talk about is Coldstream taking on the Glen Waverley Hawks up at Arctic Park this afternoon. And
this is the final.
It is.
Elimination final.
It is. Coldstream coming off 2 straight losses and a very heavy loss last week to boot. they're at home this afternoon to Glen Waverley Hawks, who just up until recently had their 3 game in a row winning trot stopped last week. The Hawks, for mine, the Hawks need to still win, Damien, to stay in finals contention. But for Sylvan, for Coldstream, I should say, they've got to lay it all on the line this afternoon. And because if they don't win this afternoon, finals could be just slowly eking away for them.
Well, you're right, and I think Coldstream at home, though, I have confidence in them to regain their form, particularly at home, and I think they'll have the fire in their belly after last week's thumping. It's a long trip, though, too, from Glen Waverley to Coldstream geographically, so I'm going to go with the home team here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that. It is a long road trip. It's one of the longest in Div 4. Alana, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, interesting. You can't say that ground size is going to be a factor in this match because they're both accustomed to large ground sizes. So it's not going to be who's going to run out of legs or has that leg speed across the park. But look, you would think Coldstream being at home. Glen Waverley Hawks had 3 wins in a row, but if you looked at who they were against, you could probably say, well, they should have won definitely 2 out of the 3 of those. They didn't fare too well last week against Forest Hill Glen Waverley, and based on that, they're both bouncing off 2 pretty big losses. Yeah. So it'll be a good game to be at because they're both going to be pretty angry and pretty hungry for a win. And I'm going to go with Glen Waverley just.
No, that's fair enough. You saw them last week and, they were very competitive.
No, I didn't see them last week. It was my first game of football that I've missed in about 4 years.
Okay, all right.
It was my brother's wedding. I have an excuse.
Yep. We'll let you off on that one.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, the next game we'll talk about later on when we come back on here with the full team after 2 o'clock. Fair Park had a bit of an indifferent season. They've been injury-riddled a lot this year from what I'm hearing. They've lost a couple of players. That loss of Jason Want, I reckon, has really hurt the club this year. Haven't had much to sing about, Damien, but they get a chance this afternoon to sing the song against Nunawading.
Well, you would think so, but hopefully Nunawading are competitive and maybe keep it within a 100-point margin.
Yeah, 5 goals won last week to Nunawading, so their goal kicking and scoring has improved in recent times, so that's a positive for them. But Alana, Fair Park, they're probably going to do enough this afternoon to get the points.
Yeah, look, they will. And Fair Park are really interesting because their best football has knocked off Donvale and Whitehorse, and when they've got all of their players on the field, they are pushing for that top 4 contention, but they're best and their worst, and when they do lose a few, they just don't have the depth and they fall away badly. So they're going to get the job done today, but I would really like to see a Fair Park next year with a more consistent side, maybe picking up 3 or 4 more players just to get that bit of depth through their reserves and into their seniors. And I think that they genuinely could be pushing for finals football next year. All
right, Dan, I forgot to ask you about your tip for the Coldstream game, so you can give us 2 tips now.
No worries, Brash. Big day for the Coldstream Footy Club with Johnny Pignataro playing game 250. Yep. A great player for Coldstream, playing their last 2001 premiership side all those years ago, and of course at the Mitcham Footy Club where he did great things too. Topped the goal kicking on a number of occasions. So Coldstream for mine. And you mentioned the loss of Jason Want at Fair Park this year, Brash. I'm not sure at this particular point of the season it would be such a loss. He's actually gone to Europe now. But I'll tell you what, it has been a loss, but I'll tell you what, South Croydon will be feeling it big time.
All right. There's another big match up for grabs this afternoon.
A lot of them.
In Division 4, but none more important for the Kilsyth Football Club. They're hosting a Forest Hill Football Club who in recent times have started to find their mojo again. Curry's been in form for Kilsyth in their recent resurgence. Kilsyth a draw and 2 wins in their last 3, whilst for Forest Hill 2 wins and a loss in their last 3. Couldn't get any closer, Damo. But look, I just think for stability, I just think that I think over the season so far, I think Forest Hill have been the more consistent side. That they seem to relish. They're one of the better sides away from home, and I'm tipping them this afternoon to put a spanner in Kilsythe's finals aspirations.
I agree. I have to go with Forest Hill. I think they have the greater temperament here. They should get the job done, but it really is one of those toss-of-the-coin games, isn't it?
Yeah, I notice both you lads have carefully worded your tips there, being within arm's length of Alana Coleman, but I'm going to go with Forest Hill as well. Kilsyth for mine. They've really picked it up in the last month or so, and their best footy, I think, it would be good enough to play finals, but having said that, Forest Hill, it's just too much of an important game for them to drop. And Alana, you'll probably agree with this, that their form has been somewhat inconsistent this season. And I reckon for Forest Hill, sometimes the gap between their best and worst is too far great.
Yeah, and going back again to having a few injuries,
yep.
I know that this year particularly, Forest Hill have had quite a number of injuries. I can't speak for Kilsyth. That might have been why when I saw them play earlier in the season, I was very underwhelmed by their performance. In saying that though, their past month has been really good and they find themselves in 4th spot.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a 3 versus 4. It is potentially a finals match as well.
Yep.
But I think that maybe just Forest Hill over the spread of the team are just a bit stronger and have a little bit more class and polish than Kilsyth, who rely a little too heavily on a few really key players. And Curry's one of them that you mentioned earlier. And when I watched him play earlier on in the season, Brash,
yep.
he was not... he had no effect on the game whatsoever.
No.
But obviously over the past month, he's stepped that up.
Yep.
And it's no surprise that if him and a couple of the other guys, put in some better performances, then Kilsyth do win games.
Exactly. You hit the nail right on the head. Well, one side that has had a really good month of football. They've won 3 out of their last 4 games. It's Surrey Park, and they're at home today in another winnable contest against Sylvan. Can anyone give me a valid reason why Sylvan can win this game this afternoon, or does Surrey Park just win the game and win quite comfortably?
Not really. The only chance I give Sylvan is the fact that probably both sides can't make the finals, so they're merely playing on pride. But Surrey Park, I think, can act on that form and win.
What about you, Alana? Do you think anything Sylvan can do anything this afternoon?
No.
No? What about you, Dan?
Nice and blunt there. No, I think this afternoon will be a bit of a formality. You mentioned, Damo, both sides are playing on pride. Nothing to lose at the moment. Surrey Park have probably left their run a bit too late.
Yep.
No doubt about it, and they should win this game.
Right, let's move on to Division 3, the most even of divisions in the Eastern Football League this year. And I tell you what, it's one of the hardest. I sit there and pull my hair out on Saturday night, whatever's left after seeing the results, because sometimes I just can't pick them.
Like last week?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Second Division did me in last week. Right, Ferntree Gully. Ferntree Gully taking on South Belgrave. South Belgrave, for mine, were really disappointing. I expected them to win at home against Warrandyte, and they were beaten. Ferntree Gully, they've suffered 2 losses.
Fallen off a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, look, I'm a bit concerned about all of a sudden the scoring's dried up for them. There's a lot. They show a lot of promise, and I mean, look, I think with young sides like Ferntree Gully, their form's going to fluctuate, between good and not so good. But look, there's a final spot still up for grabs for them. And I know Pete Farrell wants this club to play finals this year. For mine, if they're going to play finals this year, they've got to beat South Belgrave, and for that reason and that incentive, I think Ferntree Gully can get the job done today.
I agree. Season on the line here, Ferntree Gully for me.
I actually think that 2 weeks ago when we did the radio match,
Yep.
that they lost that opportunity for finals. I reckon that was their, that was the game
Possibly.
that was the game that they were in control for 3.5 quarters. They should have won it, and that put them from, I think it was about, that put them in the top 5 to out of the top 5, and I reckon that actually was a very soul crushing defeat.
Yes,
and you see that performance last week, like that.
Yeah.
That's 21 points in a game of football. That's pretty abysmal, really.
Yeah, 2-9.
Yeah. So for me, that loss for them was the one that kind of really crushed their soul, and it would take something huge to bounce back from that. But I think they're going to win possibly today, but I don't think they're going to play finals.
Yeah, it was almost Richmond-esque, wasn't it? Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory that day. But Baronia hung around, and to their credit, they made Ferntree Gully pay, so we can't discount Baronia too much. But yeah, season on the line today for the Gully. They've simply got to win this.
Well, that's the end of the game here. It's Donvale have managed to hold on for victory. Donvale 8-6-54 have defeated Whitehorse Pioneers 6-5-41. Let's move on to the next game, and it's Heathmont down at the hangar. Hershey Parker taking on East Burwood. With Warrandyte winning last week, that's just made the task a lot harder for East Burwood. Where are they going to find 3 wins? Somehow I don't think today's going to be a victory for them either. Do you think so, Dan?
No, look, I can't see it happening. And look, Heathmont, for mine, they've fallen right off, and we saw them against Park Orchards. They got picked apart pretty easily that day. But today, they certainly need to win this, and it's probably a good opportunity for a bit of a tune-up before the final, should they make it.
Yeah, they need the percentage booster too, Heathmont for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Heathmont as well.
Another interesting game. Well, if you're a Scoresby fan, they take on the Basin down at Scoresby Recreation Reserve, and Scoresby have become the master of the 1-point victories in recent times. The Basin, for mine, have been extremely disappointing this year, and Scoresby just need to keep winning to keep the pressure on and make sure that they're still in the finals hunt for another week. What do you think, Peoples?
Scoresby easily for me.
Yeah, Scoresby for mine, and they've won 5 in a row, and I don't think they've done that since about 2011. So no. they're in the best form they've been in for probably 6 years. So I can't see them dropping this one.
Yeah, and also they didn't just have a 1-point win against a side that was around about the same level peckings as them last week. They beat the top side.
That's true.
I felt like last week they proved a point that they're not to be discounted if they do make it, so they should easily account for the Basin today.
Yeah, match of the round today. Templestowe at home at Templestowe Reserve to Ringwood. Ringwood without Farmer and Luke Davis in the side today. When I did my tip last night, I tipped Ringwood on the Ringwood. Now I've had a chance to think about this overnight, and I think that that might be 2 big losses that I don't think Ringwood can cover this afternoon. I think Templestowe are just starting to work their way into their season very well and just starting to work out what Craig DeCourcy's expectations of them, and I expect them to get the points in a very close encounter this afternoon.
Templestowe for me too.
Yep, Templestowe for mine.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Templestowe. And Brash, you really do need a holiday.
Yeah.
You've been up thinking about your tips at night, pulling
giving
your
you
hair out.
I'm getting breakdown.
I know. I was like, geez, Brash, you need that holiday. It's all right.
Thank you. Baronia, the up-and-coming Baronia have really made big strides this year. They had a bit of a patch during the season where they really struggled for a little bit, but they've got their season back on track. They've won 3 out of the last 4. Churnside, they were going okay there. They won 3 out of their last 4 after a patch of 6 running straight losses. I think Baronia, they still want to play finals football. For me, this is a non-negotiable for them this afternoon. They have to win, especially at home.
Fait accompli for me, Baronia.
Yep, Hawks.
Yep, me too.
Park Orchards. Now, Park Orchards sit on top at the moment. Look, we talk about a side that's had, a couple of losses, but, gee, they've had 2 1-point losses in a month. And, look, I expect them to rebound. Even though Warrandyte won last week, I think the Sharks are going to rebound pretty hard this week.
Gee, Brash, they have had 2 1-point losses, but the positive, the silver lining out of that is they have been 1-point losses. It's not like they've been 5 goals or 6 goals or whatever, 10 goals. They've only been 1-point losses, so I suppose it's not panic stations for the Sharks, and they are a very good side, and they should win today.
11% separating the top 3 sides. I think Park Orchards easily.
Yeah, I think Park Orchards will bounce back after that shocking 1-point defeat for them, maybe. Yeah. Well, they might have been a bit shocked to lose that game, though. Like, not that the game was shocking.
Upset.
Yeah, but it was more so that it was a shock rather than a shocking performance is what I meant to say there. Okay. Don't look at me like that, Dan. Jeez.
Gee, the umpires are coming out early as well as the sides. Let's quickly go through Division 2. Croydon home to Waverley Blues. Anyone going to tip the Blues?
No.
Which Blues? Croydon for mine.
Croydon.
Yeah. Mooroolbark, led by Dan Demetrio's 250th game. Absolute ornament for the club today. Congratulations. Not Dan, Scott, I should say. Scott Demetrio?
Scott Demetrio.
Yeah,
yep.
250 games. Great effort for the Mooroolbark Football Club. I think they'll rise to the occasion this afternoon and put paid to Wanturna South.
Yeah, I think so too. And if you want to read all about the great man's career, turn to page 8 and 9 in your Eastern Footballer, just
Great
$2
stuff.
today, and pick that one up. It's a fantastic article.
And I'm sure our former media manager, Lauren Wood, will be up there supporting him all the way this afternoon.
On your Loz.
Okay, Knox need to rebound after a loss against Lilydale, who've got their own trials and tribulations at the moment. Anyone make a case for Lilydale today?
Nah, Falcon Fiesta will go the way of Knox.
Mulgrave, always a hard team to pick, but they're at home against Upper. I'm going to tip Mulgrave this afternoon.
Upper for me.
I'm going to go with Mulgrave, just on the basis that it is at home.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alana.
Yeah, Mulgrave for mine. And Doncaster East, in ripping form at the moment. They're at Walker Park this afternoon. I think Doncaster East win this game and quite comfortably.
Same.
Yeah, no reason not.
I'm going with Mitcham.
Fair enough.
Ooh.
And
That's my curly tip.
That's an upset.
Yeah, Division 1, and we've got Balwyn taking on Roval down at Balwyn Park this afternoon. Balwyn will be smarting after 2 straight losses, but I expect them to get back on the winning list today.
Yeah, and easily for me.
Yep. Same.
Bayswater and East Ringwood, two sides haven't set the world alight this season. I'm going to tip East Ringwood this afternoon. I think their form in recent times has been a little bit better, even though Bayswater's last 2 games have been encouraging.
Bayswater for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bayswater as well. Look, if they're going to jag another win this season, it probably will be today.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually going to swing that way too, and being that it's at home.
So Bayswater for the rest of you and East Ringwood for mine.
That's it, Brasher.
Okay, can anyone make a case for Montrose to bring Vermont's unbeaten run to a shuddering halt this afternoon?
No.
Only complacency can stop Vermont.
Yeah, and the week off. I know Cam Howard, and congratulations to young Bailey Hotka. He's the best and fairest in the under-19s in the last 2 or 3 years, and he's taken a little while to mature a little bit and find his way in senior football, but I believe in recent times his form has been outstanding, and he's playing his first game in the seniors, so good luck to you, young Bailey. So Vermont for everyone here. This is a really interesting game. Blackburn at home to South Croydon. Typically Anzac Day clash, this time played later in the year. Blackburn have been injury riddled. Gus McLeod tells us that 2 or 3 of those blokes are coming back into the side this week, along with Michael Prendergast, a very important player to that club. South Croydon for mine, they've really improved this year, and I'm taking into consideration that Blackburn play extremely well at home, even though they've got these players coming back into the side. They'll probably be a little underdone, and that's where I think South Croydon can exploit them this afternoon. So I'm going to tip South Croydon.
Agree, the Dogs for me.
Doggies for mine.
Yeah, 100% agree. Brash, probably a couple of weeks away maybe for Blackburn to hit the straps again.
Yeah, Nord's had a very disappointing year, but and it doesn't get any easier. Even though they go down to the Bull Ring this afternoon, and they always seem to perform well for about a half, but then the juggernaut that is Noble Park, they just tend to roll over sides, especially in the second half, and I expect that to happen again this afternoon.
Yeah, I concur with that. Bulls easily.
Bulls.
Bulls for me.
Yeah, and Quamby Reserve has brought many a good side down on a Saturday afternoon just because of the playing conditions. But Doncaster in recent times have really got their mojo back. And for mine, this is another must-win game for them as they keep pressure on Balwyn for that 5th spot.
Yeah, Sharks have the incentive here.
I'm going to go North Ringwood.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Change of coach during the week, I think. Not that it was influencing the way they were playing, but that's the way things generally tend to happen. I'm going to go the Saints.
Yeah, well, like I said, Doncaster are in really good nick at the moment. And they've really, since they lost that game against Vermont, they've really hit back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of pre-match. Both sides are out on the ground, and coming up after the break, all the action from the big clash this afternoon. It's Donvale versus Whitehorse Pioneers. This is EFL Game Day live on Radio Eastern 98.1.
My plans for the year, save up for a house so we can build hopefully in November.
Going overseas to Japan.
Recently become a father of a second child.
Finish up baseball season.
Take the kids skiing.
Move into a new house.
Go to the footy a lot.
I am in a tennis tournament in April.
Have a hobby farm. That would be my dream.
The beauty of a fixed price funeral plan is that the price never changes and you can celebrate your life the way you want. Find out more at turbanbrothers.com.au. Turban Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program
Best
sponsor. EFL Wrap on Radio. Don't miss EFL Sunday. From 10 till 12 every Sunday morning, the EFL media team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders, following a big round of EFL footy. The gang talk to the biggest names from across the league each and every week. EFL Sunday, from 10 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. EFL.org.au is the place to be online for all the latest on the Eastern Football League. Keep up to date by checking out the latest news and feature articles. Have your say in the EFL poll. Check out all the latest EFL videos, and best of all, you can listen back to any EFL radio program at any time. Head to EFL.org.au. The Eastern Football League. Local footy at its best.
How would you like to be celebrated?
I could put together a really cool playlist.
Frank Sinatra.
Elton John.
Beethoven.
John Lennon.
Boy bands.
A lot of 90s.
I'd certainly not be opposed to people dancing.
Finger food.
Party pies.
Homemade pickles. I'd like some cakes. There will be fairy bread.
Twinks.
I have a thing for pink lemonade.
And lots of coffee. At
Turban Brothers Funerals, they know that every life is unique and they think that every celebration should be too. Find out more at turbanbrothers.com.au. Turban Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program EFL Saturday, it's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and the game's underway. Damien Watson, take us through.
Yeah, we're 10 seconds in and the ball's on centre wing for Whitehorse. Hockey has possession, but he's intercepted there with Donvale in possession now on centre wing. And they're trying to orchestrate an attack here, but taking the ball forward for the Pioneers is Clydesdale. Sends a long probing kick to centre half forward, but no one home. And Donvale, the Vales, resolute in defence, and they can chip it around centre half back at the moment. Taken by Haywood. So Haywood at centre half back. He's got a couple of options. Coughlin makes a lead out wide towards centre wing. From behind is Angeli. Couldn't quite claim the mark. At ground level there for the Pioneers is Newton. They switch it around with the hand pass. Eventually falls into the arms of Batako. Batako kicks inside the 50. Good spoil from the back from the Donvale defender in Bush. Forces it to ground level. They have the numbers, but the Pioneers are affecting the tackle there. Treveskis, still a chance here. Long ball towards the goal line, but it's all Donvale at home. And taking the mark is Kyle Wignall on the last line of defence.
So Kyle Wignall to bring it in. He chips it out there looking for the big man. That was Haig. Zach Haig, such a big and important man in the ruck today, as he's put on the ground, and there'll be a ball up at Sutherland. In fact, Chris Sutherland. Terrific game last week. Sutherland, one of the best players against Coldstream, so he'll be looking for a repeat performance of that today. Umpire to throw it up. Very windy conditions out here at Donvale Reserve. It's gale force. The tap is from Duclos. He's had a particularly good season as well as they burst away Donvale. Looking to link up long run this one.
Good bounce.
Still going. He's whoever it is. He's just bursting off down the field. Finally puts the kick towards goal, but it's off target, I think. Yep. Going through for a minor score. Terrific run.
That was Matt Liardi there, and Alani, you alluded to the fact that his run and carry through the midfield is going to play big prominence this afternoon, and he gave us just a little glimpse of that just then.
So, ball kicked back in. The ball is not a clean mark taken. It's bobbling around. Little chip forward, looking for a target, but fumble there. It looks only towards the boundary line, and it should beat everybody over the boundary line. Chris Ryan was there, but he couldn't keep it in, and we'll have a throw in.
Look at the Donvale supporters there with their beanies. I like the green and black jackets there, Brett. It's a nice attire.
Good day for beanies, I tell you. It's not the warmest out here. As the tap comes, Haig, I think, that got the tap there. Someone was pushed out of the way there. Could have been a free kick, but the Pioneers had possession of the ball. It was Gleed. Mav Gleed, he's had a fantastic season. One of their best players. And we've got a free kick, it looks like. Yep, free kick to the Whitehorse Pioneers as they set off downfield. They haven't had too much possession. Tom Connell with the ball. And it's out of bounds as he kicks it towards the forward pocket.
Yeah, I think that wind's wrecking havoc there at centre wing. Obviously, players will be aiming to keep the ball low, Brash, in these conditions.
Yeah, especially when you're kicking against the breeze. And Whitehorse are really got to make hay while the sun shines with it, Damien.
Yes, in more ways than one, with the sun shining at Donvale Reserve today, and it's the Vales that move up forward. Proby kick inside the 50, a 2-on-2 contest, and the Marks had held on. A fantastic effort on the second bite. Nicholas Murphy, isn't he going to be a prodigious player for Donvale today up forward? He'll line up from 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, Brash, Murphy and Purcell, so good for Donvale. 11 goals between them last week.
So Nick Murphy booted 63 goals for the season coming into this game. Can he put Donvale's first on the board this afternoon? It looks all right, and they secure first blood in their home game. It's 1-1-7, leading Whitehorse yet to score early on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard in this first term.
And I think that's probably just a glimpse of what's to come moving forward through this game. Really strong mark early and against the breeze as well. So it's a perfect start for Donvale. Whitehorse looking a little bit shaky, and at the moment, I don't want to say it too early, but it's looking like the men against the boys in those contests within the ball. Can change.
So back in the middle, terrific ruck contest in store for today. Haig versus Duclos, two terrific ruckmen, two of the best in Division 4. Up it goes. Haig gets, in fact, it might have been Duclos that got the tap there, and it's Whitehorse in position. That looks like a high tackle, and it's a free kick to the Whitehorse Pioneers. They take it quickly, they move it to Ryan. Christopher Ryan puts it forward, looking for a target, and finds Noah Khan looking around, decides to stop.
25 here.
Got a whistle.
No, he's just moving the player.
Just moving the mark, I think, and as Ryan takes the ball, now he goes inside 50, looking to find, probably Padbury will be the main target in there today, bobbling around, and Tippett was there as well, but it comes out for Cotsford, and he will get the ball out of bounds. Brash?
Yeah, Whitehorse are going to have to use the ball a lot better moving into their forward line, especially with the breeze. They're going to have to isolate their key forwards a lot better than what they just did then.
So ball on the ground to not clean possession, and I think we'll probably have a ball up. It's Christopher Sutherland, who, as I say, was absolutely magnificent last week. One of the best players on the ground in their convincing victory as the ball comes in and the rucks go at it. And again, it's that big man Hay. What a fantastic player he is. It's fumbled forward, though, for Whitehorse player, and this could work out for them too, but no. It's been cut off. It's all very untidy, bobbing around like a pinball, and it's Khan with the ball, but now they bring it out. And it's Coughlin, who's been in terrific form. He's been one of their best this year too, Sam Coughlin. Now it's across to Liebelt. Jess Liebelt puts it into the middle of the ground, taken there by Angeli.
Oh,
and
good
a terrific tackle coming in. I think it was Tippett that made the tackle. It was Marcus Tippett. And it's a free kick to the Whitehorse Pioneers. Marcus Tippett right up there on the goal-kicking stakes too. He puts a short guy, great mark taken. That wasn't the greatest of kicks, but a good mark taken. And turning around looking for the next option is Gleed. Mav Gleed. Puts it forward and the mark is taken. That's McDougall, Chris McDougall.
Yep.
And he will go back and line up. And you would think with the breeze behind him, he'd be a fair chance to kick this.
Left goal post if he's going to go for it.
Should get the distance all right. It's on its way. Looks to be heading a little bit left, and it has gone through, and it'll be through for a minor score.
I think he went the left point post, not the left goal post, Brash. He didn't listen to you.
I think so.
Need to get some communication out there from Brash to the players.
So Withers to bring the ball back in for Donvale. They currently lead it by 5 points. Early in this top of the table Division 4 clash. Goes straight up the middle of the corridor at centre half back McCormick Marks for the Vales. Looks out towards the western wing. It's a 2-on-1 contest at the back. Unable to take the mark was Haig, but forced it to ground level, roved his own footy, got the hand pass to Coughlin, switches it wide. I think a throw is being called, and it'll be a Whitehorse free kick on centre wing. And the recipient is Mitch Ward. Now the umpire just moving a couple of players off the mark. In fact, it's another recipient here, Chris Ryan, on centre wing. You can hear that wind howling in the background. 60km/h winds forecast today in Melbourne. It's certainly going to be a challenge for these players. As Ryan boots it inside the 50 for the Pioneers. Didn't advantage his teammate. The umpire's picked out a free kick for a push. It's going Donvale's way. It's to be taken by Hayden Cotsford.
I think you're a bit generous with those winds, Dame. I heard 90k.
90k?
I believe so.
The BOM always fails me, Brett.
Forget about the Bombers. Cotsford takes the ball. He sends it forward now towards the flank. But that's
Look at that wind.
And it's just, I think it's almost gone out of the ground, that one.
I was going to say, either way, gents, I can confirm it's no good for your hair.
At least I
don't have that problem. All right, so Whitehorse Pioneers with the ball. It's Noah Khan who sends it forward. bobbling around over there on the far side. Who can get their hands on it? It's all very untidy at the moment, but it's taken away now. And here's Donvale with the ball as it's popped back into the centre of the ground. Long kick across field as they try and open it up over here, Donvale, and they do. That's Rawson. Matt Rawson had a fantastic game last week. He was best on ground as he sends it forward. And now they go inside 50. Can they find a target? It's good play by Whitehorse, and it was Duclos, James Duclos, terrific player he is too. It's gone to Hockey now, and Hockey gets it across, and that's Noah Khan who brings it away towards the far side, and a terrific attempt over there at a mark, but not taken, and it's out of bounds for a throw.
That was some beautiful link-up handball play across the half-back line for Donvale just before. Shame they couldn't isolate their forward up there, but it's exactly the way that Donvale, you'll see them play that all day.
So in it goes. Once again, it's that man Haig who gets the tap, and he knocks it down to one of his teammates, but the whistle's gone. And what have we got? A free kick by the looks of there somewhere. In fact, it's to the Whitehorse Pioneers, and it's Patako, the Patako brothers. There's two of them playing today. That's Nicholas who gets the kick forward. Looking for a target in Padbury, who hasn't really had a huge factor in the game yet, but a prolific goal cricketer. If he can get on the end of a couple, it'll certainly be to Whitehorse's advantage.
Reached the 10-minute mark of this first quarter. Top of the table clash. Division 4. Donvale by 5 points over Whitehorse. An uncontested ruck contest. Won by Dillon. Forced it to ground level. Hand pass comes through to Ancona. Still a chance here. Bobbing around. Good pressure by the Pioneers, but Donvale will hack it towards centre half back. Stopping it with his foot there. Very clever was Farley. Long kick towards the forward pocket. The wind just brings it wide towards the western side, and a relieving mark is taken in defence for the Vales, and you can see the judgment of that wind's going to be very crucial on the last line of defence today. Kick towards left half back from behind, unable to contest with Haig because it held up in the breeze, and his opponent, the big man of course in Noah Khan, takes the mark right on 50 for the Pioneers.
Been prominent early Khan.
The breeze at his back, long ball towards the goal line. It might clear the pack. Good mark on the last side of defence. Is it going to be paid? It is for Donvale. And it's going to be interesting.
Matty Sutherland, I think, took that one.
Yeah. Sutherland has taken it. It's going to be interesting for the goal umpire to make judgments today.
It's out in the full, I reckon.
Yes, the breeze carrying it towards the boundary line. Still a chance here. Kept in play for Donvale. That was well done. Liardi over the top of the football. May have got a push in the back. Not paid. That was Brad Farley affecting it over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in. 65 out from the Whitehorse goal, western side of the ground, where our two boundary riders, Betty Warren-Smith and Matty Fodia, are obviously enduring the wind out there. They're doing very well.
Lucky BWS hasn't got any hair.
No, he's got a nice beanie on to protect himself anyway, which is great to see. We'll get an update on the conditions too, because that's going to be interesting to see how far that breeze will take one side. This afternoon's contest will be a factor. Ancona from the centre wing position, a long ball inside 50. It bounces out of play again. The wind taking it toward that western side. It'll be a throw in the Whitehorse Pioneers pocket. Let's head boundary side now. Matty Fodia's down there.
Yeah, g'day Damo. You asked about the conditions, mate. It is blowing an absolute gale right towards this pocket where the ball is, and I think the ball could get caught in there for most of the day today. So yeah, it's going to be a struggle to get it out of there for the Vales this quarter.
And just while they're retrieving the ball, Matty, you'd be used to the wind blowing at your back as a fast bowler, but it's in your face today, so it'll be a new experience.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable for me, mate. It's not used to it, and I don't like it at all.
Even when he's not bowling.
And clearly Matty's a lot tougher than BWS because he doesn't have a hat on as the ball comes back into play. But it's going to come back into play. The umpire throws it in. Up they go again. It was, that's Dillon, Patrick Dillon. I can hardly miss him with his locks there.
You ever have hair like that, Brett, back in the day in New Zealand?
No, you're just taking the mickle now, aren't you?
I'm just asking.
So I did have it a little bit longer than I do now, but not at the moment, and probably never again. As the ball comes out, and it's I think it's Liardi who takes the ball off half-back, sends it forward, and Connor it was, in fact. And once again, I think we've gone out of bounds on that far, so we're going to have a lot of play over that far side, as we said.
Well, the wind just keeps dragging the ball over there. Actually, I reckon Coach Matt Fyfe will be happy with the first 12 minutes, the way this game's panning out. Whitehorse haven't really hit anything on the scoreboard as yet.
So back in possession with the ball, that's Foley. Michael Foley takes it and kicks it forward, and now is looking for a target. And once again, it's towards that boundary line over there where it's been for most of the first quarter. Handball from Duclos comes out to a teammate, but it's wrapped up well and truly on the ground. Good tackle from Ancona. and we'll have a ball up.
And interestingly so far, Matt Falla spoke about playing and training on this ground a lot of late, and they've really just prepared to put the ball into the space and have the confidence for the players to run onto it so far.
Let's go boundary side. Here's Ben Warren-Smith.
As the ball just trickles over once again, true centre wing position. We've got a great spot out here, guys, and a couple of big changes just happening for the Donvale Football Club. I think we're cutting in and out a little bit there, but Liebley and Coughlin and Jones just coming on, so they're ringing in the changes here. Big breeze as well. We heard Matty say that it's going towards that right forward pocket, the way of Whitehorse's end. But I tell you what, it's probably a 3 to 4 goal breeze if you can get the nugget right on the boot.
Certainly not the case at the moment. Just the one goal kicked as the ball is thrown up and it's bobbling around over on that far side where it's been almost for the whole game. Coming away with the ball was Foley, but once again it's out of bounds. I tell you what, the boundary umpire over there is going to have a very sore arm by the time the game's over.
He's going to earn his money today, I can tell you.
He throws it in for the umpteenth time in this quarter as the Rucks go at it, and it was I think it was Haig, I think, that went for that one. Now it's come out as bobbling around, and it's the Whitehorse Pioneers who have possession. We'll sort of have possession. It's Clydesdale with the ball, but he's wrapped up, and we'll have a ball up.
These are the days where your hand and foot skills have really got to come to the fore and try and take the wind out of play here.
Halfway through the first term, Donvale lead it by 5 points as the ball is set in motion again. Duclos won the tap, forced it to ground level. Lively on top of it. He's well claimed there by Webb, and the umpire's blown the whistle, holding the ball. So a great tackle there. It'll be a Pioneers ball on centre wing to be taken by Caleb Webb. Sends a long probing ball towards right half forward over the head of his intended target again.
Boundary.
Webb blowing it to the west. It'll be over the line on the half forward flank for the Pioneers. Let's cross boundary side. BWS.
No, it's Matty this time, guys. Just notice that it's going to get confusing all day. Just notice it looks like Whitehorse and Donvale both going man-to-man around most of the ground unless it's really deep in either forward line.
Matty Fodia and Ben Warren-Smith at boundary side this afternoon. All forced to ground level. Angeli gets the hand pass out, but it's intercepted by Gleed, who's been one of the more consistent performers for the Pioneers all year. He's taken to the ground and we'll have a ball in again. 45 out from the Pioneers' goal.
I know the old adage is to kick the ball long with the wind, but when you do that, you've got to kick it to someone, not open air and open space.
Donvale again merging from the pack. Wignall missed the hand pass, but again it's regained, and they're going to kick it to the fat side of the ground on the northern wing. It'll be a long race for the football. Hunter eventually claims it, but he fumbles, is forced to ground. Farley for the Pioneers goes in hard for the footy. He's tackled by a couple of Vales and will have a bounce. True centre wing.
I think the other thing too, Alana, the bigger bodied side, Donvale side, just seem to be able to brush aside the Whitehorse Pioneers thinner type players.
Yes, the Donvale players have done that against many a side this season, but Whitehorse have been just finding their way back into these contests.
Yep.
So Paddy Dillon goes into the ruck this time, giving Haig a chop out as the ball comes out. It's bobbling around.
That's a throw.
It's a scoop.
It's a scoop. As it comes out for the Whitehorse Pioneers, it's all very, very untidy. Not a lot of open play. It's hacked forward, and here's an opportunity for it's a great play as the ball is knocked. Liardi's got the bounce there. Here's a chance.
That was Ancona.
Ancona it was. I don't know why I keep calling him Liardi. I've got no idea. As the ball goes towards the boundary line, and it's out of bounds. But good play by Donvale, and one of the few times in the first quarter they've actually got the ball down this end.
I was going to say, you might get Ancona and Liardi confused because they both get a lot of the ball and they're both in and under and around the play a lot.
Thank you for that, Leona, making excuses. Making excuses for me. As the ball comes in, Clow goes at it, knocked away, but it looks like it's going to be well and truly tied up in there. But Donvale won't mind this. They'll be looking to get the ball clear, an opportunity for them to kick just the second goal of the match. It's been a very, very tight contest, as you'd expect with this wind. And it's Clow to go up against Dillon in the ruck. And Pai gets it up nice and high. The ball just goes miles away from where he threw it, and it's been hacked forward again. But it's going to come straight back as the Donvale side look to work it. A little short kick out towards the flank, but it's going to be cut off. It wasn't the greatest of kicks, and that might be a 25 as well. No. Pai says might have been a close thing, though. It's been taken by Chris Ryan, and he looks around for the next option. Is he going to go long, or is he going to try and go short? Decides to pump it long, probably not too surprisingly with the wind behind them. And it's cut off nicely, tapped away towards the boundary, and it's Chris Sutherland who's been prominent in the early stages. Great ball inside, quick transfer from Hunter, and now it's back out towards that far side where it's been. That might have a throw in.
It's like a magnet, that boundary
Isn't
line.
it? Yeah.
Just the perceived pressure too, I think was a real factor in that one as well.
Yep.
So the ball comes in, it sort of missed everyone really, and it's been
fell short.
Fell short of the intended targets, and Michael Foley who I'm sure gets called Axel by all his friends, is dumped on the ground.
I reckon Bob Marley's out there playing this afternoon.
He could be back from the grave as the ball comes once again. And it's wrapped up on the ground. Oh, we're almost seeing a bit of a pull your shirt down there, buddy. Thank you.
He's a very good player for that Donvale side too.
Yes.
Dylan.
He is a good player.
So Donvale by a straight kick on centre wing. Duclos wins the tap once again, has been dominant in the ruck for the Pioneers all year, and a relieving kick is again forced over the line on the western wing, where we find our boundary riders who are enduring the wind.
Hey guys, just looking at this, Donvale are running their rotations for their key players, Haig, Coghlan, Liardi, on about 3 or 4 minutes off before they come back onto the ground, give or take the time the player needs to get off.
Can you imagine if the boundary umpire was on $1 a throw-in this afternoon?
Oh, you pay for a trip to the US where you're heading, Brash. As we again see the ball trickle over the boundary line in front of Ward, and it'll be Frank Sinatra making a guest appearance from the dead too.
Well, I reckon he's up to $20 so far.
Oh, we'd have to count it. That could be a counter for the afternoon. I don't think Soupy's here, so we'll keep you up to date with that as the ball comes forward towards Coghlan. He's dispossessed of the football. Coming through hard for the Pioneers was McDougall. A clear chain of hand passes before it was fumbled by Ward. Eventually Donvale will force it forward on centre wing. Liardi was stripped of the football, taken by Lively. He's claimed. Still a chance here for the Pioneers, working in a confined space. Khan got the hand pass. It ricochets out of play in front of Noah Khan, and we'll have a ball in on centre wing, western side of the ground at Donvale Reserve.
Lively should be Liebelt.
I was going to say, I have a sneaky suspicion it should be Liebelt, but that's a little typo.
It's a little typo there, Damo. It's Liebelt.
Blame our our media manager at least, Dan Sensick. He can't work a keyboard. It's the ball is going to get...
He's playing golf today.
He is, yeah. He's not going to be playing too well out in the wind as Duclos gets
with a tee.
With the tap, and it's gone to the Whitehorse Pioneers, and they've got an opportunity to hack it forward, and they do as well. And here's a real opportunity now as they burst through. That was Ward, I think, who got the ball towards Tippett, who might get a free kick. Reckon he was taken out.
Yeah, he was. He was shepherded out of the contest.
It'll be a free kick to Marcus Tippett, and this is a big kick if he slots this one through.
No, he actually gave the free kick away.
He gave the free kick away.
He just used a little too much body there. A little bit too much.
I thought it was going the other way, to be honest, but there you go. Withers takes the ball over on the far side, and once again Donvale will work it out of their defensive area. Decides to go long. Who's the target up there? It looks like it's Coghlan. He's been terrific form this year. Bobbling around, the ball goes to ground. It had to be a throw, surely, as it came out there, as the ball goes once again into the contest. And we'll have a ball up at least on the far side of the field.
Brash, this just plays perfectly into Donvale's hands, doesn't it, this first quarter?
Yeah, because you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to come out with a different game plan in the second quarter, Alana.
Absolutely, without question. Ball goes up. Ruck contest, it's Haig who gets to the front spot, gets the tap down. It's been taken in there, well, it was taken in there for a minute by Grocott. And he's put on the ground, and once again we'll have... a ball up.
I've liked his first quarter so far, Grocott. He's been
really
lively across that half-forward line.
Yeah, he's been in and under.
Well, at the time on in this first term, Donvale lead by a straight kick. The tap won by Duclos once again, forced to ground level. It's a 2-on-1 contest where Pioneer is taken down by a couple of Vales. It'll be a ball up. That was Clydesdale in the thick of the pack. 55 out for the Donvale goal. On the northern side, where it's been rarely seen this afternoon so far. Claimed in a tackle there as Liardi, and we'll have another stoppage.
That was just a great tap then by Duclos, but the Whitehorse players were all standing flat-footed, and it was the Donvale guys that were on the move, and it was no surprise that they sharked that ball then.
Yeah, they are dominating at ground level, and it's conveyed once again through the kick of Liebelt into the pocket. No one really there to meet the football. Eventually it's dived over the line from Rorsa, and we'll have a ball in deep in the forward pocket for Donvale with a big scoring opportunity.
Hasn't been quite as prominent, Rorsa, as he was last week. Had a terrific game, but he's played okay, but not perhaps as doing as much. We might get into the game later as the ball comes in the tap once again, but it falls for the Pioneers, and it's Hockey who gets the ball out, but he's overcooked that one, and it's going to come straight back for the Donvale side. The handball over the top. Now the little short kick. Can they find a target? And they're looking for it was Grocott, but it's been cut off nicely. And good to play there from Ward, who will knock it out. We'll send it back into the middle of the ground. Long kick forward. Can someone get on the end of it? Tippett was there, but he couldn't quite get hands for it. There's Padbury as well. As I say, he's been very quiet in the early stages. Not really a game for full forward so far. Good mark taken there by Ryan. And Chris Ryan will pump it long. No, he gives it off, decides to give it off. And the kick forward comes from Connell. Connell pumping it long. That's a shocking kick, though, and it's going to be cut off very, very comfortably back there. And Donvale will once again launch from the back.
Can't say I've got a number 8 on my list.
No, I haven't either. I'm just looking myself.
Maybe the boys on the boundary line can check that one out for us.
So it's Coughlin, Sammy Coughlin. He sends it long. Well, nearly a mark taken in the centre, but it falls for Thorne, and Thorne gets it out, and here's a real opportunity now if it's Farley, Brad Farley, who sends the ball towards the inside 50, but it's somewhat a wayward kick, and it's been cut off nicely over there. And once again, they'll work it out with Sutherland, who had it, hooks it across field. Back into a dangerous position. Liebelt was there. It falls over Ancona. We might be about to find out who our mystery number 8 is as the ball is popped in field. We'll go boundary side in a moment as the ball is hacked forward. It's all very untidy. Diving on it was Coughlin. But it's not the danger isn't over yet, but it is now as the ball is cut off nicely at the back as we go boundary side with our boundary riders.
Okay, guys, so Mark Newton, who's down as number 13, he's the number 8 for Whitehorse.
Thank you very much.
So Donvale in position now at centre wing. Mark taken between half forward and centre wing by Coughlin, who's been dominant in the early stages. Sends a probing ball towards the forward pocket. The Pioneers have the numbers. Duclos affected the spoil. Still in play. Great centering ball there by Grocott to the top of the square. That was opportunistic. Improvisation at its best. Forced it to the top of the square, and it'll be a free kick or a mark right in front of goal for the Vales. And surely they can register their second on the board. I believe it's in the arm of...
Must be his brother. His other brother must play at Donny East.
That is, of course, Michael Drukulja. I think I got that pronunciation right. In any case, it'll be lining up from the top of the square, 15 metres out, virtually straight in front. And he registers Donvale's second goal for the afternoon. They're 2-1-13 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, leading the Pioneers one behind. And we've gone 27 minutes in this first term.
And it was just Donvale's will and muscle and bulk that just got them moving that ball forward. And right here on, right in front of us, again, it was Grocott, again, Brash, just battling in there, played the percentages, get it in the forward line, and look what happens.
Yeah, he's certainly been influential, and he's probably the reason why they're 2 goals, 1 alone. He's just his play alone in this first quarter.
Yep, Grocott's been a star as we get the ball back into the middle of the ground. Not too long to play in this first quarter. The tap is won by Donvale. Goes out there, but the Pioneers they had it for a moment, but they've lost it again, but it's bobbing around. I'll tell you what, it's been pinball out there today. That's Nolan who hacks the ball forward. If the Pioneers could grab a late goal here, this would be fantastic. The kick from Batako, that's Nicholas. Of course, his brother also playing on this side. The mark not taken, though, and it's knocked away towards the boundary line, and it's out of bounds in the pocket. But the Whitehorse Pioneers certainly at the right end, and a chance for them.
There probably will be a bit of time on with the amount of fact that the ball's been going out of bounds quite a bit. They'll just keep blowing time on, time off for that.
It has. It's been an out of bounds a-thon as the ball is thrown in. And in fact, it's come for Donvale, so the danger is over. And Whitehorse Pioneers, for the moment anyway, missed their opportunity. Ryan was taken with
well
very heavy tackle. Beautiful play by Ancona. Gets it away. And here's an opportunity now for the
Good Shepherd.
Donvale as they burst through the middle of the ground. The big left foot kick looking for the target. And, it's gone through.
Murphy.
It's gone through from Nicholas Murphy. He's been a prodigious goal-kicking talent in this Donvale side. He kicked a big number last week, and he's put it through for his second. I think he was initially looking for his partner in crime, Purcell, but a great shepherd by Purcell and let it go through. So this third goal for the Donvale side, very timely for them as we get close to that quarter-time break.
Well, believe it or not, the ball looked like it was going to drop, and then all of a sudden it just got a second breath of wind and then sort of donkey dropped over Purcell's head and rolled through.
He was going to take that mark.
Yeah.
If it didn't go over, he would have taken that mark
exactly.
anyway. But just again, that 2-on-1 contest,
Yep.
2 Whitehorse players, 1 Donvale player, willed them to win that contest and got it forward to Murphy nicely.
Nick Murphy's 65th goal for the season gives Donvale a handy buffer, and they move it out of the centre once again. Rawser got the hand pass away. A long ball to the top of the goal square. Drop mark. It bounced off the chest of Hockey. Could be costly. It's in the pocket for the Vales. Grocott swings it back. A great centering ball again towards Purcell. Couldn't take the mark, but he's got support, and the snap goal is kicked by Michael Foley. They're on fire, Donvale. They move on to 4-1-25, leading at Whitehorse, 1 behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard late in this first term.
3 quick goals goals in the red time. Alana has really put Donvale in the box seat coming into the second quarter with the breeze.
It certainly have. And again, that perceived pressure meant that mark that was probably a certainty just bounced off the chest and ended up in the ultimate disaster for Whitehorse.
Yeah, certainly been Donvale's last 2 or 3 minutes, and I think the quarter-time break probably can't come fast enough for Derek Shaw and his Whitehorse Pioneers as they threaten to lose their touch in this game. As the ball comes up, it's Stu Clough who gets the hit out. Bobbling around, Nolan knocks it forward, but it's going to come back, but in fact it won't, because there is the the quarter-time siren, should I say, and it's Donvale with a decisive lead thanks to those late 3 goals, and they lead by 4-1-25 to the visitors, the Whitehorse Pioneers, just with the one behind at quarter-time.
Well, Donvale, Lana, they're getting smashed in the. They're smashing Whitehorse in the middle. Grocott on the half-forward line is running rings around his opponent. Purcell and Murphy are looking dangerous. I tell you what, Whitehorse are going to have to produce something really special in this second quarter just to get back in the game, because if Donvale play this type of play, and Matt Fife's going to change the ball, the game plan here to go with the win, they could actually be in control and maybe have the game won by half time.
Yeah, definitely. And it was my concern that it was looking like the men versus the boys, and especially in those contests, it is looking like Donvale's bigger bodies are coming out on top at the moment, and I am concerned for Whitehorse because they're going to stay bigger and stronger the whole time, and Whitehorse are going to have to run really, really hard to try and get back into this game.
Quarter time in the top of the table Division 4 clash. It's Donvale leading 4-1-25 to Whitehorse, one behind. Stay tuned for around the ground scores and more right here on EFL Game Day.
How would you like to be celebrated?
I think a barbie in the backyard would be nice.
I would go to the beach.
Possibly a costume party.
It sounds silly, but I'd like people to bring their pets.
I'd have a karaoke machine. What's coming to my head is an ice sculpture.
Lots of cakes.
Cheesecake.
Lemon meringue pie. And probably every flavour of ice cream ever. At
Tobin Brothers Funerals, they know that every life is unique, and they think that every celebration should be too. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor. A new time and a new team, driving you home in 2016. Join a brand new lineup for The Huddle as the gang take a light-hearted look at the Eastern Football League every Friday night. More importantly, the team will reveal the ins and outs for this week's round of matches. The Huddle, 4:30 to 6:30 every Friday evening as you love it local. Bigger and better in season 2016, Netball EFL is back. The fastest growing competition in the eastern suburbs continues to expand. Don't miss the fast-paced action every Friday night across multiple venues. For more information or to get involved, head to efl.org.au.
Go Zebras! Can the Dockers!
Can the Eagles!
Up the Bulls!
Tobin Brothers Funerals, serving all supporters in the Eastern Football League since 1934. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Radio Eastern 98.1 here at Donvale Reserve. Barry Cos with you at the EFL Game Day Score Centre. It's quarter time and it's Donvale 4-1-25 leading Whitehorse Pioneers. The solitary one behind 1 point as those strong northerly winds blow across the ground. Let's check some progress scores of games being played this afternoon. Firstly to Division 1, Bourne and Roval. And it's Bourne 5-5-35, leading Roval 2 behind 2 points. East Ringwood 1-1-7 to Bayswater 1 behind 1 point. To Division 2, Knox 1-3-9 to Leaderdale, no score. As well as that, in Division 4, Coldstream 4-3-27 to Glen Waverley Hawks 3-1-19. Blackburn and South Croydon Division 1, South Croydon 3-5-23 to Blackburn 1-1-7 in that game. Let's check some AFL this afternoon, and an interesting game down there in Tasmania at Blundstone Arena in Hobart. It's between North Melbourne, and it's the 14-minute mark of the second quarter, and North Melbourne doing pretty good, 6-4-40 to Melbourne 5-3-33. So a 7-point lead to North Melbourne halfway through the second quarter. And the other game today is pretty of good interest to GWS. They need to catch some form back. They're playing at Spotless Stadium this afternoon between themselves and Fremantle. It's the 27-minute mark of the first quarter, and it's GWS 3-4-22 leading Fremantle 3-2-20. And that's the EFL Game Day Score Centre update. Damien.
Thank you very much, Barry Cotts. Enjoying that GWS Fremantle update too. It'll be interesting to see if the Greater West of Sydney Giants can regain some form. And the same question will be asked of the Whitehorse Pioneers in this second term. They currently trail Donvale in this top of the table Division 4 clash at Donvale Reserve. The home side leading 4-1-25 to the Whitehorse Pioneers, one behind. Let's head boundary side.
Hey guys, got Matty Fyth with me, mate. Matty, you're looking now, kicking with the wind. Are you looking to open up and expand the game a bit now?
Yeah, it's basically just a change of style of play, change of state of mind really from bottle the ball up and play a really slow game of footy now to take some risks and try and really get some decent forward entry to the big boys down there and ticking the scoreboard over.
We're expecting Whitehorse to probably drop a number back. What is the plan there? Are you going to let them roam around, or are you looking to man him up?
No, we're basically going to just try and get the numbers up the ground a little bit and make that man accountable. So he's going to basically go to a leading player up the ground and then lower our eyes, hit that man up and try and get some decent deep stuff over the top.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Matty Fodia, great stuff, with a very happy Donvale coach at this point of proceedings, Matt Fyfe. Let's head to Ben Warren-Smith.
Over at the Whitehorse huddle, guys, with Derek Shaw, and it's safe to say with a decent-sized breeze, they weren't too happy with that. They were disappointed they let Donvale get away with it a little bit too easy there. They're going into this second term with a 7-man backline. What the main message is: plenty of talk, lots of talk. Keep it low, keep up the pressure. Voices up, keep possession as much as you can. Take the game on is what he said. That's what Donvale did well in that first term against that breeze. And look, I expect a big effort from Whitehorse in this second term.
Great stuff. Down on the boundary line, the windswept Ben Warren-Smith and Matty Fodia doing some fantastic work. So Donvale currently lead it by 4 goals, just about to start the second term. Wade Brasher, can the Pioneers come back?
Well, they can come back, but they're going to have to pull all the stops out and do exactly what Derek Shaw told them to do, the way BWS told us.
So it's Donvale with the wind in this quarter. It'll be very interesting to see what effect that has as the ball is knocked away. And it's coming down towards the Card, who was in there looking for it. So that was Liebelt. Bobbling around. Now it falls. Here's an opportunity now as they burst forward with Rosa, should I say, as he gets the ball back towards goal. That's a great mark. Fantastic mark taken right on the goal line there. And Purcell, he's got an absolute gift coming his way. Just too strong a body, Purcell, as he went for that one. He did have a man on him, but he just too strong.
I love the strut after he took the mark as he went back to his kicking position.
Absolutely. Well, I think he won't. In fact, I think he's already put it through. Yes, he has.
And it's exactly what Whitehorse didn't want, because now all of a sudden, Donvale showed some very clear intent from that opening bounce there. The link of handballs led by Rouser really opened up the Pioneers' back line. They got caught on the back foot, and when you put Purcell one out against a lightly weighted opponent, he's going to win most of those contests hands down.
He's a big boy, Jack Purcell, that's for sure, and a prolific goal kicker too as we get back in the middle. Haig goes against Duclos. Duclos got the tap knocked down. The Whitehorse Pioneers really need a quick reply here as they get the ball forward. See if they play better into the wind than they did with it. Now it's hooked away down that wing on the far side of the ground. Bouncing around there over there is Clydesdale. Gets it back in, but it's all a bit messy. Handball over the top. Still in possession though. Clydesdale goes. In fact, that was it was McDougall who went in there. Now he's Rosa. He's been so good in the last few weeks for this Donvale side. The ball on the ground. It's been picked up though by Donvale, and that might be a free kick, I think.
Yeah, throw.
Definitely a throw. And so Whitehorse Pioneers will have an opportunity. Taken by Connell. Connell gets it forward. Once again, it's still bobbling around as it
tackle.
Has terrific tackle coming in there. And it's the way your Pioneers who pick it up off the ground. Now they try and burst out of defence. The handball off the ground was quite a good one too, and they've got a chance here with Ryan. Christopher Ryan, he's been very good in the early stages. Gets it forward, and the mark is taken deep in that pocket. Now they need to look to get the ball forward. And they do. But the punch goes in there from Sutherland, Chris Sutherland. And it's on the ground again, as it has been for so much of the game, and it'll be wrapped up there. Sutherland in there fighting hard, and it does well for his side to force the ball up.
Every time Whitehorse take possession of the ball, there's 3 or 4 Donvale blokes gang tackling him and making him earn every single possession.
Zach Hay gets another hit out for the day. It's bobbling around. Now it's taken there by, in fact, it's Liardi going in there looking for it. But once again, it's very tight. And we'll have another ball up as we go boundary side with Matt Falla.
And it was interesting to note that Donvale said they don't want to get many shots to goal 30-40 out. They feel that's where the wind becomes a bit of a nuisance, so they're going to try and get it deep. So clever from Pioneers.
Well done.
So one by Donvale on the ground. It was bobbled around. Now it's taken away there by Connor. Gets the handball away. Liardi has been knocked. He's been absolutely flattened. Matt Liardi doesn't look at all well. And maybe let's see if we can watch the replay and see what happened here. He got the handball and just watch what. Oh, it's absolutely.
Coat hanger.
Absolute coat hanger. Just looked away there for a
moment.
moment.
Is that a yellow card?
Got to be a yellow card. Jack Clydesdale just probably.
Was that a red?
Maybe it was a reflex action.
Yeah, I don't think there was any malice. I think it was more reactionary.
Reflex. Yeah, definitely.
Still an accidental head smash.
But it's still something we don't like to see, and it'll be.
Because I didn't think he was going to get up the way he went down.
Yes, he looked like he was done for the game.
Yeah.
He went down like a sack of potatoes. We'll go boundary side in a moment. But here's Matt Liardi firing towards goal. It's going to be coming up a little shot, but an easy mark, an uncontested mark taken there. And while the Whitehorse Pioneers defence just standing around, not really doing anything as the ball came in there, that was very poor play from them. And that just really is Foley who takes the mark, and he'll be absolutely, couldn't believe his luck. I think he thought it was Christmas time. And
Christmas in July.
Yes, we'll go very quickly, just go boundary side.
Yeah, guys, Clydesdale came off there. Now, I'm not sure if you guys saw a yellow card at all. I assumed it would have been. He came straight off, but I'm not sure if the umpire showed him a card.
So Foley gets it towards goal. Looks okay. The umpire moving a bit right.
Well, it looks like a goal to me.
It's a goal. Yep, it's definitely a goal. So Foley puts it through. That's his second of the day. And Donvale extend their lead. It'd be hard to believe that wouldn't be a yellow card. Maybe we can get the guys to check that out for us.
Signs are ominous here for Whitehorse. They're getting opened up, and their half-back line is getting completely opened up here. And as I said earlier, every time Donvale take possession of the ball, they're swarming.
What's their boundary side?
Yeah, guys, confirm yellow card. It just wasn't very pronounced by the umpire there. He just gave a little cheeky one, I think.
Matt Falla doing some great work boundary side as we head back to the middle, and the red alert is on here for the Whitehorse Pioneers as Farley tries to bring it out of the middle, but again a swarm of Donvale players with McCormick sending a probing ball to the goal square, almost a mark right on the goal line. It went through the hands of Purcell, hit the post, and a minor score. So Donvale 6-2-38, leading Whitehorse 1 behind.
Lana, you can see the difference already with Donvale in this second quarter. They're kicking the ball into their forward line with much more purpose than what Whitehorse did in the first quarter.
They're also just transitioning that play a lot faster too. The link-up handball and the run through the middle. They're not, I suppose, being as indecisive as what Whitehorse were in that first quarter.
So the Pioneers move it towards left half back. The Vales have numbers at the back. Rube Bush tried to force it over the boundary line, and they are successful. So it'll be a ball in on centre wing, or between half forward and centre wing for the Donvale side, western side of the ground. Very blustery day here in Melbourne. Donvale taking advantage, leading by 37 points early in the second as the tap out is won by Haig, who's been very good, but the Pioneers through McDougall can move it forward, and the mark is taken out in front. Great in these conditions. Noah Khan, a big tall man with the Dukes, takes the mark. 70 out from goal, chips it towards half forward. Good mark out in front once again, taken by Newton. Certainly stretched out long as his hair kicked into the pocket. And it was off target. I think the wind had a factor there in pushing it out of bounds. It'll be a free kick for an out of bounds on the full in favour of Donvale. The recipient is Bush. He's been prominent early in the second term. Kicks it along the line towards the western wing, and Ryan forces it over for the Pioneers. We'll have a ball in. Let's head to Barry Cotts at the score centre.
Yes, in Division 1, ball in 7-7-49 to Roval 139 at quarter time. And this one, North Ringwood 6-2-38 at quarter time, leading Doncaster 1-2-8.
Wow.
Dan.
It's a big result. Of course, Doncaster with aspirations of making the finals. North Ringwood, their season virtually over.
Must be the breeze.
Yes.
At Crombie.
Might be the something to do with the burgers or just the atmosphere there, but they're doing well, the home side, as are the home side here in this game. Donvale leading it by 37 points, ball on centre wing, and again the Vales move it forward in towards the corridor. Leibelt dispossessed, had a bit of a fumble, still paddling it to his own advantage, but the Pioneers can move it forward again. They're targeting towards that western side of the ground. Tippett couldn't quite take the mark. It was a fickle bounce. At the back is Wignall for the Donvale side, chips it short, and they steady the play down. Mark mark taken by Rakulja. So Rakulja kick towards right half forward. Again, the ball drifting out of the arms of Grocott, and I think it'll be a throw in deep in the forward pocket for the Donvale side. No, in fact, it was out in the full. Gee, that wind really is wreaking havoc for the Donvale Football Club. In fact, for both sides out there, and it's the Pioneers that move it forward across the last line of defence. They're in a bit of trouble here through Hunter. Got the hand pass away to his teammate in Travaskis. Back it comes to Hunter. Chips it across the face of goal. And the Pioneers will orchestrate an attack forward. Kick towards centre half back. Didn't really favour Duclos on the bounce. Hand pass comes from Ryan. Looks for his teammate in Connell. In the back pocket. Looks towards left half back. Bounces into the arms of Patako. Got the hand pass away. Webb tried to evade a couple of would-be tacklers. Again, the ball pinballing around. Newton got the hand pass forward. They're like a rugby league team. Just persistence here for the Pioneers, and they work it towards the right half forward position. And it bounces out of bounds in front of Bush. We'll have a throw in 70 out from the Pioneers goal.
Gee, they expounded a lot of energy there, the Pioneers, for really little reward.
It's good persistence, though.
Good endeavour from the Pioneers, but as you say, not a lot of reward from it as they get the ball through. Duclos knocks it down as they try and get in there and win the ball on the ground, but once again it's something of a stalemate.
One thing it does highlight when the wind is blowing like that, the switch becomes a lot more important because the ball will hold up and not carry the distances that you like in normal play.
So back into the contest, but it's still pretty tight going over there, trying to fight his way through there was Withers. Now the ball sent down the line. Can someone get on the end of it? Flying there and almost taking the mark, but not quite as the ball comes back, and it's Whitehorse Pioneers, but it's snaffled again off the ground by Donvale, and a good tackle coming in there from Duclos, and we'll have a ball up. And it was Rawser, who's been, he's such a good player around the clinches. Rawser gets into the tight stuff and did it again there. So up it goes. Once again, over the top comes Duclos, gets the knockdown, but it's going to come straight back off the boot of Coughlin. Sam Coughlin, now he's an opportunity for the Donvale side as they go long. Can they find a target? Looking for it was Purcell, but it went straight over the top of him. But going back there, and he needs to do something pretty smartly, is Blytheman. And Blytheman saves the day for the meantime with the Whitehorse Pioneers as we go boundary side.
Barry Cotts at the score centre.
Yeah, quick score, Division 3. Scores be 6-1-37 to the baseline. 1 goal straight, 6 at quarter time.
Game over.
No great surprises there as the ball is out of bounds on that far side, and we'll have a throw-in. Looking pretty decisive in this one too. It's 6-2-38 to 1 behind at the moment on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as the ball is thrown in, and the Whitehorse Pioneers have it for a moment. But it's all a bit untidy, and we'll have another throw-in on that far side.
The only one thing that I can say about Donvale where they at the moment is the fact that they need to have a couple of crummers when Purcell and Murphy are not taking the ball. There was a perfect opportunity there.
So ball throw it in. Patrick Dillon, he's gone into the ruck for the moment. He had it for a moment, but it's come out for the Whitehorse Pioneers side. Almost tackled out the ball there, I would have thought, but the ball is knocked forward, and now here's Donvale with an opportunity. It's Jones who gets it forward, but it's been cut off nicely there by Webb. Webb gets it forward. Now the Whitehorse Pioneers side really need to find something here. Absolutely vital. Farley looks around. It's just too slow from the Pioneers. They need to do something quickly. They need to move the ball, giving the Donvale offence just far too much time to set up. Now they go long. Can they get on? Someone get on the end of it. Almost a mark taken there, and back saving the day was Leibelt.
Just numbers.
Gets a hand pass. They have got a lot of numbers back there and look much more composed. And once again, almost a good tackle there, but the ball comes out. An opportunity for Donvale to switch it. Looking for it in there was the big ruckman. That was Dillon. But it's on the ground.
Great hand pass.
Bursting through the middle. That was fantastic. And now an opportunity as the ball is a great cut off there by Hunter. Saved the day for the Whitehorse Pioneers. It looked like it was going to be possible. He's still got it, Hunter. Comes out of the clinches, gets a hat kick away, but it's probably going to come back to be, truth be told. Wheeling around is Grocott, and Grocott fires towards goal, but it's been taken there. Back inside 50 and a mark for the moment, which will diffuse the situation, and the Whitehorse Pioneers once again will bring the ball forward. Short kick into the back pocket. Looking for that next option. This is the one that gets them in trouble as they just far too slow moving the ball. The transition needs to be quicker. And it's going to be that long kick down the ground. Wobbly old kick it is too. Looking for Nolan, who can't get on the end of it, and the Donvale side will bring it straight back. Bursting through the middle end, Kona. He's been good on the match too. He gets a kick forward, but for the moment it's diffused. Diving on it there is Sutherland. Matty Sutherland, but the ball comes into the tough stuff again. And once again, we'll have a ball up.
The absolute highlight for me so far has been watching Donvale's clean handball passages. Whatever they have done through that pre-season is definitely paying off right here, because their confidence to give the ball by hand and run is really outstanding so far.
Ball up 40 metres out for the Donvale goal. Dillon won the tap, forced to ground level. Trying to swing around with a kick there was Jones. No one can get a clear possession as the ball is in dispute, and we'll have another stoppage. 40 out from Donvale's goal as the wind is howling. And I think a free kick's been picked out here from the Packets going the way of the Pioneers. And they'll clear the defensive zone. Kick out wide. Mark taken at right half back by Ryan. Chris Ryan's been relatively prominent early here for Whitehorse. Trying to find a couple of options. No one presenting, so he switches across the defensive goal face. Mark taken by Webb. Switches the hand pass over the top, and they can move it forward on the western wing once again through Connell. Connell looks inboard. Chance now for Fawn. Is he going to receive the free kick for chopping of the arms? He does. The advantage is paid. Connell looks towards centre wing. Mark taken by Farley, who's been excellent in this second term. Khan is well claimed there. A great tackle by Haywood, and the free kick going Donvale's way. Now they can push forward on the counter-attack, and Kona looks towards centre half forward. Flying high for the Pioneers was Duclos. Couldn't take the mark. They have numbers at the back though, Whitehorse. Chris Ryan. And they'll again work it across the defensive goal face. It's been a common thread in their game, and Hockey takes the mark in the right back pocket.
So Hockey to bring it out, decides to go short. That's a shocking kick, and he's kicked it straight down the throat of Matty Sutherland, who decided that it was Christmas time and he's just going to go back and probably slot this through. That's just shocking play.
He actually should have gone more towards the boundary. He's looked inside thinking the option was going to be better. He should have actually gone more to the boundary side and on at the lead going to that player.
It was a beautiful lead too. It baffles me why he didn't go there.
No.
A strange one. As Matty Sutherland, he should kick this, you would think. He's a big boy too as he comes in and sends it on its way. Let's look. The effect, he's off target.
Yeah, he is.
Disappointing miss there from Matty Sutherland, and it's 3-4 a minor score, but still a sizable victory. 6-goal lead at the moment for Donvale on this one.
Admittedly, though, for Whitehorse, at least Donvale haven't really been going gung-ho on and kicking lots of goals. There's still a fleeting chance, but they're going to have to find a goal or two here.
Been a messy old game as the Whitehorse Pioneers look to work it down that far side, and they do have an opportunity if they can get hands on the ball, but once again it's out of bounds. No. In fact, a free kick, I think, might be going to be paid.
Yep.
Free kick it is, and it's going to go the way of Farley. Farley with a short kick inside. Can he hit a target? Yes, he can. Finds Gleed. Gleed, who's had a very good season so far, hasn't been quite so prominent today as the ball is hooked inside. Tippett's there, but it's taken nicely by Ward. Ward wheels around, looks for the next kick, decides to go in towards centre field, but it's plenty of Donvale players in there. In fact, that's not a great kick at all, and Donvale say thank you very much, and they send it forward again, but that's not a great kick either. Chasing it is Rorsa. Rorsa handballs it to himself. Now he steadies, looks for the little short kick inside, and that's just too easy. And a mark taken comfortably there by Foley. Now they work it out.
Actually, they were a bit unfortunate there, Whitehorse, because actually the bloke did the right, the player did the right thing and kicked the ball to position for the Whitehorse play, but the wind actually dragged the ball away from him, allowing Sutherland to run onto it, and then hence now they're setting up for another shot at goal.
Uncontested mark taken by Nicholas Murphy. We'll go boundary side in a moment as Murphy, who's been a prolific goal kicker this year, can he put this one through? Your guess is as good as mine with this wind on the left boot.
Good
Looks
kick.
okay.
Yes.
And let's look at the goal umpire. Yep, it's through. So Nicholas Murphy puts it through.
That's his third.
That's his third of the day, and that lead just growing even bigger now. It's out to 7 goals as we go boundary side.
Yeah, just going to refute Brash's point there. Mitch Ward, he kicked it to centre forward, but going into the wind, and all day we've been saying you need to kick low into the wind, he's just roosted it nice and high. So if the wind's taken it, he can't just say he was unlucky there. It's probably just not smart footy.
Barry Cott's at the score centre.
Point taken.
Yeah, Division 1, Vermont 5-2-32 to Montrose 2-2-14, and Norwood 3 goals straight 18 to Noble Park 1-2-8. Brett.
Gee.
Oh dear.
Don't worry, Brett. It's early days yet,
Plenty of time to go.
Well, the Pioneers moving inside 50 now. McDougall is claimed by a couple of Vales. Great gang tackle there. Bush was amongst the attackers, and we'll have a ball up 45 out from the Whitehorse goal.
Actually, Chris McDougall and Noah Khan can, I think they've tried valiantly at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly have figured prominently. Dillon wins the tap for Donvale, forces it to left half back, and a Whitehorse free kick's been picked out. I think it was a throw. And the recipient is Batako.
It was a crow throw.
A crow throw. What's a crow throw?
What is a crow throw, Brash?
Oh, just one of them little dinky ones.
I thought that was a South Australian term for a second as Khan takes the mark. An uncontested one. He was caught, well, he caught the Donvale defenders napping, and he can go back and have a shot from almost directly in front, about 40 metres out.
And to say they need a goal here would be an understatement.
Understatement of the millennium. So Noah Khan shooting at least for Whitehorse, first goal of the afternoon. They trail by 44 points at present, halfway through the second term. They desperately need one. Can he reinvigorate the side? Noah Khan shoots, but he's hooked it to the left, minus score. So Whitehorse double their score, 2 behind, trailing Donvale 7-3-45. Let's head boundary side.
And although Noah Khan couldn't put that first goal on the board for Whitehorse Brash, when you're in New York, make sure you book a table at Buddha Khan, one of the best restaurants in the world, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Free plug going internationally here on EFL Game Day.
As Donvale bring the ball back in, that's a great kick. It's a fantastic kick taken. I think it's Rorsa, is it? Who's taking the mark? No, it's not. It's turnaround.
I'll just add that to my spreadsheet, BWS.
Foley it was, as the ball is knocked in field, but it's going to fall for the Pioneers, but it's really contested stuff in there. And once again, it's bobbling around, but the Pioneers, they do well to get it out of there, actually, but it's going to come straight back off the boot of Foley. He's been very good, Foley. Gets a kick forward. Purcell's there, but he couldn't get hands. Trakuja. We're going to have to get his pronunciation of his name. I think we've all had a crack at it, probably not terribly successfully, as the Whitehorse Pioneers send it in crossfield.
Oh, BWS will be able to help us out with that one, because his brother plays for Doncaster East. Trakulja, I think it is.
Trakulja.
I thought the J might have been silent. I thought it might have been Tracula, but...
Tracula, that'll do.
That's what I was...
yeah, the H is silent.
Yeah.
There's no H in his name.
The J is
Come
silent.
on, Brash, you're just pulling letters from nowhere.
Oh, he's already on holiday.
Yeah, the J is silent. I mean, it sounds like a H.
You'll fit in with the Americans.
Trakulja is the correct pronunciation, guys.
Trakulja, thank you, BWS.
See, I wasn't far wrong.
Socrates Brash.
Fits in with the Americans.
It's infinite.
I think it'll be a boundary throw in about 50 metres around from the Donvale goal.
Taking an awful long time to get this one in.
Oh, have a look at the wind. It's just pulling the play up, that's for sure. Dillon won the tap. Forced to ground level, but the Pioneers have the numbers. Just lifted in the last couple of minutes, Whitehorse. Khan flew high, but he was against 2 Vales. And again, they have the numbers at ground level, the Donvale Football Club. Centering ball, looks towards Liardi. Received the hand pass. Spearing ball was low and prodigious towards centre-half forward. Chance bursting through. Coughlin weaves away through a couple of would-be tacklers. Still a chance. He's got the ball on the string. Hand pass over the top to Foley, who certainly has figured prominently in this second term. Looks backwards to go forwards. Mark taken by Angeli, and he can go back, turn around, 55 out. With the wind there, it could be within his range.
And that was just well thought through and really patient by Donvale to get that shot on goal. They could have probably blazed away, snapped towards the top of the square, but no, they hairballed, they kicked, they found a target, and now they've got a really good opportunity to kick another goal with Angeli.
Gee, it looked like Coughlin was going to set himself up for goal of the day or play of the day there for a minute.
Well, it was messy play, and it's a messy looking helicopter towards goal, and it's touched through, so a minus score there to Angeli. Donvale move on to 7-6-46, 7-4-46 rather. They lead Whitehorse 2 behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So Thomas Connor with the ball, he'll bring it back in takes it to himself, decides to go down that far side where we've had so many of the balls go out of bounds. Long kick forward, can he hit a target? Beautiful mark taken across there. That was fantastic play by Josh Bush, but it's fallen for the Whitehorse side as they get the ball forward, and it's contested play in the middle of the ground. Hacked off the ground there by Withers, but it's fallen for the Pioneers. I'd love a goal here late in this second quarter as the ball is sent across to the far side of the ground, and they may well get it too as they go inside 50, but that's not a great kick. In fact, it's a shot at goal, and it's off target. Another wasted opportunity for the Pioneers. They haven't had a lot, but those that they have had, they've wasted them.
And their coach must be so frustrated. They've got their forwards playing behind, asking for a long ball over the top, when the ball's going to drop short because they're playing against the wind. What are they doing?
Let's head to Barry Cotts at the score centre.
Yes, quickly to Division 2. Lilydale 2-5-17 leading Knox 1-5-11. And Mulgrave trailing Upper Ferntree Gully. Upper Ferntree Gully 4-1-25 to Mulgrave 1-1-7.
Back in the ground, it's Kyle Wigner with the ball. Sends it forward. Can he hit a target? Long ball forward. There's plenty of Whitehorse players over there. Going up was Purcell, I think, but he couldn't get hands to it. Comes out though, and it's going to come back Foley. And in fact, it falls for Foley on the left foot. He's been terrific in this quarter. Gets a ball forward, but good play at the back there. For the moment, knocked away by Travaskis. Now Whitehorse trying to work it up, but it's going to come back, and it's wheeling around that. And that's Murphy. I think he got the shot towards goal. In fact, it's off target.
Carried though.
Look at Purcell standing in the goal square as if to say, "Why didn't you give it to me?" He looked a little bit aggrieved, but I think Murphy was probably entitled to have a shot in that situation.
And I don't mean to correct you earlier, but that was Cotsford up here at the half-back line. Purcell has been firmly planted in that goal square for most of the quarter, so I don't think he's going to venture that far up.
Absolutely well spotted, Alana. As the Whitehorse Pioneers work it back in, and it's knocked away towards the boundary. Padbury's got it in his hands for one of the few times today. He's been almost one of the quietest players on the field. Probably, as I say, not a day for him today. But I
think Derek Shaw might have to move him up to centre half forward in this third quarter to try and get him into the game and try and see if they can hit him early to get some goals.
Yeah, really is being wasted, his talent so far today, as the ball is knocked out by Thomas Connell, and it's out of bounds. Running time in this quarter, we've had 23 minutes, so we probably can't have a lot of time to go. Margin currently 44 points. So fair to say the Whitehorse Pioneers have a little bit to do, probably one of life's great understatements, as the umpire throws it in. And coming up there and getting the tap was Haig, knocking it forward. Got hard a contest in there. That was Angeli. Good play by him as the ball is knocked forward.
Foley.
And in fact it was Foley, and it's going to go through for a minor score once again.
So they always threaten Alana. Look like they're going to kick a goal with nearly every forward 50 entry.
Yeah, there just isn't enough pressure, and I don't know if it's the actual back line itself, or whether the midfield aren't just pushing down hard enough and putting enough pressure on the Donvale players.
That's our boundary side.
Just going to answer Alana's question. The midfielders are not doing enough.
I was trying to be polite, but yes, thank you.
Out in the full.
The diplomatic Matty Fodia down there on the boundary line. The clearing kick for Whitehorse went out on the full, so Donvale again with a scoring shot, potentially on the cusp of half-time.
You mean subtle as a velvet sledgehammer.
Angeli to the top of the square. Flying high there was Liebelt. Couldn't take the mark. Forced to ground level. They have a plethora of numbers here at Donvale. Bush was there, but Whitehorse now can clear through McDougall. McDougall takes a bounce at left half back. He's got a couple of runners on the outside. A bit of a fumble there from Farley. He was claimed by a couple of Vales. And
well, he just ran into a brick wall.
Oh, yes. Did he ever? And it'll be a stoppage western side of Donvale Reserve as the wind picks up a couple of notches.
Yeah, it's about 120 now, I reckon, and it's howling.
Our caravan might topple over if we're unlucky, as we see another stoppage on the western side.
It'll be like the Wizard of Oz. Well, I'll keep blowing home.
We're not in Kansas anymore, that's for sure. Ball up again, outer side of the ground. Forced to ground level. Eventually the Pioneers will work it through. McDougall has been a flying star. In fact, breaking away was Patako, but he was dispossessed. Kicked towards centre half forward for Donvale, but standing tall in front and resolute for the Pioneers was Hockey. Got the hand pass away. Picking the ball up off ground level was Connell. Hand pass was tidy enough, and they can work it through left half back. Taken away by Blythman and Webb. They combine. Forced to ground level. Still a chance trying to break through was Travaskis. Probably held on to it too long, and he was taken down holding the ball. Donvale effect the turnover. There are a chance here, 60 out from goal. Hayward sends a probing kick towards centre half forward. Good mark taken there by Wignall out in front in these conditions. A high floating ball, a rainmaker across the ground at left half forward, and a good mark. That was fantastic judgment in the wind to take it, and it is taken by Drakulja. Well, they played on here. Chance now for Donvale. In fact, that's the replay screen, so it'll be a Donvale free kick.
I was just wondering where you were going there, Damo.
For those of you listening, there's a replay screen here at the caravan, and there's a time bar which blocks the replay sign on the screen. So
that's your excuse, and you're sticking by it, aren't you, Damien?
I'm sticking by it. Drakulja. Kick from 45 metres out, 45-degree angle, works it from left to right, but not far enough. Only a minor score. So Donvale 7-7-49 leading Whitehorse 3 behind. Let's cross boundary side.
There's no doubt the Whitehorse are trying to take some risks and to move the ball forward a little bit quicker, a little bit lower. But I tell you what, the pressure from Donvale, Brash, has just been absolutely super from the half-backs to the wingers. They're not letting the ball get anywhere near it.
No, you're right, BWS.
So half-time, the siren is blown, and to the delight of Donvale fans, they look at the scoreboard with great pleasure. They currently lead in this top-of-the-table Division 4 clash very clearly, 7-7-49 over the Whitehorse Pioneers, 3 behind. It's half-time. We'll head back to the score centre after this break with all the important around-the-ground scores on the half-time show. This is EFL Game Day.
Up the doggies.
Go the Bloods.
Great goal, Devils. Carnivalers.
Tobin Brothers Funeral, serving all supporters in the Eastern Football League since 1934. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
Never miss out on the latest information on the Eastern Football League through the league's social media channels. Live updates, information and scores through the league's Twitter account. For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss EFL Sunday. From 10 till 12 every Sunday morning, the EFL media team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders, following a big round of EFL footy. The gang talk to the biggest names from across the league each and every week. EFL Sunday, from 10 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
Up the Mitcham Tigers. Can the Burners.
Let's go, Panthers.
What a mark. Let's go, doggies.
Tobin Brothers Funeral, serving all supporters in the Eastern Football League since 1934. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Radio Eastern 98.1, Berwick Heights in the EFL Games Day Centre and the Score Centre, and currently it's half-time here at Donvale, and the score is... score there, I think they've just taken the score off the scoreboard. There we got
7-7-49 Donvale.
Yep.
Yeah.
2-3 behinds, 3 point Whitehorse Pioneers. So there you go. Let's check some other scores of games being played around the grounds. Division 1, Noble Park and Norwood. Norwood 3 goals straight to Noble Park 1-2-8. Vermont 5-2-32 to Montrose 2-2-14. Balwyn 7-8-50 to Roval 1-10-16. Bayswater 2-4-16 to East Ringwood 1-3-9. And also the game between Blackburn and South Croydon. The score was Blackburn trailing South Croydon 3-5-23 to Blackburn 1-1-7 in that game. And turning our attention to Division 2 scores, and some interesting games today considering the wind and that sort of thing, so it's going to make a huge difference on scores today. We'll get to those in just a moment. Let's check some AFL. Let's do that, see if we can do that this afternoon. And the game down in Hobart at Blundstone Arena is between North Melbourne and Melbourne. It's half-time, and it's Melbourne 8-5-53 to North Melbourne 6-4-40. So a 13-point lead to the Demons at half-time. Now, another interesting game is up in Sydney today at Spotless Stadium, and that's between GWS and Fremantle. It's an important game for GWS. It's the 18-minute mark of the second quarter, and it's GWS 6-7-43 leading Fremantle 5-5-35. Damien, I'm just going through the scores here. I'll get back to you shortly. I've just got to do some updates here on the computer, and I'll come back with some scores in just a moment.
Fantastic. Barry Cotts with the EFL Score Centre. A lot of interesting results coming through across all 4 divisions of the Eastern Football League. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast of this game, the Division 4 top-of-the-table encounter between Donvale and Whitehorse. However, it's fair to say it's been a one-sided game so far. Donvale 7-7-49 leading Whitehorse 3 behind here at Donvale Reserve. A windswept Donvale Reserve, and that's no doubt affecting the quality of the play in this game. Wayne Brasher and Alana Coleman join me in the caravan to dissect the first half. And guys, you've had a good view of it. It's been an interesting contest, but one that Donvale supporters would savour and Whitehorse supporters would look back in disgust, it must be said.
I don't know if they'd look back at it disgust, but I think it comes...
Well, it's one-sided.
Yeah, look, I agree. I'm just wondering, it might come down to that that thing that Derek spoke about, Alana, at the moment, confidence would be down at the moment for the Pioneers. They've just not been able to find any successful avenues to goal. They're bar from Noah Khan and probably Chris McDougall, the rest of the side is really struggling. The difference being Donvale have probably, when they get the ball, they're moving the ball with much better hand and foot skills. When they don't have possession of the ball, when there's always four of them gang tackling a Whitehorse player, so Whitehorse just can't find any free space, Alana.
Yeah, look, 100%. There's not really too much else to add with that, but it will be interesting to see in this second half the resolve of the Whitehorse Pioneers. And I know Derek spoke about confidence, but you also have to have some kind of resolve and some kind of grit. When the chips are down, when it's not your day, how do you fight your way back into that game? And we saw it a few weeks ago with Baronia and Ferntree Gully. It wasn't Baronia's day that particular day for most of it, but they had really good resolve, really good resilience, and they just slowly, inch by inch, metre by metre, worked their way back into that game and ended up running over the top. And I'm not going to say that that's going to happen in today's game because I honestly don't see that happening, but you certainly don't want to see a team just roll over and, just roll over and I suppose and die within that game. So they need to have a good second half. They need to come out strong. They need to try something different. They've stuck with their I suppose, their side for the first half. They need to change things up because what they're doing at the moment isn't going to work. It's probably not going to get them over the line and it's possibly not going to get them any closer. So roll the dice, give something else a go and see how it goes because come finals time, they're going to possibly need to change things up and you want to have already practiced it a couple of times beforehand.
I actually wonder, Alana, do you think it might, I said this early in the quarter, but I reckon it might be worth throwing Padbury up at centre half forward and maybe just try and channel the ball through him and allow him to use his long kicking with the breeze because I just feel that if they go one, Donvale will not allow him to stand in the goal square or lead from the goal square one-on-one. So Whitehorse have got to think of something a little different to try and get him into the contest, I reckon. Otherwise, their main avenue to goal is not going to get a touch.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? But what about with Donvale, the fact that they have that two-pronged forward line? They're probably starring a little bit too much for their liking at the moment. I mean, you have the likes of Nick Murphy, who's booted 3 goals thus far. Jack Purcell, although he's only got the 1 goal, he's always been a formidable presence up forward for the Donvale side. Do you think Whitehorse, the defence, is just leaking too easily?
I just don't know, Alana, at this particular stage whether Whitehorse have got the actual personnel that can hold Murphy and Purcell for any length of time on today's performance. They seem a little bit light on.
I 100% agree with you. And then you throw in players like Grocott, who had a very good first quarter.
Sutherland.
And then into the second quarter, I felt like Foley really come into his own and started to get really lively. So they've got not just the two in that forward line, but they've got another, 2 or 3. Their whole forward line is functioning really well and are proving to be quite dangerous. So.
And Ancona's running the ball through the midfield with his run and carry as well.
He's a very good midfielder, a very good user of the ball. You saw that handball and just that second effort as well. And there was another instance where Sutherland had the ball across half-back. He ran all the way down to the half-forward line and was involved with another one of the shots on goal. I can't remember if that particular one went through or not, but it's just their run, their persistence, and I suppose their hunger at the contest. And that is being far outweighed by Donvale to Whitehorse today. And I really hope that Whitehorse can pick it up, and I really hope over this game and the next few weeks they can, because otherwise they're going to have a very, very sore and sorry finals campaign.
I just think too, Damien, these are the conditions that, where sometimes all the best game plans just are out the window because, it's probably the wind. Trying to play a game plan in a wind, it actually relies more on the players themselves. This is where the hand and foot skills of the player concerned. This is when it really comes to the fore because you got to be a little bit more smarter when you're playing football in these sort of conditions. You can't afford to just bomb the ball in the air because it's just going to go straight up. Or if you're kicking against the breeze, you've got to keep the ball, long and kick it long and low. But you've also, this is where the fitness comes in too, because all this hard running that you do during the summer months, this is when it really comes to play, especially on days like today. This is where you really need your runners, because they have to run hard, because the other conditions combat that.
Indeed. It's going to be interesting to see if Whitehorse can gauge some sort of response here, Alana.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it might even be worth trialling like an old school kind of Pagans paddock type setup for Whitehorse, where they do push everyone up really high, and if they're playing with the winds, they just put it in long, because then it doesn't matter if it's not pinpoint precision. It doesn't give Donvale the opportunity to intercept mark or to do 2-on-1, and the ball will be on the ground level, and they can potentially use their speed, because they are quite small. They're quite light of frame, but they do seem to be quite fast. So maybe they can try and isolate that a little bit, and maybe put Padbury to run onto the ball rather than have the ball coming at him. It might be something worth trying to structure it up a little bit differently, particularly with the breeze. So I don't know. It's worth a try, maybe. Who knows? I'm not coaching them, so it's just a suggestion.
Well, Donvale currently leading by 46 points at half-time. Time now to head to the 9 newsroom, where we find out what's making news across the globe, and a lot of sporting action as well. And it's a very good afternoon to Clint Stanaway, the sports anchor. G'day, Clint.
Yeah, g'day, Damo. Obviously pretty windy, pretty blustery where you are, but there's winds wreaking havoc right across the state of Victoria. Flights have been diverted, trees are down, and homes left without power as these damaging winds slam Melbourne. The SES already received more than 300 calls for help. Also in the news at 6, 2 men injured in a drive-by shooting targeting a group of bikies riding along the Bolte Bridge. Donald Trump's chief of staff, how about this, forced out of the White House, and Melbourne Landmarks open their doors for the annual open house weekend in the footy. An interesting clash going on down in Hobart. Melbourne leading the way by 13 points at the start of the third quarter, but winds also playing havoc down there at Blundstone Arena. We'll have all the latest in 9 News at 6.
Thanks very much, Clint. All the best and have a good show tonight.
Thank you.
Clint Stanaway, the 9 News sports anchor, joining us with all the latest news and developments. Well, we're not far away from the start of the second half. Let's quickly head to the score centre, Barry Cotts.
Yes, let's have a look at some Division 3 scores. Templestowe and Ringwood at half-time. It's Ringwood 4-5-29, leading Templestowe 2-5-17. Scoresby in the Basin. Scoresby 8-4-52 to the Basin 2-4-16. To Division 4, Glen Waverley Hawks and Coldstream. Coldstream 10-4-64 is leading Glen Waverley Hawks 6-3-39. Kilsyth and Forest Hill. It's Forest Hill 4-7-31 to Kilsyth 2-7-19. Surrey Park 4-6-30 to Sylvan 2-1-13. And Donvale 7-7-49 to Whitehorse Pioneers. In our game here at Donvale Reserve, 3 behinds, 3 points.
Thank you, Barry Cotts at the EFL Score Centre. We'll take a break. The second half of the Division 4 top-of-the-table clash between Donvale and Whitehorse right after this.
Probably amongst my friends, I'm known for my sense of humour.
So people know me for my laid-back attitude.
I work too much and I play too much sport, and I'm a fantastic mum.
My striking good looks.
I can sing.
Do a lot of running and swimming and surfing.
My karaoke.
Getting overly passionate about sport.
I try to be there for everyone. I think that's what I would be known for in my group.
Be remembered for the great moments in your life. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
A new time and a new team, driving you home in 2016. Join a brand new lineup for The Huddle as the gang take a light-hearted look at the Eastern Football League every Friday night. More importantly, the team will reveal the ins and outs for this week's round of matches. The Huddle, 4:30 to 6:30 every Friday evening as you love it local. Nothing better than a companion to keep you up to date with all the latest when you're at the footy. Better still, one that fits in your back pocket. The Eastern Footballer is a must-read. All the latest information, team lists, feature articles and much, much more. Pick up your copy this weekend as you love it local across the Eastern Football League.
Oh, I've got a couple of best friends. Just great people with big hearts.
I met him in kindergarten.
We both keep each other grounded.
He's in the Defence Force.
4 best friends, actually. They're like my sisters.
She's really caring and funny.
He runs a mark every weekend, so I haven't seen him that much because I'm married.
We've always just clicked.
My best friend lives in the country.
She's the best.
When celebrating a loved one's life, don't leave it to just anyone to organise. Find out more at turbanbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to EFL Game Day. It's Division 4. It's top of the table, first versus second, but it's not reflected on the scoreboard, that's for sure. Donvale 7-7-49, leading Whitehorse 3 behinds, 46 points the margin. The teams are back out on the park in the second half. And, well, Whitehorse certainly do have the job in front of them. Brett Beston, Alana Coleman and Wayne Brasher join me in the caravan. Guys, it's going to be a big task here for Whitehorse if they're going to get some respectability onto this board.
I'll be fascinated to see what Derek Shaw said to them at half-time. I mean, it's hard to know what to say. Can they get back into this game? 46 points. It's a long way back.
I wonder if there was any paint left on the walls.
Not many, that's for sure. Let's have a look at some of the major goal kickers so far. Nick Murphy has 3 to his name, and that takes him to 66 for the season with a big tally. Michael Foley's been very good all afternoon. He's beaten 2 goals. Jack Purcell with the 1 major to his name. So Donvale looking very, very dominant at this windswept Donvale reserve. I think the wind has probably settled a little bit in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it seems to have slowed down a bit to about 30 kilometres an hour, Damo.
Where do you think it got up to earlier? Probably 100?
About 120, I reckon.
Let's just quickly, before we get play underway, just pop across to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, very quickly. Finchley Gully 1-7-13, South Belgrave 1-2-8, Heathmont 9-6-60, Eastbourne 3-1-19, Templestowe and Ringwood 4-5-29, Templestowe 2-5-17, and Scoresby 8-4-52, the Basin 2-4-16.
So the game back underway, and it's Doncaster with possession of the ball, but taken out nicely there. Good, strong contest by Clydesdale, but he's wrapped up by Liardi. And we'll have a ball up almost in the middle of the ground, just almost where we had the ball up just a couple of seconds ago. Up it goes. There's the tap. Once again, it's Haig. Love to know how many hit-outs he's had today. He's had about 1 million, I think, as the ball comes down, and it's Farley who gets it forward. But going back, this might go through. It's bouncing around, and in the end, it just...
it's a goal.
It is a goal. It is a goal. Yeah, strange old kick forward. And running back there desperately trying to get a hand on it was Josh Bush. Let's watch the replay. And it was Bush. He knew what was going through. He was trying to get a touch.
Number 18.
No,
number 8 it was. It was Josh Bush, and he couldn't quite get there, so it's gone through. So a great start for the Whitehorse Pioneers, just the start they would have wanted. And they have the first goal of this third quarter.
Yeah, good goal by Farley. Long and direct. That was the thing. Finally, Whitehorse won a clearance in the centre and went straight down the middle.
Well, an improvisational goal brings Whitehorse its first major on the board, and can they gain some confidence out of that? Back in the centre, clearance won again through the Pioneers. Running through is Charles Fawn. Haven't seen too much of him this afternoon. Gleed, a couple of tackles there from Donvale will reach possession for them. Coming over the top of the ball, attacking at half was Haig. Got the hand pass out, still at ground level. Rosa breaks a tackle, gets the loopy hand pass over the top. Didn't really have a target in mind. Snapping around the corner was Clydesdale for Whitehorse inside 50, but no one home, and the Vales can clear it from centre half back. Long ball in the direction of Coughlin, who's been magnificent on centre wing this afternoon. He takes it from that position, looks towards right half forward. No target intended there. Trying to break through is Duclos. He was dispossessed. Chance now for Donvale. Kick inside 50, and the mark has been taken by Nick Murphy, who's been prominent all afternoon on that forward line. He can go back 40 metres out directly in front and have a shot at goal.
When you miss the target, Alana, Donvale just make you pay, and they've done that all afternoon.
Yeah, it was really good precision kicking from half back through to the wing, and then Coughlin, I think he was trying to set it up there for Hagen. The wind took it, but to get it back again and then hit the target, it was really good.
Well, Nick Murphy in the meantime has hit the woodwork, so a minor score. And Donvale move on to 7-8-50. They lead Whitehorse 1-3-9 at the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Early going third term.
So the Whitehorse Pioneers bring it out through Blythman. They've got the advantage of the wind in this third quarter, as they did in the first quarter. Didn't use it. Let's see what happens. They haven't started too badly, though. Ball on the ground going into the contest, but it's been taken up beautifully by Leibout. Leibout gets it on the and it's been sent forward now. Can someone get on the end of this? Bobbling over the top. Here's an opportunity now as they get the kick forward inside 50. But Purcell was there, but he couldn't get to it, and it's nicely picked up there by Connell. And Connell is flattened on the ground, and he's got Trakuja on top of him, and we'll have a ball up.
Probably a bit unlucky not to get a free kick there, because he was all over him.
In fact, it was Webb rather than Connell. There's the throw up. Good hit out by Duclos, gets to the front spot, and looks like we've got another free kick or a
ball up.
Another ball up.
Unfortunately, there was an Academy Award there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just thought he was going to milk that for all it was worth.
So going into the ruck that time was Murphy. Unusual for him as the ball has come out. It's fallen. Here's an opportunity now as it's nicely chipped across half-back, but it's going to be cut off quite comfortably there by Clydesdale. Players screaming for the ball. Clydesdale, can he find a target? He goes across the field towards that side where a lot of the ball has been for much of that first half, and the mark is taken. Now the next kick, this is the one that will test them as they go inside the 50, but it's a poor kick, and it's cut off easily there by Jones. And Donvale once again bringing it. Just that last kick letting them down at times as Jones chips it across half-back. Nicely taken, the mark by Sutherland, Matty Sutherland. Goes long on the right boot, hoists it down that... going in there strongly, and the mark, no, it wasn't taken. Haig thought it was a mark, but it was a play on, says the umpire. Khan gets it forward. Nice mark there by Thorne. Charles Thorne turns around. Decided to... he was going to go, but he decided to stop. He was going to pull the trigger, but held off. Once again, the slow transition to Whitehorse Pioneers, and that's a shocking kick, and it's been cut off easily, and Donvale will
cut him
bring it
up
out.
through the guts here.
Yep.
That's a lovely kick too, and it finds Angeli. Angeli goes down the line, looking for a target, bobbling around there. Beautifully taken there by Grocott. And now the ball has been a beautiful play, and it's Murphy again. Grocott it was, he got the initial ball, and he got it off to Murphy. And Nicholas Murphy gets goal number 4 for the afternoon. And once again, just poor play by the Pioneers. They turned it over, and Nick Murphy never misses an opportunity. But it's a lot of credit to Grocott, the great play from him.
Lana, you just hit the nail right on the head. As soon as they took control and possession of the ball on the turnover, they hurt the Pioneers.
They certainly did, and it was just another really, really nice kick from half-back out to that wing, and the ball placement again was really, really good for Grocott, but it just held up a little bit too much in that win, but the fact that he could get the ball out and out to Murphy was a really, really good play.
So Murphy's 4th goal brings the quick reply for Donvale, leading by 47 points. Back in the middle, Duclos won the tap, but it's Donvale with the clearance once again. They have the ground level ball covered this afternoon. Lai Belch had a couple of touches of the fumbles, but he did paddle it forward to their advantage, and Donvale will have a stoppage at centre half forward, and they certainly are attacking with force in this third term. So set in motion again. Duclos winning the tap. The Pioneers will eventually gain the clearance. The kick was partially smothered from Ryan, but Donvale have the chance deep inside their forward line. Great evasion there from Purcell. Snap around the corner, hits the padding of the post. Only a minor score. So Donvale 8-9-57 lead Whitehorse 1-3-9 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Early going third quarter.
Gee, he showed the skills of a ballerina there, Purcell. Pirouetted beautifully. Unfortunately,
Barishnikov.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I can't talk, but he doesn't exactly have the body of a ballerina. So Trakuju fits it out on that far side. Nice work by Khan. Gets it over the top. Here's a guy now with Batako. That's Damien Batako, of course, the 2 Batako brothers. Padbury hasn't had a lot of the game so far today. Well, good tackle put on there by Liardi as the ball spills out, but in the end it's been reclaimed. And we'll have a ball up.
Just going back to Purcell, though, I really wouldn't want to have to play on him if I was a backman, because he might be a little bit bigger of stature, but he's certainly very, very fast and agile. So he's really hard to match up on, as you just saw then. He turned that defender inside out rather easily.
He is, yeah, big man, very physical he is too, Jack Purcell. As the ball goes up, and Haig is there with Duclos. They've had a terrific battle today. The tap down and it fall bursting away from the pack. Here's an opportunity now for Donvale. The kick forward. Can it find a target? It's not the greatest of kicks in the world. Going across there and looking for it was Hockey, and he will chip it across. In fact, he's kicked it out of bounds.
He lost his footing there on that occasion as he tried to kick it. Slipped on the back heel.
Shocking kick.
So plenty of time there, Hockey. He should have done better there, but he's put his team under pressure as the ball comes in. Getting to the front spot there was Duclos. Duclos with the tap, and it's down the line. And going in there looking for it was Khan. He's had a fair game, Khan, as he gets tackled across there on the far side. And the ball is once again out of bounds.
Him and Chris McDougall are clearly Whitehorse's best 2 players at the moment.
Without doubt.
They don't seem to have the depth, do they, Whitehorse, to the extent that Donvale have across the board.
No.
So ball in, centre wing position, western side of Donvale Reserve, where the wind is certainly favouring that area of the ground. A stoppage from the ruck contest, ball in dispute, no one can extricate it from the pack. Eventually it falls out the back towards the corridor, where it's taken away there by Grocott, and Donvale can move it forward. A high rain-making ball towards centre half forward. Great mark by Ryan, had to dispose of his opponent and then take the mark on the second bite as he was falling down. One of the marks of the day.
Yeah, put that one down.
Chris Ryan look into the corridor. It was a shocking kick. I think the Donvale player, did he play on that occasion? It's going to come back. Let's head boundary 25.
Side. Bit stiff.
Contender for Brasher's Blazer.
Gee, that Blazer's getting a run this season, isn't it?
Yeah, how was your E and B and JB at half-time, BWS?
Rosa kicks towards the outer wing. Sutherland.
That's why I'm talking in acronyms.
Talking in riddles at the moment. Jones, centre wing, northern side of the ground. Again, the ball in dispute. Whitehorse can't get a clear possession away. Clydesdale's hand pass partially smothered. Eventually it ricochets back to Ward. Hacks it towards left half forward. Here's a genuine scoring chance. Travascus shoots towards goal. It's on target. And Whitehorse have their second on the board. They move on to 2-3-15, trailing Donvale 8-9-57. A bit of life into the Whitehorse fans early in this third term.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need. We need Whitehorse to be a little bit more positive, you know, with their play, and they've kicked 2 goals in this quarter, so it's good signs for them, but they need a lot more.
They do need a lot more, that's fair to say, as we get the ball back into the middle of the ground, but you've got to start somewhere, and Whitehorse have made a good start to this quarter, 2 goals to 1 so far, but it's a long way back as the umpire finally gets the ball. He's taking his time to get it back in the middle, but the big boys getting themselves set up. It goes. Duclos goes in there, but it's Haig who gets the hit out. Nice work by him. Ball comes back inside, and once again it's the Donvale side that are on the... and Haig has it again, turns around, but the whistle's gone. And we've got a free kick, an off-the-ball free kick by the looks. And it'll be Liardi who will take it. Gets onto that right foot, pumps it forward. Can he find a target?
That was a great
beautiful kick. And taken by Purcell, who hasn't had his busiest day today, but he's got an opportunity to go back and kick his second goal.
He was never ever not going to get that pass there, was he, Lana? Regardless of whether, you know, he was either going to take the mark or he was going to get a free kick. It was a real win-win situation there for Donvale.
Exactly. The kick was absolutely pinpoint perfect. And the defender just got nervous because he knew that he was going to be outrun by Purcell, so he thought, I'll just grab onto him instead and hope that he doesn't get seen.
Jack Purcell's got a bit of an angle to deal with. It sends it on its way. Umpire's having a look.
Doesn't matter.
I think it's through. So Jack Purcell picks up goal number 2 for him today. And that margin is once again extended. It's out to 48 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, 2 goals each in this quarter. So, unfortunately, you know, Donvale have done everything right with when they're not kicking with the breeze. And, you know, it almost seems like that 3-4 minute patch in the in red time in the first quarter has really put an exclamation point on this game, I feel.
And I think it might have been, McCormack that kicked that ball to Purcell, not Liardi, so I do apologise.
Great strength and accuracy from Purcell. This gives Donvale further breathing space as it's in the middle, a bit of a scrimmage. Wicknell got the hand pass out, but it's taken the loose ball, set upon by Duclos. Sends a high ball towards centre half forward. The Flyers come out. Eventually a good tackle affected there by Webb at ground level for the Pioneers. Forces a stoppage, and we'll have a bounce at centre half forward for Whitehorse. Let's head boundary side.
Whitehorse look a lot more dangerous when they get the ball in nice and quick. The last couple of quarters have been a bit stagnant going in forward 50 and allowed Donvale to set up. Their last 2 goals have just been quick kicks inside 50.
Well, it was a good tackle affected by Tippett. The umpire didn't pay holding the ball. Bush is also claimed by a couple of Pioneers, and we'll have yet another bounce. Certainly Whitehorse moving it a lot more direct in this quarter, and finding space through the corridor as well has certainly helped their cause.
Tell you what, it go down real nice, Lana. A nice cup of coffee, I reckon.
Oh, you reckon that if they could hear us, they might be nice enough to bring us a coffee over?
Well, we are giving them a free plug, so you know.
I've heard it's delicious too.
I'm sure you'd say that.
It's the Donvale side who have the ball at the back and an opportunity to bring it out now.
I'll have 2 sugars in mine.
Me too. I mind you, a caramel latte. I don't need any sugars. As the kick comes out, but it's cut off nicely by Charles Thorne. But it's straight back to Donvale. It's a scrubby old kick down the line, but it's Donvale who still have it. But once again, it's, I'll tell you what, it's bobbling around like a banana. Well, actually not a banana, it doesn't really bobble, but Wignall in here. I haven't seen too many bobbling bananas. Now it's in towards... That's the one, that's what I'm thinking of. Now it's Liardi who takes it away. He's been good, Liardi. Now he gets a great return pass, and Liardi's got tons of space here, but he looks around, not a lot of options. He goes infield, finds Wignall, and now it goes towards the...
Here we go again.
And this beautiful mark by Purcell. He had Blythman on him, but he just threw him out of the way like a rag doll. Big man Purcell, of course, and he's got that strength, hasn't he, as the ball comes in. Beautiful kick, and great work by Purcell.
One thing's for sure, I think Whitehorse are really missing that other key forward today in Dalglish, because you know, you can really tell this is where Purcell and Murphy are really starting to take over the game here.
Purcell looking for goal number 3 this afternoon, on its way. Everyone likes it, and so does the goal umpire. So goal number 3 for Jack Purcell today. And Donvale increased that margin now on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
And probably some worrying signs for Whitehorse, but some really good signs for Donvale. Liardi's getting the ball out in space, and he's able to use his foot skills to advantage. Purcell's just starting to get a little bit open, a little bit more free, and find a bit more space in that forward line. And he is really damaging when he does have the ball in hand. So Whitehorse need to tighten the screws up a little bit on that, and Donvale just want to keep doing what they're doing right now.
Great strength by Purcell. He's won a couple of marking contests today, just leading his opponent to the ball, holding and fending him off with one arm and taking the mark with the other. As we're back in the middle. Tap one by Duclos, forced to ground level. A couple of good tackles affected there. Amongst them, of course, for Donvale was Dillon. We'll have a secondary bounce in the middle.
I tell you what, I reckon Donvale have done an excellent job negotiating Maverick lead this afternoon in the midfield.
Indeed, we haven't seen much of him. Duclos won the tackle. Good tackle. That was a bone-crunching tackle affected. And Donvale gain the recipient in the turnover. Hand pass comes out from Wignall. At centre half back, the Vales trying to work it forward, but Whitehorse, through the arms of Batako, can halt that play, and they win the free kick. It was Batako at the bottom of the pack who was caught high. He'll take the free kick, of course, of the Nicholas variety, and a 25-metre penalty to boot, so that will put him within range at a shot on goal from about 45 metres out.
You say Batako, I say Batako, Damo.
Yeah. Tomato, tomato.
You say Lacroix, I say Lacrasse.
Go to America, Brash.
Nicholas Batako booting it from 45 metres out, almost directly in front. It started right and stayed there, so only a minor score. But Whitehorse move on to 2-4-16. They're trailing Donvale 10-9-69 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and we're halfway through this third quarter.
They just can't miss those opportunities, the Whitehorse Pioneers. They've really got to take every opportunity that comes their way, and that's a bad miss. As the ball is sent out towards Dillon. Oh, beautiful mark coming across there and taking it was Cotsford, Hayden Cotsford. Sends it long, but there's plenty of Whitehorse Pioneers players there, and it's picked up by Ryan. Ryan gets it forward. Or good mark taken on a quick transfer. There's great play by Whitehorse here as they finally get something going.
Too slow.
But it's been hacked away and it's been knocked away and cut off beautifully by Donvale. And they'll work it out once again. Another dangerous opportunity as they burst through the middle. Donvale in great transition. Something that we haven't seen from the Whitehorse Pioneers in this match. And the long kick forward is looking for Purcell. Murphy it is actually. And what have we got?
I reckon he was definitely off there. Tell you what, the umpire was very lucky.
Oh, what's he done?
Let's just have a look and see what happened here.
Well, in the meantime,
he was a little trip, I think.
Yeah.
He's kicked it to Liardi in the meantime, and he'll have a shot on goal. Let's head boundary side.
Yeah, just off the ball before, guys. I think a couple of boys got away with it. The Horse, Clydesdale, and Bob Marley were going at it on centre wing before. They just got away with the umpire let it go. So Clydesdale was lucky there. He could have been sent off.
If he was lucky.
So it's Matt Liardi who lines it up. He's on the right boot. He kicks into the player on the mark. That's a shocking kick, and it's going to be the Whitehorse Pioneers who will hopefully get themselves out of, in fact, they don't get themselves out of trouble, and it's going to be wrapped up, and that danger's certainly not passed for the Whitehorse Pioneers. But a shocking kick there from Liardi. Would have expected to do better on that occasion.
I think Clydesdale was just remonstrating with the unwanted tackle and high contact from Dillon a little earlier, so I think that's what that all
up it goes.
From.
Dillon gets good body work, and he gets the head out as the ball bop.
He's angry.
Greycott goes in there and forces the ball up once again, inside 50. Plenty of feeling still in this game. The Whitehorse Pioneers trying to make a bit of a statement despite the fact that they're so far behind on the scoreboard. The ball goes up once again, and it's Duclos, gets to the front spot, the tap down, but not a concisive hit out there. And once again, we'll have a ball up.
I'm just sitting here thinking there's still a few really good players to come into this Donvale side. And if this is 1v2, it's looking very, very ominous.
Well, you've got to remember, no Matty Fife today, and also Carl Tosey's out of this team as well. Two very good players, and Matty hopefully will, from his course, will be back next week. He was hoping to play today, but still having some problems with a knee. As he said to me before the game, old man's knee, so I'm sure he'll be back though. The ripe old age of 30, as it's Duclos who sends the ball down the line. Mark not taken, it's bobbling around once again. It's chased forward and hacked off the ground. It's probably going to go out of bounds over there, but no, chasing back well and getting to it was Batako. And Batako taking a very heavy tackle. He had someone just dive on him over there, and that was Sutherland, Chris Sutherland. Good strong tackle, but it's a free kick by the looks to Batako.
And a 25-metre penalty to boot.
We should say Damien Batako, of course, because there are two Batakos.
Copped a heavy knock in the back, didn't he? Let's head boundary side.
Potato, potato, whichever way you want it. That was a magnificent second effort here as Whitehorse going forward. Let's hope they can get a goal out of this one.
I thought you were going to take up the commentary there, BWS. Clydesdale now as the ball comes out, but it's Donvale who are back in possession. Just that reflex action. Looking around for the option, but they decide to go down the line. And a good mark taken there by Grocott. He's been fair. He's had a fair game, Grocott, too, as he turns around, looks for the next option, goes onto the left boot, sends it forward. Oh, Mark, beautiful intercept mark taken there by Hockey, Jess Hockey. Now sends it across, decides to go right across the ground, and they've got a bit of space here, Whitehorse. It's Farley, Brad Farley, players screaming for the ball as Farley puts it forward, and that's a good mark taken there by Ward. Mitch Ward, a little short kick coming in. Can he hit a target? No,
too many numbers.
Poor kick there and easily cut off. And just too many numbers for the Donvale side. And it's Matty Sutherland who has possession, but that's such a good kick.
Good mark.
Beautiful mark taken over there. And that's Wignall.
They've done really well is they've taken Padbury's space all afternoon in that forward 50.
If we had a prize for the quietest man on the ground, Padbury might almost win it. He's been absolutely just anonymous this afternoon. As the kick goes inside 50, Murphy's there, but he wasn't at the front spot, but he robes it off the tap, and he should kick, and he's missed again. Nicholas Murphy, I tell you what, he could have had 10 this afternoon, but he's missed a very, very kickable opportunity. Just waiting for the umpire to give us the all
It's a minor score.
It is a minor score.
It was a behind.
It was a behind indeed. That's a shocking miss from Murphy.
So Ryan to bring it back in for the Pioneers. Sends a long ball down the corridor. And a good mark taken in the air. It's very hard to judge the ball in this win, but it was a great effort from Travascus. Kicks across the line towards the western wing. Mark taken by Blythman. There was a bit of a helicopter off the boot as Shank as it dribbles across the line on the western wing here at Donvale Reserve. Donvale, the home side, leading by 54 points, 10-10-70. To Whitehorse 2-4-16. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast, whether you may be listening or viewing, whether it be Radio Eastern 98.1 FM or streaming live on efl.org.au.
Around the world?
Yes. We had a viewer from the Greek islands last week. I think you'll be viewing from the US, won't you, Brash?
Oh, most definitely.
If you get bored over there.
Texting madly, no doubt. Telling us all how to do it.
Could do around the ground scores from the Major League Baseball, Brash. As the throw-in comes in, Dylan wins the tap, forced to ground level.
Yeah, I'll be sitting in the bleachers.
In the third tier, Damien Batako over the top of the footballer. Will have a bounce once again. 65 out from the Whitehorse goal. They've been improving in this term, but Donvale still asserting their dominance on this game. Dylan wins the tap once again. It's been an intriguing duel between he and, of course, James Duclos. Ball in dispute. Eventually the hand pass comes out from Ward towards the boundary line and it trickles over once again. 65 out from the Whitehorse goal. A bit stagnant and pedestrian in the last few minutes this game.
The intensity has lifted though a little bit, I feel. Both teams.
So the throw in, it's Dylan and Duclos who go at it. Duclos got the tap. They've given it everything in this quarter, Whitehorse Pioneers, and they've had a real crack, but unfortunately the scoreboard's just against them. And we just go boundary because there's something going on the half forward. Boys, what's happening?
Dylan is out with a vengeance, mate. He is looking to hit anyone and anything in his way at the moment.
Someone must have pulled his hair.
We know it's not a wig then if they've pulled his hair because it's still on. As the ball is shown, and again it's Dylan and Duclos. They love lost, but it's Dylan who gets the tap. But over the top there was Tippett. Almost got hands on the ball, but it's gone to ground, and I think the two big ruckmen are going to come into play again once again. In fact, it's a free kick.
No, it's a ball up.
It is a ball up, all right. Up it goes. There's the tap down. Ball bursting out of the pack there was that Travaskis, Jordan Travaskis, but into the contested situation once again, and we'll have a ball up. He looks a bit angry, Dylan, doesn't he? Just looking at his face. Looks like a man possessed at the moment. The tap comes down. Back into the contest again, and we've just got a stomach. It's about the fourth ball up in almost the same part of the ground in the last 30 seconds. Come on, boys, get it out. As the goes up again. It's Duclos who gets a tap over the back. Probably a little bit of good fortune that it came out in the end, but it's fallen for the Whitehorse Pioneers, and I think they've got a free kick there. And they do, so they'll have an opportunity to work something. It's Travaskis, Jordan Travaskis. He goes long off the right boot, hoping. It's not a great kick, though. Just kicking and hoping, really, not really to a target. Nice work there by Mitch Ward. As a little short kick comes in there, but that's a terrible kick. And once again, it's just cut off.
Ordinary.
Just ordinary play it is from the Whitehorse Pioneers. No targets picked out. Kick comes out towards Grocott. Oh, beautiful mark coming across there beautifully, and taking it was Thorne. Haven't called his name too many times today, Charles Thorne, but he's got an opportunity to make a name for himself. Goes inside with a short kick. Picks out Connell. Thomas Connell going across the ground rather than forward. Mark taken there by Hockey. Jess Hockey. Another short kick as they go towards the pocket, but that's a pretty ordinary kick, to be honest. And it's going to fall for the Donvale side, and they will bring it out of defence once again. It was promising for the Whitehorse Pioneers, but it just broke down, and now Donvale have an opportunity, and they'll switch it across to that far side where they've had quite a lot of room. In fact, they bring it back to the near side in the end with a kick towards the boundary line.
That was a bit of arrogance there, I thought, by Donvale. They didn't really look like that they wanted to push the ball forward. They just wanted to hold possession there, and then they paid the penalty for an errant kick.
Yeah, probably might have been better to bring it out to that fat side like they were looking to do, but they switched it back to the near side and it broke down for them. So, Whitehorse Pioneers, it's a scrubby old kick. It's bobbling around there, taken by Glede Mav. Glede probably not the greatest of games for him today. He's a pretty good player, but he hasn't had his best day.
He's been well held in the midfield.
He has Travaskis, I think. I tell you what, it's on over there. I think it's Travaskis, and I'm just trying to see who the Donvale player is going in there, and playing enforcer was Sam Coughlin.
Gee, there's no love lost between these two sides, especially when one's 54 points down.
As I say, Whitehorse trying to make a bit of a statement.
So the Vales can move it long towards the four pocket. Duclos flew high. Coughlin affected the spoil. It forced to ground level. A couple of Pioneers on top of it, including Hunter. Forced to ground level. Coughlin again retrieves the footy. Gets the hand pass back to his teammate Emrosa. He tried to evade a couple of tackles, but to no avail. It was a Whitehorse free kick. The siren's gone in any case for three-quarter time. And Donvale certainly asserting their authority in Division 4 this afternoon. They're 10-10-70 leading Whitehorse 2-4-16. At the final change of this Division 4 top of the table clash. We hope you can stick around for the final term, including some very important around the ground scores at the EFL Score Centre. More to come on EFL Game Day.
How would you like to be celebrated?
I could put together a really cool playlist.
Frank Sinatra.
Elton John.
Beethoven.
John Lennon.
Boy bands.
A lot of 90s.
I'd certainly not be opposed to people dancing.
Finger food.
Party pies.
Homemade pickles.
I'd like some cakes. There will be fairy bread.
Twinks.
I have a thing for pink lemonade.
And lots of coffee.
At Tobin Brothers Funerals, they know that every life is unique, and they think that every celebration should be too. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
Nothing better than a companion to keep you up to date with all the latest when you're at the footy. Better still, one that fits in your back pocket. The Eastern Footballer is a must-read. All the latest information, team lists, feature articles and much, much more. Pick up your copy this weekend as you love it local across the Eastern Football League. For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss EFL Sunday. From 10 till 12 every Sunday morning, the EFL media team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders, following a big round of EFL footy. The gang talk to the biggest names from across the league each and every week. EFL Sunday, from 10 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
My plans for the year, save up for a house so we can build hopefully in November.
Going overseas to Japan.
Recently become a father of a second child.
Finish up baseball season.
Take the kids skiing.
Move into a new house.
Go to the footy a lot.
I am in a tennis tournament in April. Have a hobby farm. That would be my dream.
The beauty of a fixed price funeral plan is that the price never changes and you can celebrate your life the way you want. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Radio Eastern 98.1 EFL Game Day. Barry Cons here in the EFL Game Day Score Centre. It's three-quarter time here at Donvale Reserve on a very blustery, windy day here in Melbourne. It's 10-10-70 Donvale to the Whitehorse Pioneers 2-4-16. Let's check some scores for EFL football. Firstly, in Division 1, Noble Park and Norwood. Well, Norwood has certainly streaked away. It's Norwood 7-2-44 to Noble Park 1-6-12.
Jeez.
Yes, that's right. Bourne and Roeville. It's Bourne 9-12-66 to Roeville 3-11-29. Bayswater and East Ringwood, a low-scoring game is 2-4-16 apiece. Blackburn and South Croydon. South Croydon 6-7-43 to Blackburn 4-4-28. To Division 2. And Knox and Leadale. Close game. Knox 4-8-32 to Leadale 4-7-31. Mulgrave and Upper Ferntree Gully. Mulgrave 5-4-34 to Upper Ferntree Gully 5-1-31. And Mirrabbark well ahead of 1 Turner South at this stage, 11 goals to 3 in Division 2. Division 3 and Warrandyte and Park Orchards. Park Orchards 13-6-84 to Warrandyte 4-2-26. Heathmont 9-6-60 to East Burwood 3-1-19. Ringwood 4-5-29, Templestowe 2-5-17. And Scoresby in the Basin 8-4-52, Scoresby the Basin 2-4-16. To Division 4, Coldstream Glenwaverley Hawks. Coldstream 11-5-71 to Glenwaverley Hawks 8-3-51. And also Sylvan and Surrey Park 4-6-30, Sylvan 2-1-13. And Forest Hill 4-7-31 to Kilsyth 2-7-19 as we cross to the boundary.
Yeah, guys, got Matty Fife again. Matty, you said previously when I spoke to you, Zach Haig's just been the best ruckman in the comp all year. Does it help having big Paddy Dillon going like a raging bull for 10 minutes?
Absolutely helps, mate. Yeah, big Paddy, that was probably his best quarter for the year, I think. He's slowly come into his game as a backup ruckman over the last few weeks, but I think today his confidence has gone through the next level, and his pressure around the ball is like another midfielder. Very handy.
And just this last quarter, again, you're going to readjust to having the wind at your back. Are you looking to maybe go a bit more through the centre? That second quarter, you probably took it a bit wide and didn't give yourself the best chance?
Yeah, you nailed it, mate. The message to the boys was there. Let's take some risks. Let's try and use that centre corridor with some kicks inside, and then get our running game going with some link up and some good supply for the forward. So you're on the money, mate. Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
Great stuff from Matty Ferdy, boundary side, and Barry Cotts, of course, at the EFL Score Centre for bringing us up to date around the grounds. And a good shout out to the Donvale crew who are listening to this coverage. Let's cross down boundary side. Ben Warren-Smith.
Yeah, I was over at the Whitehorse huddle there, guys, at three-quarter time, and the major message from Derek Shaw, the senior coach of the Whitehorse Pioneers, was keep possession and use your legs. Use the switches, get back quicker as well. A big play in this one in the forward line and for the backs is to block Bursell. He's been a big target for them, and they want him blocked out. Spread across the half-forward line. The backs need to take it on. Physicality this quarter is the main message. Don't let Donvale dictate it. The big thing for Whitehorse in this final term is win the quarter.
Thanks very much to Ben Warren-Smith. Had two blokes with grey wind cheaters in between him, like a couple of bodyguards. So he certainly is working it well down there.
Well, he is
a
bit of a star down there. I'm surprised he hasn't got his entourage down there.
That's right. He's got a whole entourage.
Scary man.
So 1 quarter of footy left here at Donvale as the ball is thrown up, and Zach Haig, who's had a storming game in the ruck, gets a first tap out of the last quarter. And it's bobbling around, taken forward and kicked inside 50. Going round there is Murphy. Nicholas Murphy hooking it back across goal, but he's off target. I think he maybe missed everything.
Yep.
He has kicked it out of bounds, Nicholas Murphy. Just the angle just a bit too great and couldn't quite bring it up enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has no right foot, Nick Murphy.
Big shout out to the Donvale supporters crew in the club rooms listening to this broadcast on high volume.
Yep,
good on them. Certainly are. Went over to get something to eat before, and
they're keeping up with your diva-ish demands, Alana.
Well, we are going to get our coffee, so we're all pretty pleased as the ball comes out towards the wing, and it's nicely marked here by Travaskis.
My diva-ish demands that have looked after everybody. I see.
But Donvale back in possession of the ball. They go inside 50, but it's but it's bobbling around and it's knocked away, and in fact it'll be out of bounds in the end, I think, or through for a behind.
One behind.
One behind it is.
It's got to be an advantage having a girl on the team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get coffees.
So Tom Connell to bring the ball back in for Whitehorse. Of course, they're trailing currently by 55 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Connell favours the western side, which has been the majority route all day for both sides. Hand pass comes over the top, and the Pioneers have the link-up runners through Duclos. Sends a chip ball towards the centre wing position, and Newton is thrust over the boundary line, where we find our boundary riders. Well, they're doing it once again because they're moving it towards the corridor where Purcell takes the mark, looks in the direction of the running forward, of course, there in Ancona. It comes up towards the centre half forward position. Whitehorse have the numbers, still the ball in dispute. Good tackle affected there deep inside the defensive 50 by Hockey, and we'll have a bounce deep in the forward pocket for the Donvale Football Club.
Yeah, coming to this fat side is certainly opening up the play a lot more for Donvale. And you think that maybe Whitehorse would have adjusted to that and gone, well, if they're doing it, then it's obviously the way to play this ground. And no, it hasn't
Just going to say that I think if they haven't worked it out going into the fourth
so
quarter,
much.
they probably won't. It's been put through for a goal.
Is that Rouser there? Hey?
It's Haig.
Jeez.
Doing it all today.
Straight out of the ruck, fantastic stuff. Let's just watch the replay as it comes to real. Haig just snapping it almost, well, in the blink of an eye, we hardly could see that. But it's gone through. So Zach Haig, he's had a storming day in the ruck, and he's now added a goal to his day as well. Fantastic stuff.
Duclos tried hard, but Haig certainly has lowered his colours in most contests this afternoon.
Having said that, I think Dylan has probably been the lesser of the ruckman in the contest.
Dylan's done his 10-minute crash bash. He's done the job.
Back in the middle, Donvale continuing on their dominance as a scrimmage, and no one can extricate it from the pack. Good tackle applied there as Haig tries to force the ball forward. A chain of hand passes still in the middle, lie built. Taken to ground, a couple of Pioneers lie on top of him and dig the knees in as well, just a sneaky little knee, and we'll have a secondary bounce.
I love the way Donvale players attack the ball with, it's
Vigor.
maniacal, really.
Yeah, a lot of vigour there, that's for sure. Duclos wins the tap. It bobbles around the centre wing position, or centre field. Over the top of the ball is formed for the Pioneers, and a tackle affected by Newton. We'll have yet another bounce in the centre.
I was going to say, I don't think it matters if Duclos won every single hit out today.
No.
The way that the Donvale midfield brigade have just totally dominated those clearances, anyone could win a hit out, and Donvale will still win the ball.
So the Vales move it off centre half back, kick into the running direction of Ancona. The bounce was a little fickle for him. Still he paddles it into his advantage. Has a little bit too much speed for his opponent in Blythman. Still he goes Ancona. Hand pass over the top. It's inside 50 now in the pocket. Grocott can shoot towards goal outside of the boot. And he's off target, only a minor score. So 11-12-78 Donvale leading Whitehorse 2-4-16. Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's cross boundary side.
Olga didn't actually get involved in that piece of play, guys, but he just drifted off the ball up there, and no one from Whitehorse has followed him. And during the game, no one's gone to Liardi or Coughlin all day, and they're so destructive.
So in the middle, as Brett Beston accepts his coffee.
Thank you very much to the Donvale people for looking after this.
Absolute stars they are.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And the ball will be bounced at right half forward for the Donvale Footy Club, who would be very, very pleased with their side's performance today. 52 points, the margin in their favour, as the ball is trickled across the line after a kick off the ground from the stoppage.
Yeah, big day for the Donvale Footy Club. Big luncheon this afternoon. So hello to all those people in the club rooms. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast.
Tap one in the ruck contest by Haig. Forced it to ground level. Chance now for the Vales as they move it inside 50. A loose hand pass comes in the direction there of Foley. It's forced to ground level. Good tackle applied there by Travaskis for the Pioneers. And eventually the ensuing hand pass goes askew, and we'll have a ball in 45 metres out from the Donvale goal. Western side of the ground as the sun glistens through the reserve.
And Brash, if you were Matt Falla right now, you wouldn't want Donvale saying to overpossess and trying to get a bit too cute and fancy at this late point in the game. You'd want them to really just go hammer and tong and try and build on that lead.
Most definitely.
Well, the ensuring kick from the stoppage was intercepted by Withers for Donvale at centre wing. Sends a probing ball inside 50. The Pioneers have brought the extra man back to cover the hole. That was Travascus. He dropped the mark. Still a chance for the Vales. Diving in over the football there was Cotsford. Couldn't quite take it. And the whistle has been blown. It's going to be a free kick going the way of the Pioneers deep in their defensive pocket. And they can relieve the tension, which has certainly been building up all afternoon.
So Thomas Connell switches play. He's been fair. He's been battling along for most of the day. Jess Hockey now sends a little short kick up, nicely marked by Mitch Ward. Got to get something going, the Pioneers. Can they do that? That's a nice kick, and it's marked well. In fact, beautifully marked by Ward. That's Newton, who wheels around and goes. The next kick's the one, nicely bit, and Padbury, who's touched the ball probably for, well, it can't be any more than half a dozen times, surely. He's been so quiet today. As the ball kicked in field, opportunity now is Hunter. This has been probably their best period of play. Marcus Tippett now will take the mark.
Well, he's hardly touched the ball either today too.
He has. He's been very quiet, but he'll go back and have a shot at goal. Although he doesn't look like he's backing himself.
I don't think he can kick the distance.
He's going to have a crack. I think you'll probably find that he'll try and centre it. He sends it goalward, but it's going to come up way short, and it'll be marked comfortably back there as we go boundary side.
Yeah, you spoke about Andrew Padbury not really touching the ball. There was a massive ironic cheer from the Whitehorse Pioneers fence just to my right when he gathered that one.
Had a ridiculously quiet day as the ball comes in field, and it's Marcus Tippett. Good strong body, but it's fallen for the Donvale side. Foley, who's played, gets it away. It's bouncing down, and Connor's got a bit of space. He fumbles initially, plays it to himself. And what have we got?
Holding the man.
Holding the man, a free kick. So probably a little bit harsh. It didn't look to be too much in that, but Ancona's got it, and he'll go back. Just taking his time, sizing up the options. With a scoreboard in the background, he sends it into the middle of the ground. Can he find a target? Goes straight over the top to nobody. And there looking for it was Grocott. And it's fallen for Coughlin, and Coughlin shoots for goal, but I think he's missed, has he? Yep. He has. Just, I'll tell you what, if the Donvale side had kicked straight this afternoon, this score would be outrageously out of control.
I've got to say, though, I know Derek Shaw said that they've, to go out there and try and win the quarter. Well, I'll tell you what, they're not going to win the quarter with a 10-man back line.
So wait for the ball to be retrieved from beneath the fence. Certainly has been a static forward line for the Whitehorse Pioneers. Only 2 goals to their name thus far in this game, and we're starting to reach the 10-minute mark of the final term. Oh, it's going to be interesting ramifications here. Donvale will be going out of this match as premiership favourites in Division 4, that's for sure.
Well, 2 big scalps in 2 weeks, Domo. Coldstream last week and then the Pioneers today. So,
yes, Donvale certainly want to.
Yeah, I think they'd have to retrieve the spare football here because the ball's bounced over the neighbourhood fence, and they're trying to. A couple of the Donvale supporters behind the goals are jumping over the neighbourhood fence. Not sure why.
Well, the ball's worth $100, mate. Of course, you want $110 sharing in your possession.
Is that how much they cost these days?
Yeah.
It is.
Anyway, the mark taken at centre half forward by Wignall for Donvale. Spearing ball inboard. It's a good option in the central corridor, and the mark has been taken 45 metres out from goal, directly in front, and Donvale will look to increase their margin of dominance on the scoreboard. Of course, the man Nicholas Murphy has figured prominently on the goal scoring list. He'll have a shot here once again for goal number 5. Nick Murphy. 45 metres out, directly in front. Distance won't trouble him, but the accuracy will. Minor score. 11-14-80 Donvale to Whitehorse. 2-4-16 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Reaching the halfway point of the final term. Let's head boundary side.
Yeah, just about those balls going to the neighbour fence. I've stolen many a footy in my younger days from Churnside Park Footy Club, so I'm sitting on about $1,000 at home, I think.
You could sell them on eBay, mate.
Inflation doing me wonders.
I was going to say, I know they're expensive when you...
I'm glad you've got a microphone in your hand too, BWS.
So we're back into the another stoppage as the ball goes up. It's been tapped down, nicely roved by Newton. Comes out again, but it's still a little bit untidy, but it falls for the Whitehorse Pioneers. That was McDougall. Trying to find some... It's been cut off beautifully, though. That's good work by Withers. He hasn't had a lot of the ball today, but he's done well when he has had it. Now here's an opportunity for Rorsa. Rorsa goes towards goal, and it will be knocked away, and in fact Whitehorse Pioneers will bring it out of defence. The kick out towards that far side once again. Matt Sutherland couldn't keep it in, and the ball is once again out of play.
This coffee is delicious.
It's pretty decent, isn't it? I was just thinking that.
That should be a new segment aside from the burgers, the coffees.
There's a good way to get some coffees given out each week.
I have to get our media manager Dan Sensick to sponsor that as it comes out. Running through the middle is Liardi, getting onto his left foot. Can he put this one through? He can. Beautiful goal by Liardi.
It's a vibro contender.
That is a magnificent goal. He got the handball, Liardi, and he just sized up the opportunity. Didn't have anyone in front of him. There's the great handball off to him. And he just sized it up, got onto that left foot. He was running away from goal, so he had to kick back almost across himself. And that's a beautiful kick, crashing into the trees down the back of the ground. And Matt Liardi has his first of the day.
And we've just seen it time and time again, just that link-up handball. They're really sharp, they're really crisp. It's not floating in the air, it's not going behind them, it's going to exactly where they need to go.
That's our boundary side.
Great goal by Liardi there. Certainly a vibro contender goal today. I tell you what, I saw Liardi. He's got personalised number plates on his Commodore out the back of the club. He's double parked. He knows that he's an important man down at this club as well. And I tell you what, you guys giving mentions to the coffee van and getting coffees. I should have been doing this for the bar from a long time ago, but there's a goal gone through.
Yeah, Rosser has kicked a goal. The wind got behind that one from outside 50. And that also could be a contender for the Vibromania goal of the day. That really did carry with the wind. And Donvale continue on their merry way here at Donvale Reserve. They move on the scoreboard to increase their big margin over the Whitehorse Pioneers, who, of course, are second on the table. And the margin is blowing out to magnitude proportions now.
Not if it was a beer, he wouldn't.
The VIP parking for him as Dylan wins the hit up. Beautifully done and rove nicely by Sam Coughlin, who gets it forward. Plenty of players there, and it's been pulled to ground. And they're fighting hard for it as that man Murphy. 5 goals to...
It's just a walking yellow card at the moment.
So the kick goes out towards half-back. Fighting across there, going in nicely was Withers. He got the contest. Ball comes out. Beautiful work, and it's Ancona who has the ball. He's had a fair game today. Gets the ball inside, and Angeli. It goes to ground, and they're fighting for it was Jones, and the umpire's whistle goes, and it's a free kick to Whitehorse.
25?
And 25, in fact.
Yeah, he just decided that he didn't want to hand the ball back properly.
Very soft indeed. But the Whitehorse Pioneers will take it. I'm sure they haven't had too many things to cheer about today. That's an awful kick, though. They don't really take advantage of it. And in the end... That's terrible play.
Yeah, well, that sums up your day, doesn't it? I reckon that, that really does show what it's been like for Whitehorse today.
So the ball comes in. Dylan gets front spot. He's on the ground. He might have got one in the mush there, but now it's the Pioneers who get it, and they thump it downfield, and it's bouncing into no man's land. Going back there is Padbury.
Good tap.
He's auditioning for the next edition of The Invisible Man. He's been so quiet today.
Through no fault of his own, though.
Absolutely
You've got to have people get it down to him. So
absolutely not.
I don't want him to be the whipping boy for not getting possessions when the midfield haven't done their job for supply.
No, definitely not whipping him, but he has had a very quiet day by his own high standards as we have another ruck contest. Up it goes. And a strange old ruck. The ball actually hit the ground there, I think, as it came out. And it was Liebelt who had it for a moment, but the umpire's whistle was gone, and we'll have a free kick to the Whitehorse Pioneers. A little short kick comes in across the ground, but it's cut off beautifully by Ancona, who's been one of the best today for Donvale. Chips it out wide, finds Withers. Withers just steadying the play down, looking for that next option as he looks downfield. It's not a lot on at the moment. In the end, he kicks a scrubby kick along the ground. That's the worst kick of the day by a mile.
Yeah, but he found a person.
He did. Now it falls for Hayward. Hayward goes down the line, but great work. Good challenge in there by Connell. Thomas Connolly's been pretty handy today back there. He's tried hard all day. Infield to Tippett. Tippett looks around. Tippo are the calls from his men, but Tippo's taking an age to get rid of it, and he finally does. And that's a decent kick, which finds Noah Khan. But still so slow. No idea why they're taking such a long time. They really need to get on with it, and they finally do get it forward, but that's going to be cut.
5 on 1.
Going to be cut off really easily, and back there is Withers.
Good kick.
He's really come into the game in this last quarter, and indeed the third quarter as well. Good kick finds McCormick. Jake McCormick goes forward. Good strong mark, but it's fallen for the Pioneers. Great tackle comes in there. They're just taking too long to get rid of the ball, and Ancona's in there as well. Tippett takes it and thumps it, but it's...
That was intelligent kick there.
Almost a comedy of errors there as
Give him that.
the ball is hoisted forward. I don't think that was too intentional. Right over the top. Spinning nicely in the tackle is Padbury.
Well done.
Padbury, a beautiful play by Padbury, and he may have his first note. He's off target.
Boundary.
So Padbury a minor score as we go boundary side.
5 minutes, as much as it was a comedy of errors, it probably epitomised what the game's been like. Whitehorse just dilly-dallying on the ball, just taking that split second longer to move the ball forward, whereas Donvale get it and they're straight away moving forward and just opening up the game.
So the Vales will bring it out of their defensive zone. Rawser looks out wide to right half back. Mark taken by Liardi, who kicked one of the Vibro goal of the day contenders just 5 minutes ago. Looks towards the outer wing. The bounce favoured Grocott. He couldn't quite take it in the end. He fumbled, and as a consequence, he loses possession, forces a tackle, and will have a bounce deep on the outer wing western side of Donvale Reserve as the wind picks up again.
Thing is, with the win, it certainly brings a lot of game plans unstuck too.
Indeed it does. Dylan won the tap and effected a tackle to boot.
Ooh.
And he's getting physical
It's
again.
on again. Dylan and Connell over there, I think, on the ground.
That's their boundary side.
Laid a very good tackle and then just thought he'd just keep going on it, and he's given away another free kick. These 10 minutes, it's just like letting a bull out in a china shop and see what he can do.
Thanks for the update, Matt.
Matt's on Dylan watch.
He is.
He's on Dylan watch, yep.
Well, in the meantime, the Pioneers have the chance to look towards the fat side of the ground as they switch play laterally. Mark taken by Ferguson. Looks towards the centre wing position. Again, the kick misses the target. The bounce evades Ancona. And as a consequence, the Pioneers can move it forward through a chain of hand passes. Clydesdale eventually gives the hand pass away and they send a probing ball inside the 50. But again, Donvale have the numbers deep. Falling to ground there was Bush. That could prove costly because a kick off the ground went through for a behind in favour of the Pioneers. McDougall missing the target there. That's a minor score. They move on to 2-5-17, trailing Donvale 13-14-92 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
As I was driving here today, I did think it could have been a 100-point margin, but I was hoping that it wasn't going to be, and it's
you
not
did
far
say
off
that before the game.
Yeah.
So Donvale bring it back in. The long kick, they decide to go straight down the centre of the ground, and it's going to fall for them too as it lands in the hands of Hayward. Now it's been knocked forward. Looking for the mark back there. It was Purcell? Yep, can't miss that body as he turns around.
That's goal. That's play of the day.
And that's a magnificent goal.
You can lock that one in.
As he wheeled around, the kick was a bit of it was a funny old one. And Purcell, that was a 2-on-1, but he did brilliantly, and he rove the kick, his own tap, and then spun around and put it through, and that is definitely...
Yeah, lock that one in. That's a goal of the day, Vibromania, goal of the day, that one.
Absolutely, and he's absolutely delighted, Purcell, and why wouldn't he be too? That was fantastic
sensational stuff.
Yes, the Vibromania goal of the day. You could lock that one in. Jack Purcell, 4 goals to his name. That's their boundary side.
I tell you what, that was certainly coast-to-coast football at its best there with the arms, with the goal with Purcell. I tell you what, the Vibro goal of the day, you get a deep tissue massage. I think the 3 players in that instant there, one gets a leg done each and maybe someone gets a back rub as well. They can share that one around.
There are no other types of massages you can think of.
Damo, keep it clean.
No, but they're in Thailand.
This is G-rated as the Whitehorse Pioneers bring it out again.
Don't worry, Damo. I've booked him for some aromatherapy.
I am the voice of I am the voice of reason, trying to keep this commentary in order as the ball comes out and it's been knocked forward. It's degenerating into a bit of a farce at the moment as the Whitehorse Pioneers take it into the contest, and Rouser is there, and he takes the player in the tackle, and we'll have a ball.
Now getting serious
the opportunity
again.
was there.
I actually think, I know Padbury hasn't had much of an influence on the game, but I think Cotsford's done a pretty fair job with a bit of help from his friends this afternoon in the back line.
Yeah, definitely. He's given away a fair bit of height there too, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it was Thomas Connell. I reckon he's had a fair game today, and a beautiful mark taken as well. Back there by
Sutherland.
Sutherland it is, yep. He's had a terrific game as well. Chris Sutherland, a little short kick out there as they look to build it up from the back again. That's Jones. Now he finds Hayward.
Oh, expected someone on his fat side, but...
Hayward just chipping it around. Hasn't been a lot of play at the fat side. It's a fair point of that. It was Sutherland now. Chris Sutherland. Now he goes long, looking for a target. There's Dylan again. Sort of knocked out of his hands, but it may well work out for the Donvale side. They've got plenty of players back there, but getting back to save the day is Webb. Caleb Webb, and they run off half back. Little short kick down, or long kick actually, down the line, and the mark is taken. So McDougall.
He's been good for Whitehorse today.
Yeah, he has. He's been one of their better players. Decides to go across the ground now, switching it out to this fat side, and that's Clydesdale.
Yep. Is that a
Clydesdale,
try?
he's certainly been horsing around for most of the day. As a little kick goes down the line. Going back down, it'll be a nice hand flick off to Bush. Bush gets it forward, but it's going to be cut off easily. That's not a great kick indeed, and the Whitehorse Pioneers will be able to bring it back. Nice mark taken by McDougall. Chris McDougall.
With ease range.
I don't think he can't kick the goal.
He's not confident. He's looking around for someone to kick to. Taking an age to get rid of it, but he decides to just pump it long and see what happens. And up they go, but it's no clean mark taken, and it's fallen nicely for Trakuja. And he brings it out now. Jake McCormack, little chip out there.
That was too easy then. That was way too easy.
Oh. Sam Coughlin.
Our mate Padbury put absolutely zero forward pressure on there.
So Coughlin gets the kick forward, looking for Sutherland, Matty Sutherland. Knocked down, but it's fallen again for the Pioneers. And there's Clydesdale again on the gallop as he gets it across to McDougall. Chris McDougall. Plenty of passing around, or plenty of kicks for the side, the Whitehorse side, but not necessarily making a lot of progress. Newton's kick was, and that'll be a free kick surely.
Well, he made him earn it too.
Yeah, Khan it was. McDougall's kick to Khan, but he copped a knock in the back, and the little chip out wide finds Newton. Newton turns around. It's almost slow motion stuff, really.
I think he's tried hard too, but I think he's just been, he hasn't had enough mates.
There's been plenty of tries, Brash, on this Whitehorse Pioneers side, but they've just been outclassed today, and that's an awful kick, and it's gone out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in.
What does Derek Shaw say to his players after this game? Can they just sort of forget that they ever played this game, or do they have some serious issues to think about here?
I reckon they try to forget it. If I was coaching them, I'd say let's pretend this one never happened. Let's regroup, refocus, and we'll get back onto our small little oval, which we play a lot better, and be positive.
Well, there won't be too many small ovals though come grand final time or finals time, as the ball is locked in to the Whitehorse forward line. Let's head to the boundary line.
To go against you, Damo, but I'm pretty sure Mitcham is the finals ground for D4, and that's probably one of the smaller ones in the comp.
I don't know. Is Whitehorse smaller than Mitcham? We'd have to do
it'd be smaller, but it's definitely Mitcham's definitely smaller than Donvale.
Get the roller out,
and it's more oval. Whitehorse.
So Connell on
looks
top
like
of
the batteries have run out there from the.
Someone hasn't paid the power bill.
Coughlin kick into the forward pocket. Magnificent mark. It's that man again. Jack Purcell using the body and taking the mark on the slide. That's a magnificent effort. And he can go back and shoot for goal number 5.
And speaking of Mitcham, he knows how to play at Mitcham's ground, doesn't he?
He does.
Mm-hmm.
So there wouldn't be any fears for him.
No.
So Jack Purcell be kicking from a very acute angle, about 30 metres out.
The one thing that you do know now that the other sides in Division 4 need to, they're going to have to bring a bit more of a physical contest to the game as well if they're going to match it with Donvale.
Well, Purcell stabs at it, but he's put it through for a major to match his number. That's 5 goals on the board for Jack Purcell. And Donvale move on to 15-14, 104. They're annihilating Whitehorse, 2-6-18 on the Bendigo Mag scoreboard.
You're absolutely right, Brash. Donvale have just bullied everyone that they've played against this year in that midfield. And I'm sure that every side's got that intention to go out there and try and match it or be as physical as they can. But it's whether they can actually do it and sustain it for 4 quarters will be the ultimate question with that.
Cross boundary side.
Just on that, will any teams really have 2 key defenders that can go to Murphy and Purcell, because they just continue to kick bags of 5 week after week?
No.
So Hay gets beaten to the tap on that occasion, but it falls for Liardi. Liardi gets it out now as an opportunity for Ancona. He's played particularly well today, Ancona. Quick transfer of handballs down that far side, and the long kick forward. There's Purcell again, and he's mark! Jack Purcell, you little beauty.
Oh, gee.
That's an absolutely stunning mark.
Jack Purcell's putting on an absolute clinic here
that is
for
incredible.
us this afternoon. What a gem of a mark.
Whitehorse Pioneers, he juggles with it. He gets it on the second go, and Jack, that is unbelievable.
That's like Winston Abraham from 1998.
That is magician stuff, it really is.
I'm amazed you can remember that far back, Damien Watson.
I think the look on his face was priceless too. It was almost as if, did I just take that? It was just quite surprising.
It was a wry smile there as he came down.
So Purcell with a chance to level up with his old mate Murphy with 6 goals apiece. Having a bit of a shootout they are this afternoon, and there it is. So half a dozen apiece for Murphy and Purcell, as they did last week. They had something of a shootout against Coldstream. and that's another one.
That's 3 for him in the quarter.
And Matt, just to go back to your question earlier, I honestly don't think two key defenders are going to have to go against this Donvale forward line. I think they might need to play some kind of zone defence, play off the body, because you're not going to be able to out-body Purcell for 4 quarters.
Right.
So play a few metres off, watch the ball, and try and intercept it before it gets to him, because he's going to have no one to play up on, and it's going to be really hard for him to take those grabs.
Jack Purcell, with half a dozen goals to his name, extends the margin further for Donvale, and again they win the clearance. Good hand pass coming out of the pack there from Haig. And eventually the umpire has blown the whistle. Was it a throw? It's going the way of Whitehorse, and the recipient there will be Clydesdale. There's been a try for Whitehorse this afternoon. Clydesdale at centre half back for the Pioneers. No real option, so he goes inboard to the centre circle. Mark taken by Fawn. Is improved in the second half. Chips the pass forward. Mark taken by Damien Patako. Looks out wide towards the northern wing. Taken there on the charge by Newton. A high ball towards centre half forward, but again, no one there for Whitehorse in the air. And the mark taken in the end by Sutherland for Donvale. Looks towards the centre wing position, but chipping in to intercept there is Clydesdale again.
About possession number 20 in this quarter for him.
Indeed. Clydesdale and Newton combining. Those two have probably improved in the second half, and I give the boy a rap, and he's kicked it out of the full. So there's the final siren, and the Division 4 top of the table encounter sees a big gap between 1 and 2. Donvale 16-14, 110, massacring the Whitehorse Pioneers 2-6-18. It's a 92-point win to the Vales. They'll be happy with that.
Well, what can you say? It's as comprehensive a performance that you'd want to see this afternoon. Donvale clearly at this stage are the best side in Division 4 based on this performance this afternoon. They have many weapons, and for Whitehorse, it's back to the drawing board for them. They've got a lot to think about. I know they've got players out of the side, but I don't know whether that would have made much of a difference today, Alana.
Oh, look, it might have made a few goals difference potentially, but I don't think it was going to even up the ledger of a 92-point defeat.
No.
And then, you know, you could argue on the flip side as well. Donvale was out, had a few out as well.
Well, let's head boundary side now to ground level, and we speak with Matt Falla and the victorious coach.
Yep.
G'day, guys.
So another great win, Matty. The two Twin Towers there kicking 6 apiece. You got a bit of a luxury on your hands there.
Yeah, it's a good luxury to have with the big boys down there. Look, as I said last break, it comes down to the way we deliver the boys, the ball to the boys down there, and I think we lowered the odds a bit in the last quarter there, and we got the scoreboard ticking over, and Big Jack got on the end of a couple later, which I'm sure we'll hear about tonight.
Yeah, one form from me, guys. The back six did really well again today. He shut down Padbury, who's been probably their one avenue to goal. Matty Sutherland was dropping back in the hole there, but was it a team effort, or have you definitely set out with the one-on-one there?
Oh, look, one-on-one's a philosophy down back, but as a team, we try and roll up and cover the space, and there's some guys within that back six like Dave Withers and Hayden Cotsford, Jimmy Hayward, they're really experienced, and they sort of lead the defensive roll-up up the ground, and but when it's one-on-one, those guys they don't like losing, so it's a good thing to have down there.
Matty, you guys?
Matty Brash here, mate.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Brash. Thanks, mate.
Look, one of the things that I was really impressed with this afternoon was the ferocity of your players on the ball carrier. It was almost maniacal in the fact that it was like they never want to lose a contest.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Look, that's our brand. That's how we try and train and play every week. It's a pressure brand of football, and I think once you have a few players start to lead the charge early in that department, the rest of the guys just follow suit. So it's definitely a plan of ours to play that way, and I'm a Swan supporter, so it's the methodology down in that area, which is great.
Matt, I know there are key moments in any type of game, but I actually thought really the game, I know it was early on, but those 3 goals in red time in the first quarter, I reckon that really set up the game for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, mate, yeah, the 3 goals, when we tried to play a possession brand of footy, I suppose, against the Breeze, and we knew that if we had a good showing early into the Breeze, whether it be the first or second quarter, it'd be a bit of a mental thing for them to try and overcome throughout the day. So especially late in the quarter to get those 3 goals, that was just probably a byproduct of us holding onto the ball and trying to hit up the right targets.
And just lastly, Matt, before we let you go, if you had come in today you wouldn't have come in today expecting a 92-point win. Are you surprised at the margin?
Yeah, look, we've we've put some good efforts together over the last few weeks. So it's a little bit of a surprise with the end margin, but we knew we could get the job done today. We stuck to our guns like we did the last 6-7 weeks, and the margin was a surprise at the end. But that's what pressure does to sides, I suppose. As you build it throughout the day, they tend to crack.
Matty, just really quickly, with the form of this side at the moment, are you going to get back in?
I might be half a chance. If I I've got to get through a Thursday night training, and I'll consider myself possibly. But
mate, you're the captain coach. You can pull rank.
Exactly, boys. I do envisage myself getting back in there at some stage.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. You'll get back in there.
Okay, thanks, guys.
So Matty Fife joining us there down at ground level, and he'll obviously join the boys for the song as
Here
they
we go.
congregate now.
We missed it.
Seems like they I think it's too far away, so the transition has bombed out. But look, a fantastic victory there for Donvale. I don't think any of us expected it to be a 92-point margin, despite the fact that going in, Donvale were probably prevailing in terms of their form. And obviously the class and contrast between the players in both sides probably stood true today.
Yeah, look, when I came here this afternoon, I picked Donvale, obviously, like a lot of us did. But, yeah, like you, Damien, there was no... I would have thought maybe 40 points might have been a fairer margin, but not 92. I mean, we saw Doncaster East last week make a statement. Well, Donvale have made a statement right here, right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did.
I thought you were saying it flippantly, though.
No. I actually, I did. From what I'd seen this year, of everybody, Donvale are far and above everybody else. What I've seen them do to Forest Hill when I've been here to watch or been watching the games. And what I saw of Whitehorse, what I've seen of Kilsyth, Coldstream, all of the other sides. Very, very ominous signs for Donvale. And I dare say if they had a more balanced home and away, that they could have potentially done what Fenchurch Gully did last year and be, without a loss.
Two big weeks against top four contenders as well, and they've thumped them both. And the thing I like about Donvale too, and I was speaking to Matty Fife before the game, and I said it to him, I said, the thing I like about you guys is you've just got such a great all-round side. I mean, you can talk about the goals that they kick up forward, but everybody contributes. They're just strong right across the park.
Yeah, 100%, and it's not even obviously their key forwards are very, very good players, but they're not absolute superstars that you've renounced to sometimes see in sides where their full forward is an absolute gun. Don't get me wrong, Jack Purcell is a very, very handy player and you'd have him in your side any day, but it's the way the ball gets delivered to him with precision, with patience, and just with real, I suppose, pace into that forward 50 that makes them so damaging as well. And all of the midfielders contribute evenly and are really hard at the ball and run hard on the outside too.
James Royce had a fantastic game last week, and he didn't play badly today, but he wasn't as dominant, but other guys stepped up. I mean, your likes of I thought Foley came into the game really well in the second half. He was absolutely outstanding. Some of the other guys, I mean, Zach Haig, just week after week, is brilliant in the ruck, and he gives them first use of the footy. And the other guy that really caught my eye too was Peter Ancona. I thought he was fantastic.
Yes.
Fan votes for him.
Had a brilliant game.
Yes, and we'll certainly convene to look at the votes for the Tobin Brothers Player of the Day and the various other awards that we give out post-match. Certainly a lot to look at in terms of Donvale's players. It'd be very hard, I think, in such an even performance to pick a number of players to accumulate some of those votes. Donvale 92-point victors today, 16-14, 110 to Whitehorse 2-6-18. Is there anyone that could stop Donvale realistically, do you think, given that Whitehorse was the nearest challenger on paper coming into this game? Do you think that there's anyone that are capable of stopping Donvale in the finals?
Oh, gosh, that's a hard question. Because we don't even know who's going to end up in that
I know, but is there any of the contenders, perhaps?
Look, I don't want to sound biased, but maybe, only a maybe, if everything fell right and the Zebras played a final series like they played last year, that maybe they could contend. But it's a different Zebras side from last year to this year as well. And certainly the two times they've come up against them, they fell short, and they've been manhandled and bullied just like Whitehorse were today in the middle as well. So they're going to have to change a few things to
have they got the I haven't seen Forest Hill obviously play this year, but have they got the physicality to come out and match it with a side like Donvale, do you think?
Yeah, look, they've probably got a little bit more size about them than, say, a Coldstream and a Whitehorse. but they're still probably not in the ballpark of that physicality of Donvale as well. So, as I said, like potentially, if any of those teams can get their run and carry on and don't let that game be dictated on Donvale's terms, they're a chance. But if it gets tough and if it's in the clinches, which finals football is, then I honestly don't see any of those sides that are potentially vying for that the top 4, other than Donvale, being any chance moving forward.
Well, it's a great story when you think about it with the Donvale Football Club. They were virtually on their knees. This time 3 years ago, they didn't have a team competing in the Eastern Football League. Of course, the last time we were out here for a radio game was 2 years ago, where Brendan Favola put on the jumper for Donvale to raise the spirits and awareness of the club, and I think he drank a vodka or something.
Beer sales.
That's right. Oh, probably by himself on his own, because he drank. Remember, he drank a vodka at the northern end of the ground, at the northern goal end of the ground
right.
in the last quarter while he was playing on the field. So that's just
does
typical.
that surprise you at all, Damo?
No, of course not. Being a Carlton fan, it doesn't surprise me at all. But I mean, they have really come from adversity. They were struggling to win a game 2 years ago, and yet here they are in season 2017, and they're really vying for a premiership flag. Let's head boundary side. We have another guest joining Matty Fotier.
Yeah, guys, I'm with one of the main goal kickers for the Twin Towers at Donvale here, Nick Murphy. 4 again today, mate. Early on, you thought you had your big fella there, but he just snuck home late in the last there.
If I could only kick.
I think we'd lost reception.
Can you hear us, guys?
Yeah.
We've got you.
Yeah.
Now we got you back.
Yeah, I missed a couple in that last quarter, and he's kicked 2 or 3, I think. So he's done that the last few weeks on me. I've had him by a couple of goals, and then I've just been taken down.
Maybe you should send him out to centre forward, and you can push back to full forward to even it up next week.
Yeah, well, I'm taking on all these full forwards. I'm the only centre forward in the top 5.
Exactly. So you should tell him, push out, mate. Give me an opportunity to get some goals on the board.
You work so well together. Is there any sort of... I know he likes to stay a lot deeper, but if... Closer. There? No, we're back. All right. Have you ever had to sort of work around each other, especially when you've come up against more top sides? How do you work together so well?
Well, I've grown up with Jack. I was my old man and his old man are best mates, so we've been playing footy together for a long time, and he's finally told me he's not moving from the square, so I had to move up, and it seemed to work the last sort of 6 to 10 weeks, which has been good.
Over to you guys now.
Nick, I saw your game against Coldstream last week, and it was a bit like today. You guys had a bit of a shootout. I think one of you kicked 6 and the other kicked 5, and it was a bit the same today. Do you have little bets on the side before the game who's going to kick the most goals?
We haven't, but I think the whole footy club's making a bit of a thing about the rivalry. So, it's good, and if we finish 1-2 and win a premiership, I'll be happy with that.
The good thing about having, I guess you go back a few years to someone like Brisbane when they had Brown and Bradshaw up there, and you've got one goal kicker who's kicking goals, and it sort of spurs the other one on. It's almost like a rivalry thing, which has got to be good for the side.
Yeah, definitely. And, ever since we've started kicking a few goals, I think we've won about 9 or 10 on the trot now. So it's while it's working, it's working.
And Nick, just quickly, when you are leading up the ground, who do you most want to have the ball in their possession and go, yeah, this one's going to be put exactly where I want it to, and your eyes kind of light up?
Well, I've got Josh Bush coming off half-back, who's one of the best kicks in the comp. Carl Tosi, who I've grown up with, he's been injured, but we'll back Matty Liardi, and I think he'll win the league BNF this year. He's having one of the best years I've ever seen. Yes,
I probably would have agreed on all of those 3 ball users. They obviously Toast not playing today, but the other 2 were pretty handy with ball in hand. I'm not even going to finish that off. You know what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
Nick, it's Brash here, mate. After the finals last year where, Donvale were really good, what was the emphasis in the, during coming to pre-season? Did you think after your finals performance last year that you weren't far off, and that maybe if you worked a bit harder and picked up a few players that it was going to hopefully work for you this year?
Ferntree Gully were, I think, way too good for us last year, which we noticed. But we did beat Forest still last year, so we thought we could have, potentially made the grand final. And we had a good win against Glen Waverley in that final. But look, we picked up a couple of players. Sammy Coughlin from Park Orchards, probably, up in our top 3 of the best and fairest. And Jack's come down forward now, and I think we're kicking big scores. And we've got James Haywood and Hayden Cotsford in the back line, keeping low scores every week. And I think we've beaten most sides pretty comfortably the last 6 or 7 weeks.
And Nick, when you look at the recent history of the club, I mean, the club was on its knees virtually 3 years ago, and yet here you are in season 2017 vying for that Division 4 premiership. It must be really heartening to see the club recovering well and dominating on the field.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We've got the 1977 reunion here today, and
Fantastic.
all we hear about is how good the past was, and obviously going forward, if we can win a flag and have a reunion 40 years later, it'll be one of the best things ever.
Just lastly, Nick, which player had the broader smile, you at the end of the game or Jack Purcell after he took that screamer in the last quarter?
Well, I was pretty filthy sitting on the bench, and he kicked 3 in that last quarter to overtake me, so I think he was the one who had the biggest smile, but that's all right.
Well, we'll let you go, Nick, and enjoy the win. Fantastic work by yourself and your teammates. All the best for the rest of the season.
Beautiful, boys. Thanks for that.
Nick Murphy joining us, of course. The great man had 4 goals to his name and was really pivotal, particularly in that first half, Brash, when the game was on the line.
Yeah, especially in that first quarter. He was really prominent most of the day. And it's almost like Purcell finished off all the hard work that he did early on. It just seemed like that way. But sometimes that's what happens, Damien. You got 2 players like that. One bloke gets in on the act early, and the other one misses out. But somewhere along the line, it evens itself out in a game like these type of games.
Well, they play 2 contrasting roles in a way, don't they? Because Murphy's further up the field, whereas Purcell stands and is anchored in that goal square area virtually, which we don't see in modern footy all that often.
No, there's only really one other player in the comp that really sort of plays like that, and that's the big kid, Telesky.
Yes.
Right, he's very much the same sort of footballer. Play him out of the goal square, let him use his bulk and his big strength.
And we saw that a number of times from Murphy. When he had his opponent on a string, basically, he would fend him off with the one arm and take the mark with the other arm.
And also, too, Nick's also very good. He's got good recovery. You know, that's part of the thing, too.
Let's hear boundary side. Matty Fotier has a special guest.
Hey, guys, got another big special guest here from Donvale, Matt Liardi. Now, Liards, you're able to double park here, mate. You got the big number plates there, the self-shoulder, mate. Would you say you're probably the biggest dog at Donvale Reserve?
Some say I am, but nah. Those I was 18 when I got them, so it's about time I get rid of them.
He's outgrown them now.
He's a big boy now.
Oh, we'll get on to the footy again, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Brush, righto, mate. Another good day for the club. You're moving forward every week after that slow start. Does it help, after playing those so many away games in a row, does it help being able to now train and play on a ground you know so well?
Oh, it's massive, mate. It got pretty tough early on. We lost a few games that we shouldn't have. But coming home and we've made it our nest. We haven't lost here, and it's a ripper place to be at this point in time. Everyone's hanging around. It's buzzing. The place is buzzing.
Yeah, so you've got everyone talks about the Twin Towers down forward, but I thought today the back 6 did a great job working together as a team, shut down Padbury. Those guys are pretty unrecognised. Who do you reckon's the best of the what?
Oh, I totally agree with you. I think we've conceded the least amount of points for the league, but there's guys like Chris Sutherland, Josh Bush, they lock down every week. They do their job, they know their role, and it makes it easier for all us boys. They've earned their spot every week. We don't even think about who we're going to pick in back there. So, those boys are just, killing it at the moment.
Go on, have a dip then, Brush.
Thanks, mate. Sammy Coughlin and Pete Ancona were the partners in crime today. Matt, must be good to have blokes of that ilk running around with you on a Saturday afternoon.
Oh, yeah, totally agree. They're big bodies, protect us outside boys. So, guys like Jesse Leap out on the wing, loves going for a run. So, it's good to get the inside ball with Sammy and Pete in there.
What was it like playing away from home? I know we're speaking to Matt about, from a coach's point of view, about playing away from home the first 9 games. How did the players adjust to playing for that to happen?
Well, we were training up on the top oval here for a while, so that was kind of adjusting to the size of the grounds because in Div 4 it's a lot smaller, so we were just training up the toppy, which helped a bit, but it got pretty tough early on, like I said before.
But I mean, to win 6 games out of the 9 on the road, that would have really built a lot of character amongst the playing group.
Yeah, you're right. We always had in the back of our mind that we were coming home with all the home games, so it was good to get a couple of wins early on.
Matt Alana here. Congrats on the win and a great performance by yourself.
Thank you.
What's the difference between Donvale of 2016 to Donvale of 2017? How can you take the next couple of steps and hopefully be playing off in that granny and winning a flag this year?
I think age. We've got a few boys hanging around the 18, 19-year-olds. They've stepped up massive this year. Guys like Wignall's come back from injury. Yeah, Jack McCormick's come in, and Rouser. Those boys are stepping up. They're all under 20, so yeah, another year for them in senior footies makes a big difference.
And your year, you've personally had a really, really strong year, and I think we were talking to Nick Murphy before and said you'll probably win the Comp BNF and potentially be in that team of the year. So how have you found... Well, he has said that.
No false modesty, though.
You can say yeah. How have you found your season so far? Are you really enjoying your football? Because obviously when you feel good, you play good. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I've had a few back injuries over the years, and I've got that right. I've dropped like a couple of kilos this season, and that's helped out a lot. I've had to change my game style a bit, but yeah, moving freely and that, yeah.
Has it helped you with your kicking as well? Because your kicking was absolute precision today.
Oh, I just got to steady up. Sometimes I'm going a bit too quick, and yeah, that's something I focus on. But yeah, steadying up helps hit targets.
Matty, it's Brett Beston here, mate. Well done. I saw your game against Coldstream last week and you were fantastic, and you've done it again today. Two big top 4 scalps for you. It must be great having a guy like Zach Haig knocking it down your throat all day. And the other guy that had a fair game today, giving him a chop out, was Paddy Dillon. I thought he battled hard when he came. I had good little bursts, just keeping them honest.
Oh, he's super. He's come into the side last couple of weeks, and yeah, he's chopped out Hagee brilliantly. His second efforts around the ground is second to none. Lifts all the boys, and it's pretty special.
I suppose it's a bit soon because you probably have only just got back in the rooms, but after last week and particularly this week, everyone's going to be saying you're the flag favourites, you're the overwhelming favourites. How's Fife going to keep everyone's feet on the ground?
Oh yeah, he's just telling us all to settle. We know where we've come from. It's been tough over the years, so yeah, we've got to keep a lid on it. It's just getting to the training, extra session on a Monday, things like that. Just, can't get too ahead of ourselves.
Fantastic, Matty. We'll really appreciate your time. Enjoy the victory tonight, and obviously best of luck for the rest of the season. Hope you go well individually.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Matt Liardi joining us down there on ground level, and Donvale will be trying to keep themselves on ground level, as Brett mentioned, making sure they are not too complacent after a couple of dominant victories against quality sides.
Well, it is
in
really,
Division 4.
It is hard, Damien. I mean, look, because look, the thing is, we talk about, to win grand finals, to win finals, you got to be confident. That's the bottom line.
But you can't be overconfident.
No,
complacency.
Complacency is more the issue for Donvale now more than anything. But knowing Matt Fife as well as I do, he ain't going to let that happen.
No,
he's not going to let it happen. I'll tell you, because he's a hard nut.
I just want to see where the coach slots himself in when he comes back at the side, because someone's going to be really unlucky to go out of this team.
No, he'll go straight in the centre. He'll go straight in the guts. Don't you worry about that.
He has the power.
And that's where he should be. No, that is where he should be. He's very dominant in through that middle. And
but he's a very dominant person. He's a very dominant personality, even before his football feats, because he's an aggressive player, and he plays it fairly, but I'm just saying he's got a very aggressive personality.
Great bloke too.
Let's head to the ground level now. Matty Fody is with another guest.
Another superstar again from today, guys. Dave Withers with us. Just out of the shower, mate. BWS almost caught you a bit of Homer Simpson style. Got to speak up wearing a towel. You're looking lovely now, though, mate. Another big win for the club. Do you try to keep a lid on things with a couple of weeks to go?
Oh, if we have to, I think the guys are just more about enjoying their footy at the moment. It's been a long time since the club's had this kind of run into the back end of the season, and it's a really, really good feel around the club. That's the old blokes watching on the hill, and also the young guys in the ones and twos.
I think, well, from the looks of us watching on, was a club focus this year about getting stronger and fitter, because it just looks like across the ground, besides the Batracos, you probably had them covered for pace, and definitely in the contest you had them covered physically. Was that
some through pre-season? It was just a combination of blokes coming into the side. Like, we had guys recruited into the club like Sam Coughlin who offered that real big body to protect the young blokes. And it's really helped us out. I mean, we've got that inside and outside type player at the club now, and it's just been fantastic the way that they've we've trained and we've learnt this game style that's really hard to play against. So.
And do you feel as a back six that you can all go to someone different? There was a look to like today when they did get caught on the counter attack, you guys were able to mix and match pretty quickly. It wasn't like you're all panicking looking for your specific man. Is there a bit of a sort of way that you guys can rotate around like that quite easily?
Yeah, the back seats has been fantastic this year. Like, it's been pretty settled the whole way through. It's probably only about 8 blokes that really run through that section. So we all know each other very well, know our strengths and weaknesses, and so the communication's fantastic. Best I've seen in many years.
Fire away, Brash.
Dave, congratulations on the victory. Body language is a big thing in football. Was the intent also today, obviously, to beat your opponent, but also to send a message to the Pioneers players that if you're going to, if you want to match it with us, you better bring your A game?
Oh, not as much. We weren't particularly focused on their type of game today. It was a pretty internally focused preparation towards the game. We know that if we keep our work rate up and we concentrate for all 4 quarters, that we're going to be a very tough side to beat. And so that's been our focus probably the last 3 to 4 weeks, working into that back half of the season to keep that work rate up.
Just also too, you know, look, there's a lot of things happening around the Donvale Footy Club. I mean, you're standing now with the new club rooms, and that it seems like it's a really exciting time, not only for the players but for everyone involved at the Donvale Footy Club this year.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the community down here in Donvale has always been a really strong point. Back from when we're talking about there was the 1977 reunion here as well, and we've got, I think there's 42 out of the 45 guys who played in the 1s and 2s there. So wow. There's a lot of people behind this club that want to see it back up and being a successful community club, and it's certainly going long ways to make sure that happens.
Dave Alana here. You've got a couple of key players that are not in the side at the moment that are going to find their way into your senior side. How do you find that? I mean, obviously you've had quite a few wins in a row now, but having that, I suppose, competition for positions, do you think that's something that will stop you guys from being complacent moving forward?
Oh, but potentially a little bit, yeah. Like, you know, it was mentioned in the rooms after the game that, you know, to be playing seniors at this football club at the moment, that you need to be really focused and concentrate and have that desire for the contested ball. And you can see it across all 22 players that went out there for us today, that everyone wasn't afraid to put their head over it and do the hard work when it was required. So, you know, the very high caliber players on, you know, trying to get back into the side, and hopefully, you know, that'll only make us stronger. You're right,
Dave. You were out on the ground. The wind. How strong was it from a playing perspective?
It was very difficult. It was certainly it was a game of 2 halves in respect. When we were kicking against it, the real focus was on running the ball out and hitting up those short targets. And obviously going the other way, just trying to hit it into that fat side and give the ball to Jack Purcell. He's unstoppable.
So what about Dave? It's Brett Beston here. What about keeping the feet on the ground? We've spoken to Matty and a couple of the other guys. You're in such top form at the moment. You've taken 2 huge scalps in the last 2 weeks. Important just to keep your feet on the ground and not get too far ahead of yourself.
Oh, absolutely. You know, all our talk has been, you know, in the last couple of weeks is just, you know, solidifying our position in top 2. Into the finals with a double chance if we can afford one, but it'll require concentration and work rate the whole way through. So that is our focus over the last 3 rounds of the season.
And the big boys up forward do get a lot of pundits, but the back 6 have been absolutely fantastic, as we alluded to, and shutting down the likes of Padbury. I mean, Padbury must have been a real focus for you going into this week, because he's an ace goal kicker, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. You know, Padbury's been in very good form, and we did have a chat about him on Thursday night, and ways that we can we can shut him down. But luckily, you know, there's 3 big bodies back there that can also run through the role. So, you know, we're pretty versatile with that back 6, and you mentioned it before. You know, how we can just chop and change through our opponents.
Dave, we'll let you go. Enjoy the victory.
I was going to say, Damo, there's a slab in there and he hasn't had one part of it.
Now, Matt, you're on Dylan Watch. What you better find out what's happening with...
I've lost him before. I saw Dillo came out of the rooms before. I was going to look at him, but he looked like he had that raging eye and looking, I don't think I can handle him in a one-on-one.
He's too scared.
We'll let Dave go and enjoy the victory, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Dave Withers joining us on the EFL post-match. Well, time now to have a look at our
awards,
post-game awards,
Yeah.
and there's certainly a number to look at. I mean, first we've got to go for the Vibromania goal of the day, and I think that is a given.
Foregone conclusion, isn't it?
That's right. Jack Purcell.
Yeah, that was
effort.
unbelievable. I could watch that 100 times, that goal. It was just brilliant.
So will Jack.
Just a lead-up play as well that went with it. You know, it probably would have taken Player of the Day and Mark of the Day and all that sort of awards along with it, Damo.
It's funny because we were struggling to find a goal
Yeah,
of the day in that first half, and then a few goals came in that final term. Which,
Sometimes
fantastic.
magic only appears in 30 seconds, Damo.
That's exactly right. That's a wonderful thing about the game of football. And, of course,
Don't go
he
there.
will take home a Vibromania deep tissue massage, which I think will be very, very handy.
Yeah.
So what about our, of course, Trojan workhorse player of the day? There's a few contenders here. I'd have to say the man we spoke to, of course, David Withers, has a chance. Sammy Coughlin was very good throughout the game, and he'd certainly be a contender. What about you guys?
Yeah, look, I liked Coughlin this afternoon. He did a lot of the inside, but he also did a bit of the outside work as well, Damo. I think it was a pretty all-round performance from him this afternoon.
Yeah, I agree. I would have gone with Coughlin, could have gone with Foley, potentially even Sutherland. I would have gone with Matt Sutherland as well, but I reckon probably just Sammy Coughlin.
I just think Coughlin had some key moments.
Yeah. I like Foley's game too, but yeah, I mean, you could flip a coin basically, so I'll go with you guys.
Indeed, and of course those contenders here were from the coach's mouth, so we'll give the Trojan workhorse of the day to Sam Coughlin. He wins a $150 tradie toolkit. I'm sure that will come in handy for little odds and jobs around the house. Also, time to take a look at our Tobin Brothers player of the day. So we'll get the votes in there, and they can claim a $50 Coles Myer gift voucher. And gee, we all need every break when it comes to groceries, and obviously gaining some advantages there in terms of money. And there's a number of contenders as far as Donvale are concerned. We'll start off with Wayne Brasher.
Yeah, look, I thought to me it all goes to the midfield today. The engine room of the Donvale, that's where it all starts. That's why Purcell got 6 and Murphy got 4. My one vote goes to Haig in the ruck. Sensational job. Thought Duclos tried hard, but Haig really worked into the game right throughout. I just thought he was sensational. 2 votes, Matt Liardi. I thought he was sensational. Running through the midfield, setting up numerous opportunities for his forward line. And another player very much in the same mould, but it just seemed like every time he got the ball, he had a ball on the string, and that was Peter Ancona. 3 votes for mine.
Fantastic, and Ancona claims your 3 votes. Let's head to Matty Fotia, who was down boundary side today. You're 3, 2 and 1.
I'm going to chuck one to my man Patrick Dillon. I know it might seem like a bit of a humorous one, but I thought his 10 minutes every quarter, Haig was so dominant, but he also came on and just applied that pressure around the ball and was manic in his tackling, if not over the top sometimes. So he's got my 1. Matty Liardi again for 2 as well. I thought he was fantastic as well all day. No one really went to him, but every time he did get it, he moved it forward quickly and with purpose. And 3 votes, Sam Coughlin, I thought had a good day. He had a lot of the footy, and same as Liardi, was beautiful around it. And again, around the stoppages, he was their go-to man.
Indeed, and I'm sure you were very, very keen to watch Dillon today with those dreadlocks. You kept a watch on him with his physicality and aggression.
He was impressive. I reckon the Melbourne Rebels thought he might have been a chance for them. But
well, that's right.
Every day and every night.
Of course, a Bob Marley look-alike.
Oh, dear.
Let's head to Alana Coleman. You're 3, 2 and 1.
Yeah, look, unsurprisingly, they're all going to go to Donvale players. I gave 1 vote to Nick Murphy. And I thought that was particularly important because when the game, I suppose, was there to be won, and unfortunately it was in the first quarter, he was quite dominant. He was a dominant forward on the ground, and he was taking some pretty good marks against the wind. So I gave him 1 vote. 2 votes in agreement with you guys so far. Matt Liardi, I just thought his skill and polish and flair through that midfield was very, very dominant. So enjoyed watching that. And then I gave 3 votes to Peter Ancona. I just thought his really crisp, sharp handballs that set up a lot of other people into the game, his toughness around the contest, and his 4-quarter performance, for me, gave him the best on.
Brett Beston, you're 3-2-1.
Pretty similar. I love Zach Haig. I really do. I think he's a terrific player, and he gives them first use, and he really is he's a tower of a man, and he had a terrific battle in the ruck. So I actually gave him a vote today. I thought he was magnificent. 2 votes. I went to Murphy, the big man Nicholas Murphy, who kicked a bag today. I've got him down for 4. Was it 4 or 5 in the end?
No, kick 4.
4. I had him down for 5, but I've crossed one off, and I'm in agreement with you guys. I thought Peter Ancona was absolutely magnificent, so he gets my 3 votes today.
Indeed. I'm going to go with 1 vote to Jack Purcell. I thought he was a great live wire, particularly late in the game, even though it was possibly in junk time, but he was very entertaining, and we have to conserve those entertaining players. I gave him 1 vote. 2 votes to me. I think I'll have to award that to Matt Liardi as well. He gets my 2 votes in agreement with a number of you guys. And my 3 sort of comes out of left field. I like Michael Foley because he was very good when the game needed to be won very early on.
He was good.
I think a number of players really came into the game when it was already won for Donvale, particularly the flashier types. But when the game needed to be won at the start, he figured very prominently. So he gained my 3 votes. That means that the best player on the ground, I believe, goes to Ancona. If I could do my maths
by
correctly.
a mile, I would say.
No, just by the 1 vote.
Just by 1? Wow.
Yes, Peter
Okay.
Ancona wins the $50 Coles Myer gift voucher for the Tobin Brothers Player of the Day. So a magnificent effort there for Peter Ancona, and what was a very even performance across the ground for Donvale, and their magnificent victory today over the Whitehorse Pioneers. It certainly was one to savour, and they'll be very difficult to stop throughout the remainder of the home and away season, and indeed the finals in Division 4. Well, boys, and girl, it was a great day of football. I enjoyed your banter, Alana, and of course giving us the coffees as well.
You're welcome.
That was one of the highlights of the day, it was, the coffees.
Indeed, and all the best to you, and you're a great Division 4 specialist as well. So
Thanks, it was great to be here. Unfortunately, it wasn't probably the tight contest that we were after.
Yep.
Hopefully the next time we do Div 4, it'll be a little closer, but nonetheless, it was good to see a very good side play a very good brand of football in some trying conditions.
Well, let's head to our boundary riders now. Matty Fodio and Ben Warren Swiftcheek, they had to really endure some of the toughest weather conditions this season, it had to be said. Those gale force winds, how many kilometres per hour do you reckon it measured?
Oh, wasn't as bad as you guys are making out, I think. Maybe high 80s,
You've got
low
to
90s.
sensationalise things in this
High
business.
80s, low 90s. I enjoyed it, and I wish Brash a great month over in the city that never sleeps.
Thank you, mate.
Looking forward to following his Twitter feed and figuring out where he is and what he's doing.
That's it.
Which nightclub he'll be hitting up.
He'll be tweeting every second of the day.
Live tweet, Brash on the town.
He's got his cream flares all ready to go. And
Hashtag Red Blazer.
and the one of those big flying medallions, with all the...
New York's not going to know what's hit it.
No, unfortunately.
Anyway, it's been another good day, regardless of cold and score. It's always great fun.
Fantastic, Matty. Ben Warren Smith, a great man. Thanks for your time today.
Oh, it was great to turn back the clock today and sit on the boundary line, and the conditions were tough. The sun was out, but the wind was blowing a gale, and I'll tell you what, when you have people step up in the EFL media team and new members like Matt Falla, you're more than happy to hand over the mic more often than not as well. He did a fantastic job today, as he did last week, and of course to all you guys in the caravan as well. I'm not going to say sitting on the other side of the ground. I'm not jealous in that situation, but at the same time, very proud to see what you guys put forward. And I'll tell you what, Brett Beston, you're becoming a fantastic caller, my friend, and great job by you today. And
thank you, mate. You're really enjoying it.
Looking forward to calling a few games with you throughout the rest of the season. And of course, Damo, well, you're the consummate professional. Alana, you're the Division 4 specialist. We all know that. And of course, Wayne Brasher. Look out, New York. He knows I've given him the burger places, the sandwich places. I gave you Buddha Khan during the call as well, mate. And I hope you
know I'm going to come back like a Goodyear blimp, don't you?
You will have an absolute...
Or the Michelin man.
You will have an absolute ball. There's no doubt about that. And of course... yeah, it's just great to be out here. Barry doing a great job and all, and I'm sure Damo's going to wrap up everyone quite nicely as he always did, but always does, I should say. And but no, great out here. I'll tell you what, Donvale, we came here today. It was 1v2. We thought Donvale, their form recently, they're winning games by over 10 goals for the last 6 or 7 weeks. What were Whitehorse going to bring out here today? on the home patch, Donvale, they made a massive statement. And that's all we can walk away from going, holy dooly, this is the team to beat in Division 4. There is no doubt about that. Their pressure at the football is as good as I've seen in Division 4 for quite some time. And I tell you what, they've got the tall timbers up forward in Murphy and Purcell. Jack, how could I forget Jack? Do you know, we'll tell a funny story. We were going to, a couple of the guys in the rooms before we got Nick Murphy on for the interview, they were like, oh, you want Purcell? So we're like, yeah, we'll get Purcell. And they got Purcell, and then everyone's cheering and that, and I cut them off and I went, nah, stuff it, let's get Murphy, and the whole place erupted. So there's a lot of good banter, as I know that Murphy was saying about his relationship with Purcell and their old mans as well. So there's a good feeling around the Donvale Football Club. They finish the season with all home games except for the final week of the season where they'll take on Kilsyth at Pink's Reserve. So that's their only away game leading into finals, but they are the real deal, and it's fantastic to see. Left Division 2 a number of years ago from the Eastern Football League, joined forces with Whitehorse College, and then came back through Division 4. What a great story this could be if the Donvale Football Club, with the new rooms that are happening at the moment, they're almost finished. They're so close. They're delightful inside. There's still a few bits and pieces to go on, but I tell you what, this club is up and about, and it's fantastic to see, Damo.
Indeed, and gee, those new rooms could get a workout if they win the premiership, that's for sure, at the post-game celebrations. And there's an aura of confidence about the Donvale Football Club today. Big thanks to Leroy too with the camera, Bruce Press behind the microphone. I loved the giggling throughout the day. He was at his usual best there.
I already parked my car too as well, Damo, before Brucey wanted to throw in on here that I keep giving me a car park. So I do appreciate that, Bruce, but I'd sorted myself out, mate. Probably should have sent you a text. I'm sorry about that.
And of course, Dan Sensick behind the scenes, our wonderful EFL media manager, accumulating the scores. And of course, Barry Cotts. Make sure you stay tuned to both Radio Eastern 98.1 FM or EFL.org.au, because Barry Cotts will have the all-important around-the-ground scores.
Including a Donny East win.
Oh, good.
Yes.
And a Vermont win too.
Great relief to everyone here in the caravan, that's for sure. Barry Cotts, stay tuned for that. The EFL post-game wrap-up, where Barry Cotts will give you all the around-the-ground scores across all 4 divisions of the EFL in the EFL Score Centre. That wraps us up for the match of the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Donvale putting on a clinic here at Donvale Reserve. A 16-14 110 to 2-6-18 win. A 92-point annihilation of the Whitehorse Pioneers. It's a good afternoon to you all.
Oh, I've got a couple of best friends. Just great people with big hearts.
I met him in kindergarten.
We both keep each other grounded.
He's in the Defence Force.
4 best friends, actually. They're like my sisters.
She's really caring and funny.
He runs amok every weekend, so I haven't seen him that much because I'm married.
We've always just clicked.
My best friend lives in the country.
She's the best.
When celebrating a loved one's life, don't leave it to just anyone to organise. Find out more at turbanbrothers.com.au. Turban Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program